possible that you get a first, and maybe that's able to get you through that first cutoff?
I think absolutely, and that's the nice thing about these small cutoffs coming up throughout the day is that you actually get a lot of agency in your ability to stay in the game. I think Hanqing keeping the Galio would be a great play, and probably the way he wants to try and play the early part of today.
Augment choices coming through here. Gold augments across the board. We have some interesting ones that we can see. No scout, no pivot for Grenade is a very interesting one, especially if you have Nitro on your board. You can scale it immensely, but I do see a Nidalee on bench, so that could be possible.
Lee Sao has Chug Bug offered. You know you have to do it for the people. Nope.
Someone did play it yesterday.
Really?
They went 6th.
Okay,
Not
my
bad.
new favorite player of the tournament.
That's right. Wandering Trainer is offered for Grenade. Let's see if that's actually what's picked up there. Oh, worth the wait.
Worth the wait.
There's a lot of one cost here. I don't know which one it is.
That's lots of them.
Yeah, we'll wait for confirmation on which one cost YBY actually does get. You know, I do like this.
It's Kindred.
Okay, makes sense. I do like this setup for YBY. I mean, it is the Kindred, so it does make it a little bit more narrow, but one of the nice things about Worth the Wait in general is that it tends to open up certain lines that aren't playable in default conditions. When you're guaranteed a certain power spike in the beginning of Stage 3, it gives you a little bit more agency to just kind of play what you hit and build boards that are a bit more unique compared to the compositions you traditionally see those units played in.
I will say Kindred is considered to be one of the low roll options in my opinion. I think Nitro is really hard to hard force Nitro. It's really a comp that benefits more from having a 2-1 econ augment or something that helps with rerolling in general to guarantee you're able to scale at Nitro. If you're stuck in between not hitting your 3-star upgrades outside of Kindred, being forced, like we saw yesterday with Shunga, rolling on stage 3 and being stuck on level 6, for example, over right then and there.
And Worth the Wait's not really a reroll augment either. So if you're playing around Nitro, you don't really have that much time to reroll because the one cost the one coming anyways on your board because it's coming from your augment.
I really like the Wandering Trainer from Grenade. One of the things, you see a Wandering Trainer like this, Marksman and Boombot. Of course, you don't have a Marksman Boombot, but what it does do is that it brings online your traits very easily, right? You put something like the Kog'Maw and the Kindred on your board, all of a sudden, you have both your traits unlocked. You're getting full value out of your Wandering Trainer, and from there, you can flex between the front lines that the game gives you until you can eventually make it to level 8, level 9, and scale up.
But it's also so easy to get 4 Boombot online early.
Yeah.
I mean, you only need Fiddlesticks, Kog'Maw, then you also need Skarner, which are such lower cost units.
You have like a Skarner 2, Vi 2 in your front line and 4 Boombot. It is very hard to lose in the early parts of the game.
And this is one of the players we talked about in pre-show. New to this stage, but had a great day 1, 30 points already. So setting themselves up well to absolutely get through that cut. I also think we just saw a Fiddle in shop. So he's got 4 Boombot as soon as he would like it.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe what I'm seeing. This is Dahua with units on his board. If you didn't watch the Golden Spatula for the Americas, Dahua was the player who was known, in his entire study group as one of the open forwarders. He really liked to try and play from behind and scale up into the late game. He played a lot of Cypher, a lot of Boombot. That's not what we're seeing right now. We're seeing some tempo Dahua.
I do think that if Dahua started out the game with no units on his board, he's taking a ton of damage and just will have a lower HP heading into the middle of the stage. And when you have players in this lobby that have hit 4 Boombot, you're just not going to be able to keep up with that.
You'd also be contested on the Cypher, right? With hunting on like the Galio from the orb drop. It's probably not the way you want to be playing, unless you're really just trying to grief an option.
And Hanqing's going to have the option to find a Draven on this upcoming carousel. If he does, that's 4 Cypher online already. Has Shop Glitch, I think one of the best 2-1 augments for Cypher reroll in general. You can accelerate your 3-stars around Galio and LeBlanc on both stage 3 and the start of stage 4. But also because it allows you to guarantee finding a Draven potentially coming into stage 3 and having that 4 Cypher in, even if you'd miss it on the carousel.
Yeah, exactly, and this is the Draven miss, right? There's no Draven here on this carousel, but as you're outlining, Hanqing gets another shot.
YBY1 ได้แหละ YBY1 Word to Word มาได้
And looking at the bottom of our
Kindred,
the rest of our augment choices displayed for us. Li Xiao and AQ1H both taking Shimmer Sail Essence, getting that gold generating artifact. So we do have that Shaco though with IE Gold Collector. So that's something that can be incredibly scary. Helps stack up that Shaco, but also farms a lot of gold.
หมายที่หันชิงตอนนี้ยังเปิดไซเฟอร์ไม่ได้
One of the high rolls to watch out for. We have prismatic augments coming up at 3-2.
เหงาๆเลยตรงนี้
An insane hit for Cambulee to then play into pretty much any comp in the game, considering that Zac is an easy way to get max value from that augment.
นี่คนนี้เปิดได้แล้วนะไซเฟอร์
The Sao playing the best offense is a good defense with no units that do any damage on his board, but does have that Galio.
Galio does a lot of damage. You'd be surprised.
Okay.
Ooh.
All
With
right.
Light Shield Crest though too, I feel like you do buy yourself
นี่
just
คือ
a
เขาจะ
little
เล่น
more time even with a weaker board. Maybe you
ชา
get
โค
more
แบบ
takedowns and then the losses are a little bit more optimized.
I think it was Mogul.
เรามาเทของให้เฉย
Generating one.
That's what I meant.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Whoopsie.
But at the very least, you get value out of, yeah, exactly. Out of what you're saying.
Both like gold shield looking things.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And you get the money out of it too. So even
Yes.
if you know you're not winning on stage 2, guaranteeing yourself additional econ where the interest thresholds mean so much more is of course valuable.
And we do see our other gold generating artifact here on this board with 5 Shakos already here in this game. And so he's in a great spot to possibly even reroll Shako.
And he did so yesterday. He played a Shaco game yesterday. It's one of the comps we talked about. He had not played in 91 games of World Scrims, but still found a spot for it on day 1 of the TAC round and had a great result with it as well.
Solo Gasong is currently playing on
Solaki
Nitro. We have that
สแลม
2-star
ใจแอนเลยนะ
front line with the Bramble Vest, very powerful, especially into any of our players.
ถึงแม้ต้นเกมใจแอนจะดู
playing AD items, but did lose a few rounds.
เหงาๆหน่อยนะครับแต่ว่า
Reflecting those stats, that
ไม่รู้สิ
bot is getting stronger.
It looked like a pretty AD heavy lobby from what I saw, right? We saw a lot of players playing around the Vanguard, the Kog'Maw. I don't know. I think Zolo might be the only person that really has the potential to angle towards Dynamo from their current spot. And so being able to play uncontested from tempo, I mean, he is a little bit behind. He
ห้อง
doesn't
นี้
have
คนเล่น
strongest board. You don't really want to be playing
AD
Dynamo from
ลาย
behind,
AD
especially if your stage 3 is weak. So I'm very curious to see how Solo navigates his next stage.
2 Cypher players though, so maybe you have a little bit more wiggle room.
Very close fight here. Grenade, though, will
Yeah.
take that loss. Cambulee breaking
ตรา
the
บู
win
มบอร์ด
streak.
เล่นยากอยู่นะ
His was broken as well, so no 100 streaking in this lobby.
ไม่ค่อยชิลเท่าไหร่
Hunting with the economic
หัน
advantage.
ชิงตรงนี้ครับเปิดไซเฟอร์ได้แล้ว
Now, coming through.
We're looking for Draven here.
Yeah, Draven's a big hit. LeBlanc 2 would be huge. Maybe you don't have the full loss streak in stage 3, but you don't really need the big cash out for Cypher reroll, especially not with Shop Glitch. You really maybe sometimes want to just preserve a lot of HP, have a smaller cash out, get the Cypher stats right away in stage 3. And we're seeing it here with a Galio upgrade. That might be the line.
An early Zeri as well. Just to
ไม่มีดาเว่นเลยเหรอ
rapid fire online when you see the Draven.
But we are missing the other rapid fire in this composition.
That's true.
We do not have the Draven we are looking for. No.
ไม่เจอดาเว่นแต่เจอกาลิโอ2
I wonder if we're
Maybe it
actually going to
shows
sell
up
Jarvan Zeri here to
now.
make gold.
You gotta start an early defense on the Exotech line. Hold his Zeri on, but no.
Okay.
Offense all the way. He just wants the max gold. And we get an early augment in stage 3. This is what we're talking about with the Azir encounter. No double augment on stage 2, but right away on 3-1, we get a lot of different options here. Gold augments means that things like trait tracker, things like forward thinking could come into play.
Don't worry, I see 2 magic rolls. No trait tracker yet.
Yeah, you got to
Pretty strong augment as well, though.
Yeah, it's fun.
บายบีบายวันนะครับ
There is
Mad
the very
Luck,
low
Piercing
chance you
Lotus,
get an
Spirit
insane
Link.
magic roll. I think it's 262, and it gives you just insane resources for a gold augment.
I also want to call out Lee Sao on the bottom there. He
Team
does
Open
have
Piercing
Cypher
Lotus
on
ก่อน
as
นะครับ
well. So Hunching is not going to be playing a free Cypher game that will be contested. It's going to be kind of a battle of the 2 of them to the bottom to see which of them is able to keep their streak.
I also think we're going to get the 3rd augment next.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it looks like
Back to
it.
back.
Here it is.
And because there's a level to 5 from both
Oh,
players,
no, the
actually, but
trap.
a sell from Lee Sao to only field 4
มันจะฝั่ง
units
หันชิง
means
มี
that
5 ตัว
there
ฝั่ง
should be a win
นั้น
for Hanqing, CN versus CN, but overall, it's going to be Hanqing having a harder time. Maybe decides to cash out earlier in stage 3 and go for a more win streak line
Yeah.
instead of Galio 2.
พี่
And
จี
if
น
you weren't here from a lot of the set,
พี่จีน
or
ตัด
just
ไซ
here
เฟอร์
for
กัน
the
เอง
set 15 reveals, Cypher really needs that loss streak to ramp up those stacks you see on the other
ดี
side,
จ้าดีครับ
side of their screen. The higher that number goes, the greater the
ส
reward.
วัสดีพี่นิวเววิจีนครับ
Because that loss streak was snapped right there, it will be a not good time for Hunching in this game.
I can't imagine Lee Sao goes into Cypher reroll though. I think he will play the more traditional Cypher into extra resources, into an expensive comp or a comp that wants to feast off of having extra.
เด
items
ฮัว
in
ทำ
stage
เป็น
4 especially.
I got baited.
คาเคนเหรอ
The last augment is actually going to be at the end of stage
โอ้
3.
แต่ว่าเรียกอักเมนมาเป็น
Okay. All right.
แว
Good
ง
to
การ์ด
know.
เรียก
Either
เตอ
way,
ร์
though,
ชิล
it does
นะครับ
mean that it's going to be
น่าจะ
another
เป็น
stage
แวงการ์ด
3
มาร์กแมนนะ
augment, which does
สวัสดีพี่เคทีครับ
enable certain augments to be available and others to be unavailable. So still worth noting.
สวัสดีทุกคนนะครับผม
Ooh, I like the reactive shell here.
วันนี้เราจะได้รู้แล้วนะว่าใครที่จะได้เป็น8 คนสุดท้าย
I just love it gives
8 คนสุดท้ายที่จะได้เข้าไปชิงรอบไฟนอล
And
นะ
this is something we've outlined kind of throughout the tournament, that there are certain times when you're playing Cypher, you're playing for the win out. In this lobby, if you look at the dynamic of it, you've got 2 Cypher players that are looking to win out. You've got a Boombot +1. That's 3 players all aiming for that top 2 position. And so if you're Dayhua and you say, hey, listen, I've got a Kraken's Fury available to slam. I've got Vanguards already in the front line. I think that playing for a top 4 from Dayhua is the right decision here.
I'm curious to see what the board from AQ1H looks like. The Shaco reroll player, I'm curious to see what kind of the amount of copies of Shaco he has at this point in time, because this is where Shaco has to turn on with 3 items. But we're seeing a Nitro board here from Solo, kind of contesting YBY's line with the Kindred from Worth the Wait.
Solo Gasong is a player that had a good
วันนี้มีตัวอย่างเซตใหม่ไหมมีครับมี มีทุกวันนะครับ
for sure but at
วันนี้น่าจะเป็น
he set himself up well to make a run
อะไรสักอย่างอะสปอยตัวละครไม่ก็เทรด
top 8 spots and I'm sure a lot of people will be
แต่ว่าวันสุดท้ายน่าจะบอกเยอะอยู่ครับ
Kindred 3 online for YBY1. And also with an early session.
ของเมื่อวานก็มีสปอยเพิ่มนะตอนท้ายที่ตัวละคร
Yeah, I wonder if that is just a line
ที่โชว์ตัวละคร
decided to play into. Then it does make sense. Like the Kindred's going to be on the board.
ของเมื่อวานนี่มี
the best unit on
เห็น
the
เซราฟิม
So I think why
เซราฟิมเนี่ยแบบปาระเบิด
David was outlining before, though it is going to be
ดูแบบ
relatively low roll one
ดู
cost.
ทรงแล้วน่าจะเป็นตัว 5 บาท
In a
เซราฟิม
composition that it was
เซต
going
ห
to
น้า
be in the place of. You use the additional Kindreds every turn to just get econ.
แต่ผมว่าเซต
have the resources
เซต
to-
หน้าเหมือนตัวละครมัน
Lisao picking up.
มันสวยอะ
Imagine the Sejuani here. I think indicating he's not playing for
เท่าที่ผมเห็นในเกมเพลย์อะ
to tag off of the cash out, or at least
ตัวละครมันดูแบบ
maybe deny it for Grenade, who is
สีมัน
second pick,
สีมันดู
or third pick
สวยอะ
rather. And Grenade has picked up Trade Tracker. One of the augments we talked about is the Boogeyman when it comes to stage 3 augments, because it really enables this Exo line to take over when it comes to stage 4 once you get that Trade Tracker proc and the 5 emblems.
with Wandering Trainer as well, there's a possibility he can get to some of these super high trait verticals. He has Boombot and Marksman on there, so we'll probably see Seats Boombot at least something crazy.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, it is actually. I think it's a really great call out, Jack, because one of the beautiful things about Trait Tracker is that when you have the additional emblems like the Wandering Trainer, while you can lean into them, you can actually just also use them to fill out your synergies of the traits that you get.
ตั้งมาเป็น
after.
Vanguard
So I think it does turn into a bit of an execution
บูม
test
บอท
of
มาก่อนนะครับ
how Grenade wants to play the game. The goal at first, of course, is going to be getting your Trait Tracker cash out that we'll see on stage 4. But then from there, it's going to be up to him to decide how he wants to navigate the game. And
โหไซเฟ
I
อร์
think it
เอ้
really is up
ดา
to
เวน
him
ส
to
อง
put
ดาว
on his shoulders to make
อ่าน
sure
ชิง
that he
ตรง
does
นี้
execute it well and not get too
เอาวิน
busy.
สติกเลยครับ
It gives you a better chance.
แรง
low roll, essentially,
Boom.
seeing the bench. Kind of indicating that, right? He's holding some of the extra tech units, he's holding some of the Boombot units, he's keeping both options open, and depending what the cash out is, he can say, hey, this is the optimal line to go for off of this set of emblems.
ผมว่าสปอร์ตเนี้ยพี่แกเนตอะ เดี๋ยวนะ พี่หยิบ Augment Tactician หรือว่า Magic Loan อะ อุ๊ย
We'll have our last augment choice that
ฮะ
is earlier. We see
Tactician มันออก
Solo Gasong as
Oh,
well.
really?
And this is
Yep.
so much stronger
Insta-pick.
because you don't have
อ๋อ มันสเตจ
five
มันสเตจ
fights,
มันยังสเตจ 3 อยู่ใช่ไหม
down an augment, similar to what you mentioned, Gangly in stage 2. You have a chance to pick up Trade Tracker, cash it out.
โซโลกิหยิบแบบไม่ต้องคิดเลยครับ ตั้งบอร์ดไซเฟอร์มาแบบนี้ เอ้ยตั้งบอร์ดในโตมาแบบนี้ มันเปิดเทรดแอคเกอร์แบบง่ายจัด
Hostile takeover, and I'm like, wait, is there any chance?
แล้วมันมีภาพจะไปเล่นเซอรีนะ
Right now we stabilize, we go into hostile takeover from here? Probably not, though.
Choices still coming through.
Dayhua picks up Preparation. That's a pretty interesting pick. We could talk about that whenever we do get back to his board, but with Grenade.
สปอร์ตพี่แกเนตนี่ ถ้าได้
Salvage
ไอ้นี่มาน่าจะดีนะ
help change those items into a little bit more powerful. You see those Zaya items.
เกรเตอร์มูนไลท์อะ
They could
เกรเตอร์
be
มูน
better.
ไลท์แล้วก็ไฮโลได้ก่อนเงี้ย เปิด6บูมบอร์ดแล้วก็ ใช้เกตเตอร์มุนไลแบกไว้ก่อน
Last Twister is gonna feel quite nice.
เพราะว่าจะมาภาวนาเอากอดแบกไปเลยก็ยากอยู่นะ
And both of them currently on fire at the top of our standing. So whoever wins this fight will have that big streak going into our stage 3 neutral round. It'll be very important to set them up for how they play early stage 4 and also how much income they have from this next couple rounds.
ห้องนี้เหมือนจะเห็นคนเล่นมาร์คแมนแวนการ์ด2 คนแล้วก็เซอร์ลี2 คน ส่วนพี่บูมบอดก็เหมือนจะไปเล่นมาร์คแมนแวนการ์ดเหมือนกัน
Upgrade is a very, very good one.
เนี่ยครับพี่คนนี้แคทเอาไซเฟอร์มาไปเล่นเซอร์ลีส่วนนี่ครับคนที่เล่นเซอร์ลีก็ต้องลำบากเหมือนกันเพราะว่าบอร์ดไซเฟอร์ก็เล่นทั้งเซอร์ลีทั้งเซจูนี่เหมือนกันครับ
Nothing too crazy here. It does feel a little bit sparse for Hunt.
เป็นภาพที่เห็นได้ประจำครับ
Gonna have some time.
เล่นเอ็กโซเทคเฮ้ยทำไมกูโรไม่ฮิตวะ คนไม่ได้เล่นเอ็กโซเทคกับเราเยอะขนาดนั้นมองไปไซเฟอร์แม่งถือเซจูนี่2 ดาวเธอเซรี2 ดาว
No. For hunching, yeah. I don't think so. But with this board setup, without a large cash out, it is a little bit tricky to play stage 4 unless you hit very quickly.
There's a Zed and there's 5 Dravens, and right now we have more of a Draven lean than a LeBlanc lean for the.
แคทเอา300แคทเอา105แคทเอา105นี่คือเศษเงินนะ
Wow, we are hitting
7 Dravens
very hard there. I was
ไม่รู้ว่าคุ้มกับเลือดที่เสียไปไหมครับแต่เขาก็ไม่ได้รู้สติขนาดนั้นนะเหมือนเอาดาเวนเทมโปมาได้อยู่ตรงนี้ครับพิโซโลเกเปิดเปิดเทรดเช็คเกอร์ได้ครับแต่เงินเหลือ20ตรงนี้เวล8ไม่เจอเซอร์ลีสักตัวครับเซจูนี่ก็ยังไม่เจอนะ
Looks like he gave up on the Shaco going into Zaya as a gold sector carrier instead, but more importantly, Solgasung has a trade tracker on
ขนาดไม่มีคนเล่นยังไม่ฮิตเลยดูเลยครับคนนี้เล่นซาย่าเขายังมีเซจูนี่เลยครับเนี่ย
So we'll see what the hits will be here. Fingers crossed with some crazy high
เหมือนเขาจะไปเล่นเอ็กโซเหมือนจะโยกไปเล่นเอ็กโซเหมือนกันปะสวยนะ
Nitro though, we'll have to see what the setup will be on all of his different emblems as he slams them onto these.
ไม่เห็นด้วยครับว่าได้เอ็มเบมอะไรด้วยบ้าง
This is exactly what you were talking about though, David, right?
Hello.
The trade tracker had no wasted time. You pick it up on the last round of stage 3 and immediately get to play it on 4-1, get the cash out 1 turn later. So Solo will have a very strong spot. Granted, still needs to hit the bonus to make sure he gets full value out of it.
ช่วยแก2 ตัว
Hasn't cashed out yet. He was rolling here potentially to find the cash out, but
have it
maybe
next turn though.
Yeah.
Dehua playing around that Vanguard marksman, as we saw earlier, the reactive shell really locking him into that line. Preparation giving a lot of the extra stacks, but not finding the damage that he needs.
Right. He also doesn't have the extra
ไม่มี
in the back line.
แครี่เล่นนะบอลนี้
Stacks are going to be delayed.
No Zaya. Only 1 Aphelios, only 1 Leona. You can't prep the pair of Leonas and Aphelios, for example, and you're down to, under
แต่ยังได้อยู่ปะ
level 8,
I'm
so
surprised to see him roll to
โอ้โห
0.
ยังรอดอยู่ครับ
Last stage where if you take prep so
คอก
late
มอ
on
ล
stage
เท่านั้น
you're kind of forced to play stage 4 a little bit more slowly because you need the gold to ensure that you have pairs of your marksmen to get the full stacks out of them.
I mean, but we did see a couple of players take preparation, and they actually didn't try to activate.
พยายามเฟกอยู่ครับ
Not optimizing to try to get
เป็น
the full 4. You just kind of have to sometimes.
4 บุย4 บุม4 บุย 4 บุมบอดครับ
Grenade positioning to cash out trait tracker here as well. This is an excellent position to be in.
Kobuko
He does have,
แทน
some copies of
วัวไหม
the units that he'll be playing, but no major upgrades. Did roll mostly down here on level 8 and no Urgot either. So we're gonna have a hard time getting to 6 green bot.
เอาหน่อย
high roll for Camberley. He's going into the Dynamo flex line. It looks like, at least for now, with MF as the main carry. We saw a lot of this game from him yesterday as well, playing tempo in stage 4 to try to preserve HP and utilize the high amount of HP he came into stage 4 with. Most of the game he's coming in with just 60 and above HP, trying to bleed out to the third or fourth.
Grenade does have Cho'Gath 2 in shop if he does choose to upgrade that.
Yeah, it looks like
Sure, he'll
shop
sell.
is locked, or is he going to sell something here to make
He
it?
sold the Jins.
Oh, I see. He has one on board already, yeah. Going into carousel here, I think as we look into the back half of stage 4, it's important to
ใน
see
วงไม่มีก่อนนะครับ
how both Grenade and Zologosong are utilizing their trait trackers to get full value out of their board. Also, opportunity to pick up
Grenade
fire
เดินไป
across
หยิบ
here. Grenade, we know playing the boom bot
แจ็คติด
board
ล้อนะครับ
comes alive once you get that Zac. Granted,
รี
he's
เฉาครับ
zero
หยิบ
gold
ธ
on
นู
the
ค
lane
รับ
right now. That is a little bit scary,
โซโล
but
กิ
he
ได้
has the core of the
จระเข้
composition filled out.
A great pickup for Solo. Has our Renekton already on his board after that trade tracker cash out with a Nitro Flex board.
หันชิง
Now
นี่
the
เห็นเราปะ
pair.
คิดดาเว่น
High rolls one more copy of Renekton. That could be a big way to stabilize in the stage 4.
Did you already call out Solo's emblems?
We have
We
got-
go back to his board to
He
really
got a
analyze it.
Boombot emblem. He also got
Yeah,
a
Tactician.
Tactician emblem and I believe a Divinicore emblem. At least is one of them.
Okay.
Grenade here is cashing out Trade Tracker right now. We'll be going back to Exotech. It looks like we don't know exactly what he has until he places it on his board. There we do on the left side.
มันจะเป็นการผสมผสานระหว่าง EXO และ
emblems that favor
Boombot
EXO
ครับ
more and wasn't really fully prepared for this roll down. And the biggest problem is
เพื่อที่จะขึ้นเวล 9 ให้ได้ก่อนนะครับ
carousel round, which means that he is far behind. Other players who were going for EXO from the very beginning of stage 4 have already funneled a lot of the units onto their board. Sejuani's and Zeri's especially.
Well, we can absolutely see that the emblems that he
แล้ว3
had
EXO เป็น
Exotech, we saw Techie, we saw
เป็น
Rapid Fire,
เป็นเหลือง
Bastion,
เป็นเหลืองพอดี
Exotech as well, right? These are all the core pieces, and he does have the Cho'Gath 2. Cho'Gath 2 with Exo +1 is one of the best holders. You get all the base health already. You can utilize a lot of the items that you're going to be building regardless of whether or not you find the Exo +1. So he has a strong front line, and it's holding up. So
โอ
the
เคครับ
question is,
ฝั่งตรง
from
ข้าม
here,
ก็
can you fill out your board?
เซอร์ลีไม่มีกุนซูนะครับ
Because the truth is, at 41 HP, he doesn't have that much.
โชว์แกตตัวนี้ไม่มีทางตาย
Stage 5, he is kind of running out of time to stabilize hard.
We're missing a lot of these contested units, though. We don't have Sejuani. We don't have a lot of the upgrades. No Zeri pair either. Or any Jins, because we had to sell them for that show.
เนี่ยครับรีเฉาไม่รอดแล้วครับไซเฟอร์มา แต่ไอเทมก็ยัง
Good
ไม่
news is that the contester on the EXO line is on
ไอเทมไม่ใช่ครับ
One
แล้วก็โลไม่
Silver
ฮิต
Life still going to be on Zeri. One has found upgrades in the front line with his
290 ก็ไม่มีภาพครับผม
If he faces one of the
แซกมา
stronger
สุดๆแล้ว
players, potentially even that Cypher player that he griefed 2 times or 1 time in stage 3, he could get knocked out. Hanqing's on a 6-win streak now. We'll see who the matchup will be. It'll be AQ1H, who's sitting on a more stable, more
ตอนนี้
stable marksman board instead.
ถ้าเกิดเราไม่ได้เล่นบอร์ด
One
ไซเฟอร์อะแล้วเราเล่นลูสติกไซเฟอร์มาเพื่อไปคอมอื่นอะมันไม่ได้แบบเวอร์ขนาดนั้นละตอนนี้
I just want to say
ของรางวัลมันดูแบบ
anti-Sejuani positioning.
Perfect.
So Leona walked over.
กระจอกมาก
That's right.
That's why they know.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys.
Doesn't cast a second time though. That could be pretty impactful. Felios onto one of the backline carries now. It's just as Zeri left alive. Edge of Night is not procced yet. That could be the saving grace here with this Mordekaiser hanging on for dear life. Now it has
โอ้
proc.
แต่เซอร์ลิสตรงนี้คลัชให้อยู่ครับ
And this is why Zeri is
โอ้
so
ย
scared.
ยังรอดอยู่
Take a look at the right-hand side. We see the gold totals going into stage 5. This is going to tell us who is angling toward going for an earlier level 9.
จระเข้ตรงนี้ครับ
We can see YBY
ถึงจะฮิตแล้วอุ๊ย
50 gold,
เหมือนจะมีจระเข้สอง
gold as well. Everybody
จระเข้สอง
else
เซอร์ลิส
on
สอง
sitting
แต่จะ
at
ตาย
10 gold is going to be stuck on level 8 for quite a while.
I mean, YBY1 already having pumped some gold into XP should be going level 9 at the start of stage 5.
เนี่ย YBY1 นะครับเล่นเป็น 4 แบทชั่นไปก่อนนะครับ
Like the Boombot composition, right? And
เอา
he actually
คิน
was
เด็ด
using
พาขึ้นเลเวล
from worth the wait to actually get econ. We talked about the importance of econ.
ตรงนี้
when
หัน
playing
ชิน
the
ใจฮิต
Boombot, line,
ฮิต
and so it actually was a
เซต
bit
สอง
more
ดาวครับ
tempo-y Boombot, but utilized worth the wait as
แต่
both
ยังเหลือ
combat
เลอบอง
and
อยู่ครับ ด้วยความที่โลเวล 7
For Hanqing, the Z2 comes online as well. The Draven 3 has been found quite a while ago.
ขึ้น 9 แล้วครับ
Seeing here, the
ไม่รอเลอบองครับ
Cypher reroll line not only being an AP line, but the moment you have more Dravens, the moment you have better AD items, you switch into that Draven backline carry instead and find the LeBlanc later on in time.
Bulky buddies positioning, always a puzzle. Trying to figure it out here for Hanqing. Able to put the backliner, the frontliners in the backline to try and let that Sejuani get to a priority position. Day2 on the other side now having a fully prepped.
เอาเลนบัฟออกครับ ใส่ดูดเลือดแทนเหรอครับ
And is in a better spot than we saw him last time.
Better spot, but really he's locked into this exact position, right? He
โอ้
doesn't
โห
have
แล้ว
a
ดาเว่นนะครับ
Wow.
เข้าไป
Fire the Draven
ปาด
damage
แบ็คไลน์ตายหมด
through. The Blackliners are deleted, and Dehua, he's going to be stuck on 8 the entirety of the game pretty much.
I think the good news for him is that there are a lot of people who are going to be stuck on 8. The bad news for him is the people who are stuck on 8 are also people who cashed out Trait Tracker, so they already have a bit more of a cap. I don't think Day2's spot is doomed by any means. I do think that fully prepped Xayah and Aphelios do have a lot of potential. I don't think the Xayah
ไปวันขึ้นเวฟ9มาตรงนี้
so it might be a little sketchy, but I think Day2 is still holding on for hope.
This is why I think YBY is such a great player.
Yeah.
So many players.
ทุกคนถือตัว Exotech เยอะมาก
The way Kindred, I have to play Nitro reroll, but in this case he uses that.
ขายไปแล้วครับ Kindred Word to West ขายไปแล้วครับ
Make it to level 9, and when he gets there, he says,
เพราะว่าต้องการจะเล่นกอดมาก
longer useful as a single damage carry.
We've got all the pieces, but we are severely lacking upgrades on this board. The good news is that he is at 39 HP, so has a couple turns to stabilize, and if he can get some matchups that haven't quite reached their final form, honestly, this one that we're looking at from Cambuly is one of those lines, right? We're playing the Dynamo MF, but we're not playing with the Aurora. We're still playing on level 8. We don't have those legendaries.
โอ้
And
เกือบครับ
just barely not enough to find a win there. So Cambuly takes that, able to stay on top, still the health leader in the
โซโล
lobby.
กิจะตายแล้วครับ
Solo takes a huge hit.
And it's not surprising. We've seen a lot of players yesterday cash out Trait Tracker into just these insane hand-picked emblems. For the case of Solo, a lot more all over the place when it comes to the cash out of the emblems. You really couldn't make that board work perfectly. He has a Syndicate emblem that's pretty much completely useless. He had a Boombot when he was trying to play
โซโล
into
กิ
Nitro.
แคทเอาเทสแท็กเกอร์มาแต่ว่า
Exotech basically with a lot of
มี
dead options, so really not
ใช้ไม่ค่อยได้เท่าไหร่ครับไม่ค่อยดีเท่าไหร่ครับ
These Sejuanis are so contested. We see still 1-star Sej for him. Li Xiao does have that upgrade, but so many of our players are playing around that. We see these fights being incredibly important. Defwa playing against on the right side. We have a 2-star Xayah, so Vanguard Marksman against both of these boards.
So which one will win out? You've got the Zeri that's ramping on the right-hand side for Solo, but it's about being able to get through that front line. And with the executions coming
ไม่ไหว
through, it might be a little bit tough. But we can see with the positioning with the Bastion on the right,
ไปก่อนเลยครับ
maybe the Jax would have bought enough time there, but unfortunately for Solo, is eliminated in 8th place.
A tough start to the day. This is kind of the low rolls we don't talk about with Trait Tracker. It's a risky augment for a reason.
Li
We see
Xiao.
all the high rolls usually on broadcast, but this is the case where just it did not quite pan out with his game plan.
Day2 did not have any Sunder on his board, so picking up the Even Shroud is a huge pickup. The question is it too little too late, sitting at just 2 HP, no way to go 9? It's going to be tough.
And having to face Han Sing at some point is the problem for many of our players. He is incredibly strong right now. They may
บอด
be
พี่
able
แก
to
เนต
tap
เป็นไง
out
บ้าง
later
แล้วเนี่ย
on in
บู
stage
มบอดเนี่ย
6, even into stage 7. But for now, he is the final
No, no.
boss.
A couple of our players on last life, though, as we take a look at the bottom half of our lobby. And so we'll be focusing our attention on AQ1H, which is certainly in the danger zone, and YBY1 still. On an Urgot 1 does get a mod from the Garen, so maybe that'll help to get the board a little bit more strength, and finds a Garen too. What do you sell, though?
Missed the Boombot mod, which is what he was really hoping for in this spot, playing around.
ไม่มีตัวไหนขายได้
And still, it's Urgot 1.
I
Has to sell
Urgot.
the Urgot pair to make the Garen, so you can feel the
mistake?
desperation from YBY1. Sitting now at 13 HP, 1 last life.
And this is going to be a very important fight. 1 life versus 1 life here. Maybe a 1-unit loss will keep them alive. Cho'Gath, too, is so incredibly strong, but it's getting focused down by the Vanguards.
Frontline still holding up.
ดาเมจไม่พอครับ
Vanguard, though. Leona is still very strong.
เดี๋ยวหน้าถึกเกินนะครับไหลเข้ามาแล้วครับบูมบอด
YBY is going to take quite a big hit at just 13 HP.
เนี่ยฟาดก้าวมาแต่ว่าก็ไม่พอครับ
YBY will go down. Question is, does anyone else go down with
ตายไปเลยครับ
Day2, Li Xiao, both on death's door?
No.
Holding my breath to see if anyone else.
No, it does look
Wow.
like Dehua is able to hang on.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, you're right. He won that last round. And the Sunder might have actually been enough for him to turn a corner and get one more placement out of it.
That is a crazy spot to go 7th from. I would be so sad.
Unfortunate game 1 for the Nitro game plan. Both players, Solo having to opt out of it after the Trait Tracker cash
แต่ละ
out,
คน
YBY having to opt into it
เลือด
because
คือ
of the way Kindred. I think he played a great game theoretically considering
จะ
this
ตายกันแล้วครับ
low roll, but just wasn't able to make it work in the end.
วันนี้พี่เลี้ยเฉาติดที่เลเวล8แล้วพยายามจะเอาการเรียน2นะครับ
the Zaya instead, I think, if you're able to get that crossfire. So hopefully splitting up your damage means that you can get through this front line a little bit more pincered.
Yeah, with the Even Shroud, it does allow you to split up your damage threat so that you don't need to have Last Whisper proc in the front line. You can see Day2. Oh, man. The fight looked so
จระเข้ตีไกลยังไง
Misfortune turned on the Aphelios.
โอ้โห
and
แต่
just
ว่า
like
การ
that, all the damage is
ไอ้
gone.
การเล่นมันเก่งอยู่นะ
Day2 going to go out in 6th. Honestly, all things considered, not even a bad 6th. So this is a tough lobby, a lot of strong boards, and a lot of people who missed. Day2 being one of them.
He did miss out on a lot of those preparation stacks in stage 3 and 4.
ลีเฉารอดท็อป 4 มาได้ครับ
Challenging. But taking a look at their lobby, we have our top
มีการแบบว่า
Litao is still going to be on
รอดมาได้เขาไม่เล่นคินเด็ดนะพอคินเด็ดออก
as a nice upgrade
เพราะว่าไอเทมมัน
kind of waiting to get the gold
เหลือให้การเล่น
to do it.
And Lisao has been on 1 life the entirety of the stage. We're a little bit worried
ตรง
about
นี้
him
สุดท้าย
playing
พี่เกเนตก็มาเล่นเอ็กโซครับ ถึงแม้เสาตอนแรกจะเป็นเสา ถึงแม้เสาตอนแรกจะเป็นเสาบุมบอดแต่ว่ามันไม่มีแครี่เล่นนะ
sitting on a very, very upgraded EXO board.
แต่แคทเอาเทแท็กเกอร์มาดีอยู่นะ
Our final 4 players
ใช้ได้เยอะครับ มีตราเอ็กโซเทคอีก
come through as well for one of our players, I believe, on the
was
bottom right,
Litao.
Lisao, yes.
Yeah, he had one in his shop and he was just waiting to get the gold.
และลี่เฉาก็ทำได้จริงๆครับ เวล 8 การเล่น2 ดาว
The moment that stage 3 was ending, stage 4 was coming online, he looked at the lobby tempo, he looked at the game plans from everyone else, he said, hey, there's 2 Cypher cash out players, there's 2 Trade Tracker players, am I really playing for a win out? And he answered himself saying, no, I'm going to roll on 8s heavily, I'm going to play for tempo, I'm going to preserve HP,
Yeah.
He's done so, he's guaranteed the top 4, and now we'll probably bleed out to a 4th, maybe a 3rd considering his HP.
I feel like this game plan started from 2-1, right? Like you're looking at someone who took replication, magic roll, salvage bin, very item heavy augment takes, and you can see it reflects in his board. He's got 3 items on a Gragas, 3 items on a Braum, 2 no
อุ้ยหันชิงโดนไหลเข้ามาครับ
and despite that, able to lock
แต่ว่าดาเวนคลัชให้ครับปา1 ทีได้ถึง 2
alive there.
I mean, grenade
ยืนแบบไลน์อัพแบบนี้
so intense. I thought maybe the Draven would be able to get the Zeri, but it does miss it at the end of the day. We will see Hanqing actually able to get that LeBlanc.
ตัวอย่างเซต
Infinite
มา
Value
เกมไหนเหรอครับ
Yeah.
ของเมื่อวานมันมาหลังเกม2นะครับ
A lot of that waits in the earlier stages.
7, 5, and 4 HP left for our bottom.
ของวันนี้ก็น่าจะมาหลังเกม2นะ
At the top, many people will be falling out here.
75
See who's going to be the one to take the
เหมือนจะ
losses.
ไม่รู้ว่าเป็นฟิลแบบ ไม่รู้ว่าเขาจะโชว์อะไร
So on the right we have the 2 Cypher players that were contesting each other from the beginning, meeting up one more time to potentially knock
แต่โชว์ตัวละครเพิ่ม
The Grenade, the Trade Tracker player who somehow made it work, pivoting from Boombot into Exotech, stabilizing with his upgrade, knocks out Cambuli. Cambuli has to be happy with the 4th, it's what he expected.
Lisao
Heading
will
into
fall
stage 4, and Lisao also taken down by, I think, the understandable
เกเนตรอดครับ
Hanqing with Cypher reroll, hitting its max cap, hitting all of its 3 charges as well. Grenade, I think here has to be
Attacker
happy
แม่ง
with
โค
second.
ตร
Stage 4 looked very dicey the moment we saw the cash out and the full pivot from Boombot without any Urgot
โคตรโหด
into Exotech, which was 3-way contested.
And a 1-star Szechuani.
ทุกคนพรุ่งนี้เราจะแจกของใช่ปะ
5.
That's a
ผมกำลังคิดว่า
Twice? It doesn't
เรา
really
จะแจก
matter.
เหมือนรอบนั้นดีไหมที่ถ่ายว่า
It's worth it to
ถ่ายว่า
highlight
ใครจะช
one
นะ
more
ในแต่ละ
time
เกม
Cambuli's strategy of trying to play for a top 4. You look at the top 3 here.
รอบอร์ด everything goes on ตลอดไป เขาจะเอาวนกลับมาขายอีกเปล่า แต่ว่าเซตหน้ามี
Also, something important to note: our 2 CN players in the top 3 in this
เซตหน้า
lobby
มี
were the
ไอ้นี่นะ
lowest ranked
เซตหน้ามี
CN players.
สตาร์
Now
การ
they
เดียน
have
นะ
a 3rd and a 1st, moving themselves up the standings here in Game 1.
Especially for Hanqing, if he wins, sitting on 23 points, it would be the start of potentially a historic comeback if he's able to continue this trend moving along the rest of the days in stage 2.
Just get more Cypher spots. It'll be great.
โอ้แล้วไซเฟอร์เป็นฝ่ายชนะไปครับ
Too many 3 stars, too many carries from Hanqing. He wins the Cypher battle in the end despite getting his streak cut in stage 3. He gets the last laugh a big grenade
แต่ว่าเซตหน้ายังไงเขาก็เอาของใหม่มาขายอยู่แล้วแหละพวกบอร์ดพวกอะไรเงี้ย
It's everything you outlined from the beginning, David. You're taking shop glitch.
ปกติมันจะมีบอร์ดที่มัน
Cypher really start to be very powerful.
ที่มันเป็นของแต่ละเซตอยู่แล้ว
You're not only able to get
ที่เขาจะเอามา
the
ขาย
options in your
วง
Cypher
ล้อ
unit,
AI อัจฉริยะดีกว่า
having Draven come through on the beginning of stage 3, getting the early
ว
upgrade
งล้อ
time
น่าจะ
2 meant that
ทุก
when
คน
you
น่าจะมี
stabilized
สิทธิ์
on 4-1, it was all that much easier. I think well played by Hunching.
Absolutely, and I'm so curious to
วง
see
ล้อ
what
AI
the
อัจฉริ
standings
ยะ
will look like after these points. Feels so flipped, but it's tough because you're playing against new players in the lobby. Maybe you haven't played against some of them before, just with how the lobbies were reseeded after yesterday. And it's also maybe you need one game to wake up.
And you've had the night to sleep on it, right? You've been able to watch some VODs. We did see some of them deleted, as we talked about in our interview. But
We're
we're able to
score, Bap.
review, to look at the stats, to figure out what other people are playing and have success
Wait,
with,
wait.
and now adjust, adapt, and hopefully
Reseeded
be
after
able to make a
yesterday.
run.
The
And it's
scary
also-
part about
maybe you
needing
need
one game to wake up is that for
And
a
you've
lot
had the
of
night
these
to sleep
players,
on it.
you will only
Right,
have a
you've been
one
able to
game
watch
left.
some
That is
VODs.
the
We did see some of
threatening
them
part of
deleted,
this
as we
format.
talked about in
You
our
play
interview.
6 games to
But
kind of
We're
set the
gone,
stage, put you
Bap.
where you
To look
are,
at the stats,
and
to
then you
figure out
only
what-
play 2 games before the cuts start to happen.
เนี่ยครับ
I honestly think that if there are any players out there that
เล่นจบ
said,
กันยังครับ
I
เนี่ย
need one game to wake up, I really hope that you played a warm-up game.
ผม
because
รอ
you
ดู
don't
โรบิน
have a
โร
game
บิน
to spare.
I feel like Azir, though, just as an encounter, wasn't the most game warping of the
Robin
ones
ได้
that we've seen. I feel like it's kind of like Annie, maybe all
ที่
gold,
5
a little
ที่ 5 ได้ 4 คะแน
boring,
น
but the actual placement and cadence of the augments were kind of normal.
It's more impactful in stage 2, especially when you have,
รอดูคนก่อน
double
ได้
each one when you have a scaling
ถ้าคนเยอะระบบ AI
That's
จะไม่
sort of
ไหว
scary. Even like no scout no pivot in
ถ้าคนเยอะอะ
also give you stats right after that
มันมีอีกระบบหนึ่งนะ เป็นระบบ
choice but the key
ผม
here
เคยลอง
was
ระบบ
late stage
ระบบ
3,
ทายเลข
there's only a few players that really gained the
มัน
system
มี
to
รอบ
get
ก่อน
ahead, someone like
ไอ้
Solo,
ทัวร์
the late trade
ทัวร์
tracker,
โกลเด้นของ
there wasn't that much
ของ
balance,
Yeah.
Set
I feel
13
like it's one of those things where it's like if we look at the
ที่มันตรงกับ
results, it didn't feel that game warping, but if you
มัน
play
ตรงกับ
that
งาน
exact
วาโลมั้งตอนนั้น
situation again,
แล้วมัน
like,
แล้ว
what happens if
แบบ
three
คนเขาก็
people
ไปดู
find
วาโล
trade
กันใช่ปะ
tracker
แล้วเหมือนมี
3-6,
ช่อง
all of
ผ
a
ม
sudden
อะ
the
ที่
game
สตรีม
does change
TFT
quite a
ช่อง
bit. I feel like
ช่อง
even though
เดียว
that one
ตอนนั้น
didn't feel that crazy,
คนมาดู
we would have felt
70
differently
กว่าคน
if Solo had hit a different trade tracker.
วงล้อ
and
ไม่ไหว
all of a sudden
นะ
our top 4 is 2 trade trackers, 2 ciphers.
Yeah, the 2 trade tracker Exotech, the 1 trade tracker with the Dynamo, and then there's a lot of emblems flying around that game.
And it wasn't too game warping, as we were talking about, because as the Cypher player, you get a bunch of extra resources from
27 ใช่ไหม
having a Cypher cash out, being able to have shop glitch and
ไม่รู้เหมือน
upgrade
กัน
those units. You
อันนี้คือ
want
อะไร
no
ระบบ
one else
ถ่ายเล
to
ข
get extra resources, and that's
เลข
exactly
ปี
what we saw
เกิด
in this lobby.
And this lobby, I think, is a
23
perfect example of what your game plan is
อายุ
doing in stage 4. We have 5 players went for a win out, 3 of them succeeded, 2 of them went in
ใช่ตอนนั้นแหละ
UI1 failing that boombot game plan and Solo missing out on the trade tracker cash out. 3 players who played for a top 4, they landed in that middle of the
27
pack,
แก่ไปครับ
4th and 6th.
But another game where Boombots just didn't look good. What's going on?
It's really just a question of whether or not you're able to hit your upgrades, right? And I think there are a lot of players who play this on ladder, and you say, hey, you know what, I got 2.
เดี๋ยวถ้าคนมันเยอะๆแล้วอาจจะทายเลข
When
เอา
you're playing at the world stage, it doesn't. The bar is higher. You have to stabilize higher. You find a Garen, you miss Boombots battle. All of a sudden, that's a lot of damage that you've lost on your board. You have to sell your Urgot pair in order to upgrade a different unit. Well, now your cap is that much lower. It's going to require so much more gold in order to find that Urgot 2 again. I think the margins are just so much more narrow on this stage that it does warp how the comp performs.
Setsuko and Xiaoju both taking another first place to start off our day.
But
Amazing.
Cornin, Panda.
เนี่ยครับคะแนนสกอร์มาแล้วเกม 7 ตรงนี้
in this game 7. CN, as you mentioned, climbing up as well.
วันนี้จะมีการตัดออกไปจน
But this is where you don't want to be.
จนเหลือ 8 คนเท่านั้นครับ
24th place right now. 5 players
ตัดออกไปทีละ
tied at
8
30 points and well within arm's reach.
เนี่ยครับ
Being able to make it through our
เกม
first
7 เกม
players
8 ตัดอีก 8 คน
getting
เกม
eliminated
9 เกม
Yeah, I
10
think
ตัด
that's
อีก
the thing that
8 คน
stands out to me
เกม
is
11 เกม
that
12
entire
ตัดอีก
page was the difference was 1 point
Tại
from
cái
top
phần.
to bottom, right? Every one of the players that's
4 คน
on elimination
แล้ว
station
ก็
right now has the agency
เกม
to get
13 4 คน
themselves out of it. The question
วันนี้เล่นกี่เกม
is
1
what it
2
takes
3
to
4 5
reset
6 7
and take
7 เลยเหรอ
the cards that are presented to you, not tilt,
กูจะบ้า
not let the pressure get to you in this moment.
And also the thing is that so
เยอะ
many
ไป
have
ครับ
gotten
7 เกม
8th
เยอะ
place
ไป
in this game. That is a huge difference, right? Having that game one to wake up. We got to wake up. We got to play right now. And for so many of these players at the bottom of the lobby, this is do or die.
Especially the legacy players, the fan favorites, Coco, Solo, and YBY1 all starting with a 7th or an 8th place.
Wow.
It really, stops them right in their tracks in terms of trying to come back and maybe even make a day 3.
Coco in particular is one that stands out to me. When you look at just historical stats of TFT, Coco is the player on this global stage with the lowest 8th place rate. Seeing Coco take an 8th place in a pressured moment is not something we would expect to see. It's a bit reminiscent of last set when he barely missed out on the top 8, going 8th in his final game. What I would say is if we follow the numbers, certainly, there's no way Coco takes another 8th. I would actually very much believe in a player like Coco to be able to bounce back, find himself back in the top 24 after the next game. I'm at Mia for one game.
Thank you, gang.
I got you.
You just him now.
He got hurt. He's hurt.
Let's stay on your side. We don't want you on the team.
Cut the mic on gang for the rest of this.
I mean, that's where we need our trapdoor.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy.
That'd be cool.
Thank you, Negra.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hopefully that reverses the caster curse.
We'll learn from this one.
We do have all of our lobbies wrapped up. We're just going to be waiting to set up for the next one before we jump into our deciding game to see which of our 8 players at the bottom will not be able to make it forward. And we've got a long day ahead of us. 7 total games today. You got to keep making it through all of these individual cuts.
It is a marathon, for sure, and it's weird because it's a marathon but also a sprint because you cannot ever stop.
ผมไม่ได้เล่นเทรดแท็กเกอร์เลยนะเว้ย
You are at the bottom of the standings right before the cuts.
ตั้งแต่แพทนี้แพทตั้งแต่กี่แพทเราไม่รู้เนี่ยผมไม่ได้เล่นเทรดแท็กเกอร์เลยตั้งแต่เอ็กโซมันโหดอ่ะ
7 straight games with implications on every single one.
We're seeing our EMEA player hub right now in Warsaw, and I'm spotting one of those box Yasuo hats that one of our little legends wears. That's pretty cool. I kind of want one.
แต่คือดูในแข่งนี่คือเทรดแท็กเกอร์ออกทุกเกมเลยว่ะ
Get your origami skills.
คือเขาออกกันทุกเกมเลยเทรดแท็กเกอร์ในแข่ง
You talk about it all the time.
Gingley has all of those colored pens from
He does.
his diary session.
He only lets me hold them though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you can't use them?
Nope.
No, that's like he's like a white belt colorer right now. So has to
I'll work on it. I'll work on it.
How much would he have to pay you to use them?
Probably like 30.
Just 30.
30.
No units.
Yeah,
just 30.
30. Okay.
Leave
But
it
what
at
about
zero,
our
okay.
American?
อันนี้มันคือ
We did talk to Kambu
อันนี้คือห้องอะไรครับ
earlier about his experience playing at the hub, and it was so interesting to hear about how some of the Americas players were like, yes, let's work together, but EMEA is more inclined to actually help each
เขาจะ
other
เปลี่ยน
out
ล็อบบี้
on
ไหม
the
อ่ะ
global
ผม
stage.
ล็อบบี้เมื่อกี้ไม่ค่อยมีแบบตึงๆอะดิหมายถึงว่าไม่ใช่ว่าไม่ตึงแต่ว่าแบบ
Have
ไม่
there
รู้จัก
been
อะ
any major changes? Have any players changed in this very first game their outlook on certain comps or how to execute on them as well? This is the crucial game for some players. This is a game where this could be the end of your set 14 run.
You say 4 in the top 8, but it's actually 6 in the top 10.
Whoa.
Our America's players. So 9 and 10 also occupied
แต่พี่
by
เกรเนต
American
เมื่อกี้
players, and that is
เขา
it's
ฟอร์ม
excellent
ดีจัดเลยนะผม
That's
ว่า
how you know you're a professional analyst,
พลาด
is you're able to
top
pick
8 อยู่นะ
out the numbers that you want to tell people
of
course.
and make them look very good.
You choose what you want to say before you look at any of the numbers, and then you figure out how to make them say that. If we're talking about the players that, like Panda was talking about, the ones that are at the bottom right now and your run could end, the 2 from the Americas, I think it's kind of fitting that it's them on the bottom, not because they are not good, but because their stories lend them to be kind of the underdogs going in. Kuramex and
แต่ล็อบบี้เมื่อกี้เป็นล็อบบี้ที่แบบ
players
ฟัน
who
เทส
I
กันหนัก
think
อะ
are compared to the rest of the Americas field, considered kind of unassuming. Dahua being this brand new face in America's TFT, known mainly for his loud mouth and his lack of units. He's a player who brought his own flair to the Golden Spatula. And Kuramex, one of the most veteran players of all TFT, played against, who was, I believe, is Shendu back in set 3 in the Galaxy's Invitational, making his way to his 3rd World Championship. And despite that, is still considered an underdog by many viewers.
And funnily enough, Dahua is the player who drafted Kuramex into his lobby during the TAC Crown draft for that day 1. So curious to see what ends up happening with these 2 players in this next game.
And you have to be next to them on LAN. There's no hiding.
Yeah, that's true. One of them's unplugging the other's keyboard.
That's what the refs are for. They'll make sure that doesn't happen.
I see.
That's where I think the strategy of being able to play amongst the rest of the field becomes so interesting. I was talking about when in Macau Open, like what if you just run around with pieces of paper that have your comp on it?
ปีนี้
This is what I'm playing.
เขายังไม่จัด
You do
Open
not
ปะ
test me, you know?
I would just
หรือว่าเขาจะไปจัดปีหน้า
scream like a banshee if
ที่รอบก่อนเป็นมาเก๊าอะ
that.
This soap's got 8. She's got 8.
He's got 8. He's got 8.
I will say, I think we've never seen a more even, bottom 20 or so players. There's like a 3-point gap between all of them. So even if you're seeing, like Coco, Volta, Solo, a lot of these top fan favorite players in that bottom page, a third place saves them, probably a second place saves them, considering how close it is.
I mean, you're talking about cutting from 32 to 24, right? So that's not a large cut. Really, we saw yesterday there were players in the bottom 8 that took a 5th and then escaped the cut. We could see something very similar. A lot of these players
เพราะว่า
probably
เขารอ
not be first or a second to
ล็อบ
escape
บี้
the
จบ
next
ถูก
cut.
ล็อบบี้ก่อนเว้ย
You like data, right? We all like data.
Sure,
We
yeah.
like numbers. Let's
ก็
take
จบแล้ว
a
นี่
look at some of those numbers
น่าจะกำลัง
from
เตรียม
the competitions that were played
เตรียมความพร้อมกันอยู่
yesterday, day one of our competition. You can see on this graphic some of the most played comps, how they ended up doing, and just some numbers to go along with it.
Yeah, one thing we covered
Yep.
at the top of the show, Exotech Zeri.
เมตาตอนนี้
Very high.
เอาไปเล่นกันได้ครับ
75% here on our screen is something that is the most consistent, and we've seen that here on our broadcast almost every time.
Dynamo Freak
except if you're solo song
35
in that top 4.
35 เกม
If you remove trade
Exotech 33 Average 3.42 What the fuck
falls to around 4. It is that impactful, and it is that it's I think also an argument we see very often because of the hacked options on 3-2 in some cases. You can almost, I think there's a 30% chance if you roll all the time to guarantee it if that is offered. So
บูมบอด
it was
22
something
Average
we would, maybe
5.14
expect.
One of the things that stands out to me in particular is Vanguard Marksman. We've talked about this being the default comp, something you play for a top 4 and you don't play for a win. When we said that, I was not actually expecting it to have literally 0 wins, but that's what we're seeing. I think largely off the back of what you were talking about, though, Panda. I think these players know, listen, I have a high chance on any gold augment on 3-2 of getting something like Trait Tracker, Forward Thinking, also another one that does something similar. I think that players are playing for high cap when it's presented to them.
Exotech
And so players like Hambuli that we saw in the last game are
ผล
these
งาน
players that
ไม่ค่อย
want
ดี
to
เท่าไหร่
play
ครับ
that we saw with Dynamo in the last
กลาง
game.
ๆครับ
But Vanguard Marksman fits the bill.
Texiro
That the Boombot line had a 22%
Texiro ก็
8th place rate.
First or 8th. It's the first or 8th
ตรง
competition.
นี้
Right,
ตรงนี้
but
เฉยๆ
it's very high
It is
for
very
8th.
high. Yeah, and it could be variance. So that is the truth. The reality of it is that it very well could be variance, and it does not necessarily
มีคนเล่นในตัว
affect the
Fake
composition,
ชนะด้วยเหรอ
especially when you're talking about a composition that has such narrow margins. We saw in the last game, right? I mean, how strong did that Boombot board look? It looked to me like if it's an Urgot 2 instead of an Urgot 1, it's probably going top 4.
It's also a comp that requires ideal conditions in terms of how you're getting there, either through tempo and preserving HP and having a lot of board strength early, or through econ.
มาแล้วล็อบบี้
Or maybe
3
Kindred is
โร
not
บิน
necessarily
เซซิโกโอ้โห
considered an ideal condition to make it to a fast 9 Boombot board, let's be honest.
Let's
It is very much
Coco,
a check, but
Steppy.
we will be seeing our game
เอาเว้ย
number 8
เอา
of
เว้ย
the Tactician's Crown loading in now. Aurora being our encounter.
Right. 6 players in this lobby are going to be on the cutoff zone, 33 points to 28. So it's going to be anyone's game, and this one is going to matter a lot.
Players to watch here, like Coco, like we called out before. One of the best players, not only in EMEA, but globally.
ทำไมผมรู้สึกว่าวันนี้ภาพมัน
Some of the
แตกๆป่าวะ
strongest,
หรือมันเป็นอย่างนี้แต่เมื่อวานแหละ
AVPs, lowest 8th place rates. He's a player to root for, and I think it's very scary for many fans to see him so low in the standings right now.
Not just one of the lowest, I think
เป็น
the
ออโร
lowest
รา
place
นะ
rate
แต่ไม่รู้ว่าเป็น
since 7-11
พิส
counting
มาติก
cups and
เป็น
middle
เป็นไฟ
finals
นอล
and
หรือว่าเป็น
background.
พีรูสนะ
He went 8th in a pivotal Game 7 in the Day 2 last set and missed final lobby because of it, and now similar case here in the first game of this day number 2. Lecoco's a player who I think is one of the best players with the least results to show for it. He hasn't won a major tournament outside of just a cup last set, for example, so it's just really a puzzle to me to understand how someone so good cannot really have that result come through on the pivotal moments.
I think I want to draw a line here then from someone like Lecoco to Disso, because that's what we saw from Disso, a player who had fantastic results for so long but never was able to clutch it up at the top. But when he did find that first win, it came in like a flood we saw him not only win his
ยังไม่มีใครได้ออฟ
championship shortly
อะไรเวอร์ๆเท่าไหร่ครับ
it might be that like Coco just needs that moment.
And Necker, like you said, 6 of our players are on the bubble, but the only 2 in this lobby that are quote-unquote safe are Setsuko and Robin Songs, who are both sitting at 2nd and 9th on our standings. And so, obviously, they don't want to go bot 4 in this position, but they don't need to play for first. The pressure is not heavily on them, but on the rest of the
But
lobby.
the rich could get richer. And as we continue through our day of competition, these points will continue to accumulate. So I wouldn't be surprised if even though they feel a little bit less pressure, they're still aiming to play a
ตร
lot
ง
of
นี้
these
ครับ
concepts
ใช้นา
and
ฟิลิส
continue
ตัว
to
เดียวครับ
accelerate
โซโล่ทั้งบอร์ดทำ10 บาทตรงนี้
Hacked augments
ออก
coming
มาเป็น
through.
อักเมน
Saying
แบบ
it's new to this
แฮก
set,
ครับ
you get the option of either taking a
แสดงว่า
single gold
Prismatic
augment
Final
plus a
นะ
gold
เกมนี้
or 2 silvers.
Oh, it's
Most
so
cases-
hard to pick.
2 silvers is usually the better option, especially with double econ on the silver side. It usually just
ฝั่ง
gives a
ขวา
lot of
ล่างนี่
value the way obviously you're going to snowball your econ and reach those thresholds
ชักปัก
earlier
ไหม
in stage 2. But there are, of course, some transformative
หยิบ
gold
มาเป็น
augments. We saw Chuck Bug offered the Bobster, and he said,
แพน
no,
โดล่าครับ
I think Pandora's bench plus diversified portfolio is a little bit better, speaking of the econ augments.
And speaking of econ augments, Summer Timer just took AFK, but he's still at his seat though, so I'm a little confused. I think you're supposed to like walk away from your computer.
I actually think you're required to get up, and Riot will know if you're not.
Okay. Glad you guys are having a good bit here. It is pretty interesting though, taking both AFK and
วัน
the
นี้
bulky
โรบิน
buddies,
หยิบมา
right?
เป็น
You know, obviously you're going to be getting
Iron
bound down one at a time there. You can't
ไอรอนอะไรสักอย่าง
both. Not getting the
Blistering
econ
Style
building upon itself like Panda had talked about with the 2 econ, but it does kind of give you something to start with, and then when you go into stage 3, you already have this combat augment built up. So you'll have a bit of an econ lead on the field with a little bit of
ทำ
combat
กุน
power
โซมาแบบนี้มี
alongside.
ภาพเซอร์ลิ
Check Lococo's board. He's
เซอ
on a
ร์ลิ
4-1
แวนการ์ด
streak,
มักแมน
and
ได้อยู่
Forge
ครับ
picked up
โรบิน
Cold Shot alongside Latent Forge gives him no power whatsoever in stage 2. How strong is his board for him to be confident picking Called Shot from this position? You have to win at the very least 2 rounds.
Let's
after
Coco ตรงนี้
picking
หยิบ
it,
มา
so
เป็น
you
Call
get
Shot
some
เลยครับ
value from it, just the average value. Any more than that is going to be
ต้อง
fantastic.
คง
Look at
วิน
the
ส
board
ตี
here.
ให้ได้
So you
เยอะๆนะครับ จะได้
there's a stone plate for now.
ใช้ให้คุ้มที่สุด
If he's able to win streak all of stage 2 somehow, maybe he scouted the rest of the players. They have a very weak or very low tempo options. It would be an insane spot coming into stage 3.
And I was messaging Gangly before this tournament, and I told him, I was like, hey, just a
ก
little
ดเว
bit
ล
of
5
time
เลยครับ
for
ไม่
the
อยาก
game
แพ้ครับ
Watch out for this Poppy unit. This thing just decides it wants to delete backlines because it throws that buckler all the way over there and will nuke things. So it's a great time.
I will say I'm a little surprised by the pickup of the Latent Forge and Cold Shot. He did find the Morgana 2 now, but
เทมโปไปครับ
Dire 2-2-2
เดี๋ยวเอาเงินจากวินสตีกลับมา
the Poppy 2.
He lets
I don't
Coco.
know if that was running out of options or if that was just believing that the high roll would come. But suddenly, with the Morgana and the Poppy upgraded, I think his spot looks pretty good.
The only 2 players
ตรงนี้
with
ถ้าเปิด
any kind of board
ใน
strength
ตัวได้น่าจะ
are Robin Songs and Ben Sex. So
ชิวๆ
if
อยู่
Lococo was able to dodge these 2 players who are still now on 100 HP and somehow sneaks in a
แต่บอลนี้ก็
5
เก่ง
win
อยู่ครับ
streak, it's insane
โรบินตรงนี้
value,
ครับ
and you can get a secondary power spike off that
เลือด
Latent Forge.
ตอนนี้
after
จะ
the stage.
วินสตีกได้ไหมครับ มีคอกมอล2 ดาว ส
Seeing
แลม
Robin
ไอเทม
Songs
2 ชิ้นนะครับ
taking those 2 silver
เพราะว่า
augments.
ได้
that
ชิ้น
provide
ส่วนไอเทม
combat
เพิ่มมาอีก
power,
1 ชิ้นนะ
able to
ตอนนี้
swing 2 items
ทำให้
and
มี
also
ไอเทม
get
เยอะกว่า
some
คน
of
อื่น
that
นะครับ
wound on the board to stop
แต่พอหลังจากรอบโคโลโซเนี่ยก็จะ
Setsuko
ไอเทมเท่าๆคนอื่นแหละเพราะว่าคนอื่นก็จะได้ชิ้นส่วนไอเทมมาอีก1 ชิ้น แล้วก็สแลมเป็นไอเทม 2 ชิ้นนะ
Does allow you to pick up whatever you want on the carousel, which is really good when you're playing in this kind of mid-roll spot. 90 HP, he's not trying to lose, but he's also not contesting the win streakers. Means that he's able to get item priority against anyone who might be trying to lose streak or play Cypher later.
Also taking augments that define
ผมว่า
himself. Setsuko very young, wild, and free. Loves to play
โอ้
some
ถ้า
crazy game
ถ้า
plans
มี
and go for those
กุน
first
โซ
places.
ให้คอก
Not
มอ
so
ตรง
free
นี้
right
น่า
now,
จะ
usually a bit
ได้
more
อยู่นะ
free at home, playing from LAN, unfortunately here for Setsuko, but we'll see what
แต่
the
ตอนนี้
carousel
ดาเมจ
presents
ช้าไป
to
ครับ
him.
ไม่ไหวครับ
Maybe some Cypher options, maybe just the chance to build a perfect item, having that first pick priority.
We do have a Galio on carousel for those who want to play Cypher.
Looks like no Cyphers picked up or no clear Cypher angles, right?
Why
ไม่
did
มี
you
ใคร
do
หยิบ
that?
ไซเฟอร์เหรอ
Buys on
เนี่ย
board, all 1 star and Pandora's bench.
YGQF
And does pick up the Galleon.
ชื่ออ่านว่าอะไรครับ YGQF
Coco needs a chain most likely to try and finish the second Poppy item to try and continue the win streak. The chain, there are 2 chains still left available. Has that glove on the Poppy for now, so I imagine that'll be the pickup. He beelines right for it, and this could really help him to conserve this win streak. He needs 2 more wins to get a lot of value off of this called shot augment.
And one thing we saw at the bottom of the screen was every single player took the double silver augment. No one decided to go with the gold, and instead both of them taking the power from
ได้
the
กุนซู
2
มาแล้ว
augments.
บวกกับ
So
มี
the fact that
อุ้ย
gold usually tends to give you
เราใช้
better
ดูไปเลยครับตรงนี้
you don't really want on 2-1 that you
บัม
can
สองครับ
is impactful
สเตปปี้
in choices especially, and it's kind of the opposite for silvers.
Brom 2 coming in for Steppy there. Did have the team building augment. Unsure if he did actually use the small duplicator on that Brom. I imagine probably just picked it off the carousel.
If Steppy faces Lakoko, that could be a little bit scary for Lakoko, but for now we're looking at Bensak versus Setsuko. Battle of the marksmen, the battle of the AD carries here on both sides.
Setsuko's in a pretty, I would say, comfortable position where you have players who are going to be contesting each other for win streak. You have players who are very clearly angling lose streak, but he has a strong board. He's not going to be able to win every fight, but upgraded Kog'Maw, upgraded Skarner, has the Rage Blade slammed. He's going to have direction into those AD lines and have enough on his board that he should be able to salvage a lot
มอง
of HP.
ยิงไม่ตาย
We
ครับ
do have our 2 win streakers at the top, Lakoko and Robin Songs. Lakoko was able to win that round, which is fantastic for him, but if they face each other, this is going to define a lot of our game.
บ๊อบสเตอร์ครับหมุนแพนโดล่าเบนมาเก็บตัวไซเฟอร์ไว้ไม่รู้ว่าจะเล่นหรือเปล่าครับ เพราะว่าถ้าเล่นเนี่ยน่าจะชนกับพี่ YG QF นะ
Similar to Shop Glitch, one of those reroll augments that's being angled towards Cypher because it allows you to find earlier Dravens, it allows you to find Fort Cypher earlier as well as
โรบินตรงนี้ได้เซจูนี่มาแล้วนะ
game for both your Gallios, your Dravens, and your LeBlancs.
จะได้วัดกันหรือเปล่าครับว่าใครจะได้ตัดไม่เจอครับไม่เจอนะ
So, like you talked about, David, this is going to be 5 streak coming in for Lakoko, who is actually getting the gold worth of a 9 streak at the end of the day. And so, Lakoko, despite double pumping on 2-2, playing called shot.
ส่วนโรบินตรงนี้เจอกับบอม2ครับแต่ว่าเหมือนกับคอกมอตัวนี้ก็ยังยิงรัวๆครับ
already reflected in the fact that he's win streaking with over 30 gold.
And Robin doing the exact same. Both of them
บิสเตอร์ลิงสไตล์ต้นเกมได้เหมือนกับได้มีไอเทมตัดเลือดเพิ่มเข้ามาครับ
The marksman man himself rewarded finds
ตร
an
งนี้
early
ได้
offensive
อเฟริออนะครับ
almost one tricking alongside
หนักใจเลยครับมาทั้งอเฟริออทั้งเซจูนี่
A little bit of
ตรง
a
นี้
nerf coming into this patch, but
ไม่รู้
still
จะไปเล่นอะไรเลย
really good stats when it comes to top 4ing, especially a very comfortable angle. Both a Sejuani and an Aphelios. Take your pick, Robin. Which meta AD line do you want to play this game?
But just having the Rage Blade made as well, I think makes the options even more open. May as well go ahead and hold on to the Aphelios, but I think if you saw that you had good Exotech items or something because you have that Sejuani, perfect for you to be able to have either, whatever you hit first.
You were talking about it before, CLE? That Setsuko
ต้องขาย1ตัวหรือเปล่า
maintain the 5 loss
เพื่อทำ40 บาทตรงนี้ครับจะขายเซจูนี่หรือเปล่าครับขายไปแล้วครับ
2 win streakers, 2 full loss streakers.
ตรงนี้นี่แวนการ์ดมาร์คแมน for sure.
Losing that streak.
And that's mainly bad news for the middle 4 players that have gone win-loss, not able to have the extra econ from either loss streaking or win streaking.
ถ้าโรบินอยากชนะตรงนี้อาจจะต้องกดเวลหรือเปล่า
extra econ are gonna be in a better spot.
กดเวลลงเป็น4แวนการ์ด
By side, Lakoko has gone 6, needs to preserve this 9 win streak. Maybe wants to make
ผมว่ามีภาพได้อยู่นะ
14.
กดแล้วครับ
Robin is
4แวน
trying
การ์
to
ดครับ
make that level to 6 last minute.
แล้วเจอแล้วเปล่าครับ
Changes here on the board for
They're
Robin.
They're fighting each other.
แล้วเจอครับ
Strong enough to continue the win streak.
ตรงนี้ป๊อปปี้ยืนผิดฝั่งนะสกิลไม่โดนครับสกิลไปโดนคินเดดแฮน
It's an early Zaya with a
ขอ
giant.
งมอได้ยิงเรื่อยๆครับน่าจะได้ตัดสตินะตรงนี้โรบินน่าจะได้นะผมว่าหรือเปล่าครับแต่ว่าสกิลมันกระเด็นมาแนวหลังนะคอกมอจะไหวหรือเปล่าครับคอกมอจะตายครับสกิลแนวหลังเยอะเกินครับโอ้โหไม่ไหวครับเพราะว่าเป็น สายย่าด้วยครับ
Only slam tank items. He is not committed to
เกือบ
either
แล้วครับ
AP or AP. He can play around the artifact he hits with that Laden Forge. He has the Vagar option. He has the Boombot option.
โอ้พี่ YG พี่ YG นี่
Bensak, it looks like.
YGQF did just take hostile takeover already playing
ฮอส
Cypher
ไท
and now
ฮอส
converting
ไท
into hopefully
เทค
a
โอ
win
เวอร์
streak.
มาตรงนี้2ดาวหมด
Terrifying has 4 Cypher online right now with a Draven.
ตรงนี้อยากเล่นวินสติกครับ
Speaking
บอก
of
เลยว่าอักเมน
terrifying,
เนนี่โหดมาก
Lakoko has picked up
ถ้าฮิต
Portable Forge.
กดจัด
Away.
Double
I
artifact.
think he might have picked up
คำน้องฝนตกครับ
the options for Lakoko, which maybe it means it's time to see him play the comp he played 10 times in the World Scrims with a 2.9 AVP Bruiser
ใบติ้งจู
is an option. It could be something
โอ้
along the lines of Morgana,
ใบติ้งจู
Flex, where you just play around 2-star Morgana, play Dynamo Flex with the extra value of having Morgana as your item carrier with Budding Jewel coming to stage 4, or if he finds a second Fiddle artifact, we could see a double artifact Fiddle reroll comp instead.
Level 7 here on 3-2 already for Lakoko. He is double, tripling, quadrupling down on this win streak.
ไม่รู้ว่าคุ้มไหมนะใบติ้งจูตรงนี้ คือสเตจเนี้ยเขาน่าจะบินสตีกยาวๆได้เลยครับ แต่ไม่รู้ว่าจะไปจบคอมไหนที่คุ้ม
would be an unbelievable spike for Lakoko, and it actually would give him the opportunity to not only
เพราะว่าอาจจะฟาดก้าวไม่ได้หรือเปล่าครับ
that into stage 4. Just the economy you're gaining, the +3 gold.
อาจจะเล่นเป็นไดนาโมเฟรกแล้วก็
the rest of the lobby.
ใส่ให้มอร์กาน่าไป ให้มัน
YGGF
เผา
still not breaking that loss streak,
รถเกาะ
continuing to get more and more resources. Needs to upgrade
ต
that
อนนี้
front
พี่
line
YGQ
specifically. But again,
พี่ YGQF อยากจะได้ 3 บาท 2 ดาวสักตัวมาหมุนนะครับ
AP already from the trait. And so
ส่วน
if
พี่
he
บ๊อบสเตอร์
can
ก็แคทเอามาแล้วครับ
farther and
ดูทรง
farther,
แล้วน่าจะ
I really
คอนเทนต์
like
แน่นอนนะครับ
Bobster's, position here. This is
หมุน
something
4 บาท
we
กับ
talked
2 บาท
about. We
3 ดาวครับ
haven't seen it
2 บาท
too
2 ดาวครับ
much during the broadcast, which is the Cypher reroll when playing a single cash out. You're playing for the stats here. Right now, Bobster is rerolling 2 Shyvana 2s and a 4 cost in order to not only find the LeBlanc 3 early, but also to find a Zed, get the 5 Cypher online, and it gives him an opportunity to stabilize his board with a potential win streak through all of stage 4, even without a huge cash out.
I'm not surprised Bobster went for this line. In World Scrims, he was the player that played the most Cypher, 13 games of it, so really trying to hone in on this comp that he considered to be one of the strongest in the meta for a good reason, and try and figure out all the different ways to play into it and find success when it comes to finding those 3 stars.
He's also at 30 points, which is the lowest of our point totals right now, so he cannot afford a bottom placement. He needs to find himself minimum, I would say 5th to even have a chance.
ดูเพลย์ครับ
as well.
ผมว่า
stage 3 here, so huge
ยิ้มแล้วนะ คนเล่นไซเฟอร์ยิ้มได้อยู่ครับ
Steppy playing into the TF reroll alongside Braum as well. Players like Coco will have to are forced to use a duplicate right away, probably to play for tempo, depending on what his artifact is. Maybe even helps him go for that Fiddle 3 if he finds the right second artifact right after this carousel.
We definitely need to see Coco after this carousel to see what that latent forge pick is going to be.
You can get. I'm not super familiar with all of the crazy combos that can happen. All I know is that I rarely see 2 artifacts in the
อู้
same.
แล้วมาเป็น
There's
เรือมองครับเมื่อกี้
Could go for a tank artifact on Cho'Gath as
แล้ว
well.
ตรงนี้อาร์ติแฟกต์เพิ่มมาอีกหรือเปล่าครับ
Maybe decides
อยากได้อะไรเอ่ย
to open this right away, and I'll explain why. Despite having a
ถ้าเล่น
twin
ไดนาโม
streak, I think
ก็
you want it because you want to preserve this win streak.
ซอน
Maybe
ย่า
you
นะ
can
ซอน
face
ย่า
the
มานา
side.
เซนได้อยู่
Maybe
นะ
you can face a weak player or a Cypher player these next 2 rounds. If you don't open this right now, the moment stage 4 rolls around, there's a hidden rule that allows you to not hit any gold-generating artifacts, which means you have a more concise pool of good hits, either for Fiddle or for Cho'Gath. He's facing Ben
เนี่ย
Sack.
ถ้าเกิดเรา
player who's
เปิด
95 HP, I imagine he'll
ถ้าเรา
open,
เปิด
or maybe he takes the risk and he says,
Envil
I'm strong enough without it.
อาร์ติแฟกต์ตอนสเตจ4ก็จะทำให้เราไม่เจอแบบที่มันเป็นอีคอนนะ
Watch this Poppy absolutely delete this backline on this next cast.
ก็อาจจะยังเก็บไว้อยู่ครับ
This is if he manages
อันนั้น
14
อันนั้นอะไรอ่ะ
without
อันนั้น
opening
อันนั้นเท
one of
แท็
the
กเกอร์อีกแล้วเหรอ
most impressive games that I have personally seen on the Tactician stage.
It's important to note
Ben
that
Sack.
it's part of it being a silver augment that allows him to do this. If this were portable forge, you would not be able to do this, what it is that he's doing.
เทแท็กเกอร์ทุกเกมเลยเหรอ มันออกง่ายขนาดนั้นเลยเหรอ
It's
ค
one
รับ
thing to sacrifice a silver augment. It's another thing to sacrifice a gold. I think Coco's in a position where making that call, taking
เอ๊ะ
that
สเตปปี้ตรงนี้รีโลทวิตเฟสเหรอฮะ
But it is a narrow condition because it is coming through latent forge.
Another thing that we've seen a few times so
แต่
far
ว่า
on Tactician's Crown is this Twisted Fate.
ดาเวน
Now
นี่
we don't have the best items on board, but we do have
มัน
a
คอนเทส
board
กับ
upgrades.
2 บ้านเลย
So
ค
for
รับ
Steppy, I'm not sure if this will end up in a Dynamo Flex board, but for now, this is a pretty solid board.
One of the stronger players in the stage 3. Coco does not hit Steppy. In this case, it will be Ben Sack instead, probably taking a loss. This is just a triple stacked Braum. We're sitting on 4 copies now for TF as well. And this is the game plan from this TF reroll CLE. You want to stabilize in stage 3, find the 2-star upgrades, win most of your fights coming into stage 4, and then hit the next big spike at the
จ
end.
ริงๆ มันมีคอมที่ผมอยากเล่นอ่ะ คือ
That's
ทวิตเฟ
exactly
ส
what you're
บูม
saying.
บอร์ด
That's the shape of the composition. Stabilize stage 3, get your 4 wins,
Wow.
move on, try and save enough HP. But we have
ผมเห็นใน
4
จีนเขาเล่น
Troopers at the top of our lobby. Robin, Coco, and Steppy.
What that?
Coco has secured the
Masterclass.
10 win streak without popping the anvil.
Also, YGQF playing Cypher down at 32 HP, not too bad. I'm curious to see if he cashed out Cypher here because he does have hostile takeover, and so he will continue to push.
Wow.
Kind of insane at 32 HP. We'll see if he's able to win these next few fights coming into stage 4, as pretty much everyone else will be spiking. He doesn't have that much gold to work with. He's still level 6 here at 50. Has to pump to 7 to try and find better odds for the Gallios, for the Dravens.
นี่น่าจะเหยียบ
But
หมัด
Nova's
หรือเปล่า
board now would be pretty important to go to see what his artifact pop will be and what his game plan will be going forward.
Oh,
Setsuko with a very early Zac.
Right. Huge hit.
and it looks like he's playing towards Urgot as well. Or that Vanguard Marksman, we're seeing him hold the Zayas on bench as well.
Setsuko ก็น่าจะ
But depending on what this last augment is, we'll
ตอนนี้ครับใครทำกุนซูมาก็คือดูว่าฮิตเซอร์ลีหรือว่าฮิตอัฟเฟเรียนะครับ
Yeah, there's been a lot of players who will opt to just play the
ไอเทมเซตเนซายาก็ถือว่าไม่ได้ดีขนาดนั้นนะครับ
like you're talking about, Jack, even playing something like the Vanguard or the Vanguard
อันนี้
Urgot
Bobster
is the
ครับ
absence of the vertical boom box.
โลมานี่จะฮิตอยู่นะ
have trait tracker and eight of these traits in and active, and so he will be able to proc this turn.
So Ben Sack's important to take
ตรงนี้
a
เป็น
look
แซ
at
งครับ
going through the rest of
เปิด
the
เท
stage,
แท็ก
like
เกอร์แบบ
Coco
เวอร์ชั่น
and then, of course,
ในโตรมาครับ
left to see if he's able to stabilize and get a big cash out.
ยอมแพ้
A lot of main
รอบหนึ่งครับ
at the beginning of stage 4.
Bensek has a lot of reps on Exotech, insane results, and has played it so often throughout this month. He's one of the masters of the comp, really, when it comes to EMEA players.
Also, a greater and lesser duplicator on bench to help this board stabilize. It will be prismatic to finish off our game.
We did have our Aurora encounter at the beginning, so I think all of our players have to be prepped for this moment that they know like power is coming.
Setsuko took invested,
Okay,
so
I thought
definitely
that's what it
going
was.
9. We'll be playing around that. Just chill for a few rounds. He does have a bit of HP to work with.
Okay, Ben
Calculated
Sack.
enhancement.
เมื่อกี้สเตปปี้เหยียบ
Gets the tree tracker cash
Mac
out with
cap เหรอ
Strategist, Street Demon, Anima, Divinicore, and Bastion.
ส่วน
Couple things
ส่ง
that
โร
are
บิน
working
หยิบ
there,
เป็น
couple
ของ
things
แส
that
ง
aren't
ครับ
giving too much value. It doesn't look like we have a Reforger, though,
Mastery
right?
River ครับ
No.
ตรงนี้เป็นแสกแคทเอามาครับมีตาอะไรบ้าง ไม่ค่อยเวิร์กเท่าไหร่นะ ที่ทุบก็ไม่มีครับ
Into the Exotech line, but with
ตาออกมาเหมือนจะอยากให้เล่นสตรีทเดมอนนะ แต่มันไม่ใช่อะดิ
like a more of a
ตรงนี้ครับพี่
low
YGQF ครับ ยังไม่ได้แคทเอานะ แต่ว่า
His last loss of this game, and then hopefully turn things around with the Cypher cash out.
ต้องแคทเอาแล้วหรือเปล่าครับต้องแคทเอาเทิร์นหน้าไหมครับ
being an augment round to really make a
แต่จริงๆถ้าฮิตถ้าเทิร์นหน้าฮิตดาเว่นก็ยังสามารถโลบเก็บไปได้อยู่นะถ้าเกิดมันบินสติกได้อะ
on your board when you're on
โดยที่ยังไม่ต้องแคทเอา
It's looking like it's going to be a really good loss as
อุ้ย
well.
ตรงนี้ครับดาเว่นต้องไลน์อัพดีๆครับ
damage here.
ไม่ไหวครับมันถึงเกินนะครับ
Lost 346 stacks on this Cypher.
3-4-6 ครับ 3-4-6 นี่เวิร์กไหมเนี่ยหมดไหมเนี่ย
Especially if we can hit some of these upgrades, maybe the Pandora's bench will tell him what's going to happen.
Double TG is
มือสองอัน
really
โอ
good,
เคนะครับ
very generic.
ตรงนี้ถ้าใช้ดุบก็ฮิตเลยนะ
With Pandora's bench roll, he got both a Galio and a Draven, and he has a lesser duplicator, so
Oh,
we'll hit one
okay,
and
ครับ
duplicate the other.
There you go. Setsuko, on the other hand, with invested, we're going to see him chilling out for a little bit. This is, we've been talking all
Setsuko
weekend about how
หยิบ
the
invested ครับ
Boom Bot composition, it
ไป
can
เล่น
be
บูมบอท
strong, and the fact that it has not performed does not mean that it is
ประเด็น
not a
คือ
strong
หยิบ
composition
invested มา
itself,
แต่ก็ยัง
but it
ชนะ
just means
2
that
เทิร์นนะครับในสเตจ
players have enough gold to get that board online, 'cause the one
4 ตรงนี้
star
สเตปบี้
variation is
แม็ก
not
แคปมาครับ
enough, so
เงินหมดแล้วครับ
realizing that
เอาดาเว่นมาหมดเลยครับ
has a clear opportunity.
แต่ดาเว่นบ้านนั้นเขาฮิตไปแล้วดิ
On the opposite side of
Oh,
บ้าน
the
YGQF อะ
field, we talked about it and it has come to fruition. Fiddlesticks reroll is on the menu. Sniper's Focus, Blighting Jewel, Giant Slayer is the build for now, as well as Final Ascension, proccing at this exact moment to try and clean up these bigger fights.
Importantly, though, he did lose a round. So that crazy amount of gold is
Let's
not coming
Coco
through.
ครับ
He does have a lot to roll for. We see him down at 20 gold
มา
already,
เป็น
but the Fiddles
ฟิด
need
เดิล
to
นะครับ
up this fight as
เป็น
well. We're seeing the
อาร์ติ
power
แฟกต์
of
แบบ
all
เ
these
ดือด
artifacts
ๆนะครับ
through.
No one could make this comp work. Every other Worlds caliber player in the scrims failed to get a positive AVP with this comp. Lekoko, a 2.9 in 10 games is insane. We're going to finally find out what he's doing differently.
เทสโกะที่พยายามจะฟาดก้าว หยิบการเล่นมาแล้ว
QF so big Cypher coming online
การเล่นถือว่าเป็นตัว
Z2 with the TG
เป็นตัวที่จำเป็นนะในบอร์ดบูมบอทนะ เพราะว่ามันเป็นตัวดาเมจอีกตัวหนึ่งนะ บอร์ดบูมบอทมันกอดตัวเดียวเนี่ยดาเมจอาจจะไม่พอแต่ถ้าเกิดมีการเล่นเนี่ย
Interesting
คือ
thing about his
เป็น
spot,
ตัว
he
ดาเมจ
does
ที่ไว้
have
ใจได้
that
อีกตัว
golden
หนึ่งเลยครับ ใน
Aurora
บอร์ด
on
ของ
bench. So no matter what
Boom
the
Bot
TG
89
rolls, he can put it on to the prime units, and these TGs are very good right where they are.
No changes needed just for right now.
I guess he does.
He actually opts to get the frontline value of the Crown Guard over the backline value of the Rage Blade there.
It has to do with his augment, right? He's taking that trifecta, putting it on the Jarvan, who's buffed up a little bit because of it. Makes a lot of sense.
No Zed upgrade, can't really roll and hope to find his Zed on level 7 because he was rolling for the Draven and the Galio. So he's facing Lekoko for now, who hasn't hit anywhere close to his max
ตรงนี้
cap. Obviously,
ดาเว่น
he
ถู
is
กฝั่งอยู่นะ น่าจะได้ปาไปใส่ฟิดเดอร์หรือเปล่า
So this should still be a win after the huge Cypher catch out from YGQF.
One thing I am concerned about for
น่าจะรอดอยู่นะ ถ้าฆ่าฟิดเดอร์ได้
he has a strong board.
ปาสกิลไปครับ โอเค เรี
Some
ย
of
บ
the
ร้อย
value of his gold augment is that it allowed him to play in a way that should save HP, but he wasn't able to save HP because of his board just being weaker than others on stage 3.
สบายๆ
So
ครับ
not only did his cash out need to be strong enough to make up for the HP difference that he lost from losing, it also needs to be strong enough to make up for the gold augment that he took in order to play in the way he did.
บ็อบสเตอร์ตรงนี้คอทูชาออนมาได้ตราแบบเยอะจัด
Pop's
Oh, what am I-
is a very interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took Call to Chaos. It looks like he got the 5 emblems there, right? So
ตรงนี้ครับ
exactly what you want to
ดา
see.
เว่นก็ไม่ได้เอาลงไปครับ เพราะว่า
Anima, Vanguard.
I
เพ
will
ราะว่า
say, those,
ทุกคนคิด
13
ดาเว่น
games
ไปแล้วครับ
World Scrims did not prep him for this moment.
I think you're
He
right.
tried his best to really fill out all the possibilities, but this is definitely one of the weirder spots to be in, especially with another Cypher player in this lobby.
I think you just have to cross your fingers that Raptors gives you a Reforger, at least for one of those.
What do you
right?
mean? Now he gets to play a Silas 1 to get 4 Vanguard and Anima squad in.
Oh.
Only 2 Vanguard.
Very nice.
Oh,
Two
you're right.
Vanguard.
You're right.
It-
No,
it- it's a pretty interesting spot. But the thing that is good is he was able to deny YGQF at least for now, and so saving the lobby a little bit from a crazy capped board.
Eyes on Setsuko coming into stage 5. He's been saving
คิดว่า
his
GQF
gold to
น่าจะ
go level
คัมแบ็กนะ
9.
Oh.
He is working
โอ้แต่ตรงนี้
towards
เงิน
the
น้อย
Urgot
มากครับ
board
ไม่ใช่
while the
เงินเยอะ
board
มากแต่เลือดน้อย
has
ครับ
been entirely sold off. You are not worthy to stay on my board.
Low
Coming
เลย
into
ครับ
level 9, coming into stage 5. The roll down commences.
เบรก
Looking
2
for
ไม่
Zach,
เอาครับ
Barons, and Urgot. An upgrade on each of these units would be massive.
การเล่น
coming
นะครับ
into stage 5.
Skipping the upgrades on the inconsequential units. Your Vex not upgraded. Your Fiddlesticks not upgraded. Recognizing that the win condition here are 2 things.
There's
Getting
Urgot.
the front
Jar
line
Urgot แล้วครับ
and
ตัวแรก
upgrading your Urgot. Urgot 1 may be enough for the early parts of this stage, but at just 10 HP, Setsuko needs to upgrade his front line and get damage on that Urgot 8.
ถ้าจะแคมแบ็กตรงนี้ได้ต้อง
Let's keep it rolling.
กด
Lots of
2
block
การเล่น
to help
2 นะ
power up that Zac. Hopefully you're not
Wow.
missing anything critical. You saw that Koboko was an instant pickup to slot into the board, and
Koboko.
another Koboko was going to make a
Cho'Gath.
pair. Choke off
Cho'Gath.
big. There's going to be a Zac pair as well.
Oh,
You
we're
just
Missing
need
key
another
upgrades.
Urgot.
Only one
หมดแล้วครับ
Urgot.
หมด
No
แล้ว
Zach 2 as well.
Cho'Gath
การเล่นไม่
needs to get
2 ครับ
on the board right now. Also don't have 4 Boombot in. Might need to drop
บอร์ดนี้แพงมากครับ เงินเท่าไหร่ก็ไม่พอจริง
on here.
Doesn't
He has 4.
ๆ 3 บูมบอร์ดน่าจะ
Garner, he has
น่าจะ
Garner,
ตาย
Cho'Gath.
นะครับตรงนี้
Fiddle and
Fiddle
oh yeah,
and
okay.
Urgot.
Yep, he does. Okay, cool.
taking items on Cho'Gath. He's facing Summer Timer, who is sitting on the Dynamo Flex board. The
ลองดูครับ
and hasn't hit the big spike with the
Oh,
Elite
man.
3.
มา
Maybe
เจอกับ
it's enough.
มิดฟอร์จูน2 ดาวครับตรงนี้
Urgot's down to half HP.
This next Misfortunate will decide the fight if it goes towards the Urgot. And
ก็กำลังจะตายครับ
Cho'Gath is still alive and now onto the back line, but not.
Cho'Gath ไหลมาแต่อีกฝั่งหนึ่งก็มี Cho'Gath เหมือนกัน
One more unit might keep him alive, but I think 2 units
ไม่รอดครับ
The roll down
There's the
didn't
Zac.
quite come
เกิ
through.
นเดียวมัน
Needed to find Zach. You needed to find the Urgot to
จะฮิตทั้ง
especially
บอร์ด
didn't
มัน
find
ก็ยาก
either.
นะครับ
Wow.
And this is the problem with Boombot. It's a first or 8th comp. Setsuko's a first or 8th player. In this case, unlike yesterday, it's an 8th instead.
We have seen Setsuko take 4 first places and 3, I think, 8th places throughout
4
this
บูมบอร์ด
tournament,
4 Voicer ครับ
into that highly volatile
Koboko.
style.
Of all the
2
games,
ตัว
he's gone 3rd the other time.
Okay.
He's only gone 1st or 8th.
Bad news for Lekoko as well. Hasn't been able to hit the Fiddle 3 just yet. Hasn't found a single high roll copy of Urgot rolling on 8, which
ตรง
means
นี้อยากได้Urgot 1 ตัวการเล่น 1 ตัวครับ
now. Still has a lot
ก
of
อด
time
แท
on
น
HP,
ค
especially
อก
to
มอครับส่วนการเล่นแทน
He
โค
has
โบโกอีกสัก
himself a
1 ตัว
streamer. Fiddles back in the pool.
ฟิดเดิลอีก1ตัวแล้วก็ดู
duplicator, right? I don't think like Coco's sweating about his spot at all. I think like Coco recognizes
ไอเทมโหดมากครับตรงนี้
even if I'm rolling on 0 for the rest of the game, I'm certainly going to be finding this fiddle. And once
แบนแสกครับแคทเอาออกมาก็เล่นตามที่แคทเอาครับมาเป็นแบน2 ดาวครับแต่ว่า
that by itself
ไม่ไหวอยู่ดีครับ
a very strong placement alongside his HP total. If he can high roll, find it early, go 9. That's
แบนไม่ไหวกับ
for a first.
ฟิดเดิลตัวนี้ครับ
Honestly,
ไอเทม
we
เวอร์
haven't
เกิ
seen
น
this composition enough with this augment setup. It's possible that just hitting the fiddle 3 is enough to go
Ooh.
first. This is Lacoco's thing,
Got
not
that.
ours.
Bobster and YGQF both at the bottom of our lobby right now, but one of these Cypher spots is different than the other.
YGQF ผมว่าน่าจะรอดอยู่นะสบาย
On a 5-win streak heading into this next combat, and the fact that you have the Draven 3 as well as the Galio 3, those are really two of the keyest pieces to make sure that the Cypher comp can actually net you those wins.
ๆตรงนี้น่าจะอยากหมุน5 บาทนะครับ
The LeBlanc completely.
อยากได้จระเข้2แล้ว เพราะว่าเรือบองนี้ไม่น่าฮิตแล้วครับ
Bobster fighting for his life, facing Summertimer, facing the board that just eliminated Setsuko, who was level 9 with an almost complete Urgot board. Can Bobster stay alive? He tried his best to make the Call to Chaos emblem catch out work. Is it enough?
The front line is falling very quickly. The LeBlanc trying to ramp up as much as possible. We'll be able to access the back line, but not enough damage coming through. YGQF strings together another win. Put America's 7-8 in this lobby. Oh.
บ็อกเตอร์ตุยไปครับ
One of the players that was at 30 points going into this
โรบินจะตายแล้วครับ
Certainly going
อั
to
ฟ
be
เลีย
a
วัต
disaster for his run at the set championship.
สายา1 ดาว
On the flip side, Ben's like a player with Trade Tracker who was also forced to make an emblem cash out work despite it being from a different augment compared to Bobster. And for now, he's fully pivoted into a vertical Street Demon line instead. Didn't find a Reforger, couldn't play around the usual Exotech cash out, is trying to make it work with Brand, Ziggs, Carry. Won that last fight. Can he stay alive for a few more and net a top 4?
And Robin Song's playing around his comfort, playing Vanguard Marksman, but now down at 5 HP. Another one of our America's players that is currently safe, but would not definitely like to take a bot 4 here, which means that those people that needed to perform well are performing well and moving up the standings.
It's going to sandwich the standings quite a bit coming out of this game. A lot of the players on the bottom rising up, a lot of players on the top falling down, which means that even though we're doing a cut here, it's only 2 more games till another cut comes through. Nobody's going to be safe in this tournament.
Who does Robin face? YGQF is one of the Grim Reapers of this lobby, and it will be Robin potentially meeting his
โรบิน
maker
ไม่น่าไหวครับ
this last fight. Vanguard Marksman
จี
up
ก้าวอง
against
ไซครับ
the
ผิด
set
ฝั่ง
already
สุด
onto
ๆครับ
that
ตรงนี้
back
ดาเว่น
corner.
สกิลมาโดน 2 ตัวเลยครับ
Carry's going to be cleaned up by the next Raven cast, and that will be the end
เซต
of
มา
the
เก็บ
road
งานครับ
for
ตายหมดครับ
fan favorites from the Americas region. Robin taken down in 6.
Oh no
Tragedy.
Steppy also going to take another hit there, playing the TF reroll. This is a composition that we were not seeing a lot of prior to the TOC finals in CN in particular. They really did popularize that composition, help bring it back into the meta. And it's something that we've seen try and net players a middle placement. So Steppy, depending on where he is in the standings, maybe just feeling like, okay, I want to get some points, stay near the top of the table, keep my life alive, and then when I get high roll presented to me in another game's opener, play for more points then. It seems like the plan is working out.
Yeah, the problem for him is he does not have that Rage Blade, and so that will be a much weaker board than normal when you play TF reroll. We'll see Steppy here on our right side. Does have that Braum 3, and so that would be a very strong front line.
This is the battle of the rerollers as well, at least 3 versus the TF3. As you mentioned, Chile, I think that itemization is not quite there. The tank is going to be very strong with the Braum.
แต่ปี้ครับบอร์ด TF จะทำให้เขารอดตายได้อีกหรือเปล่าครับตรงนี้สกิล MF โดนเก็บครับแต่ว่ายังเหลืออีลิทอยู่ยังเหลืออีลิทอยู่สกิล TF มา
Can he fight
โดนเป่า
but Cho'Gath chomps on him and Steppy is taken down. 2 EMEA, 1 CN, 1 Apex.
จระเข้มาแล้วหนึ่ง
Top 4 and very different playstyles. 2 rerollers, both the Cypher and the TF, and then 2 very creative game plans. Fiddle 3 from Coco with the double artifact line, and Bensak, who made the Street Demons work, is in the top 4.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Bensak, who got Trait Tracker and is not playing the normal line. We see a lot of people play around Boombots, we see a lot of people play around Exotech, of course, but Street Demon strategist being the way that he goes, completely uncontested, and now in the top 4.
Lakoko has hit his Fiddlesticks 3, so we're starting to understand. Maybe all 10 of his games were just Blighting Jewel Sniper's focus.
Yeah, I mean, that'll do it.
Just handpicking his artifacts.
I think this is a very poetic game for Lakoko when you kind of look at the macro sense of it. Going 8th in the last game, standing at Death's Door, needs to bring it back. Maybe the best player in the world to have not won an event of a major scale. It is so beautiful to see someone like that being able to bounce back, make a run, and doing it with a pocket pick of all things just feels so good.
This is the real test, though. Cypher from YGQF versus Lakoko. Is the Fiddlesticks 3 strong enough to deal with the Draven? Zed's onto Fiddle, and Draven has a great angle, but doesn't actually hit the Fiddle there. Fiddle might survive long enough for the final attempt to proc, and for the damage to come through onto all of the backline carries. Draven cast again, still no kill. One more cast here from the Fiddle. Could play cleanup. It does. A very strong board from Lakoko.
Cypher ตายไปเลยครับ
Two eliminations coming through. We see one on the side of Summertime eliminating Benzak, and then YGQF falling in third. Top 2 is rounded out. Lakoko, 76 HP, has been running away with this entire lobby.
Summertimer, though, playing around that Dynamo Flex that we highlighted pre-show is something that
กลายเป็น Summertime ได้ top 2 เลยครับ
around the 4 Bruiser 4 Dynamo instead of around those legendary upgrades. Hits that Cho'Gath too, which is just an incredibly strong front line alongside the rest of those Bruisers, and now has got it to a top 2.
This is a wild board that I think we really have not given enough flowers to, because Dynamo Flex is something that's been thrown around a lot as a term, but it's not something that we've really got to flourish in a flex manner.
ชิวๆนะผมว่า
kind of bringing back some more old school TFT to this game, showcasing that sometimes the game is just front line and back line. Yeah, you know what? You're not going to be able to beat Lakoko's unbelievable board here, but what it is going to do is strong enough for top 2. Yeah, like I said, that's definitely not beating Lakoko's board. Making it a little close for the drama, but great, well-executed game by Summertimer. Really impressive, and it does go to show why people put Summertimer as one of the most elite from APAC, had the best AVP all set long, and is showing up when it matters most.
I really like that you hyped it up at the end there.
Yeah.
You know, it made
บวก
us
8 แต้ม
stay on
big
our
win
toes just a little bit until
I knew the whole time how it's going to happen.
Well, I mean, Boompot did kind of show us that dichotomy of either being very good in that kind of interesting spot and also really not working out. America's fallen flat.
I think it was really the Lakoko masterclass when it comes to this game. He showcased on broadcast why he's considered one of the best players. It was really, he fought for that win streak every single round. He had to fight to maintain it. Every decision he made mattered all the way into stage 4, and he executed to perfection. He did high roll the second artifact, being Sniper's focus, into his comfort line, but great game from him.
I'm going to push back on the whole high roll thing here, though, because the thing is, there are a lot of players that you could give a similar spot to Lakoko, and I bet you it does not end the way that that game ended. I think that's a reflection of not only did he, you know, you would say high roll, but it's more recognizing that he high rolled. There's a lot of top players that would not have even known that they high rolled the Fiddle spot that Lakoko was able to navigate.
Well, while we are well into our Tactician's Crown action here for Cyber City, what about the TFT of the future? We are going to give you a first look at the evolution of the TFT circuit. So, please enjoy.
ไหนดูหน่อยดิ
As TFT rides its motorbike out of Cyber City and into the brawl of Set 15 KO Coliseum, we're channeling that fighting spirit with a brand new tournament series, the TFT Pro Circuit. While we all love a training montage,
อันนี้คือ
competing in TFT has
ตัวใหม่ครับ
its
ของ
most challenging opponent, the Reset.
TFT ครับ
The
Pro
path to
Circuit
Tactician's Crown means playing a lot of games, and often that grind overshadows all the hard work and wins the best players have amassed set after set after set.
อันนี้น่าจะเกี่ยวกับการแข่ง
That's why we're punching up the reward for all
เส้นทางการแข่งขันในอนาคตของ
The
TFT
TFT
ครับ
Pro Circuit, or TPC,
ระบบใหม่ครับ หมายถึงว่าระบบ
that
ทัวร์นาเมน
acknowledges
ต์ใหม่
hard-earned mastery for the top players from our regions. Americas, APAC, EMEA, and CN will all get their own new pro circuits featuring 32 of the top players. For KO Coliseum's pro circuit, each region's top 32 will be made up of the top 28 players from the Cyber City Golden Spatula and 4 chosen by Riot for their historical competitive success and contribution to TFT. Each set will have 3 pro circuit events featuring 32 players. 3 action-packed days will be broadcasted by players and coaches.
Battle Academia ครับ Soul Fighter ครับ Star Guardian ครับ
a direct invite to the Tactician's Crown. Set to Set will keep exploring new formats for the second event to keep things fresh. In
คืออะไรอะ
Set 15, it will be an international showcase featuring CN versus APAC and Americas versus EMEA.
What
These events will also award players pro points. But what the heck is a pro point? Glad you asked. Pro points are earned based on placements in each event, but more on that later. With the launch of the pro circuit, the
ไอ้ระบบ
Golden
พวกนี้
Spatula
แม่ง
has been reworked and renamed the
งง
regional
จัดเลยนะผม
These will now
ผมบอกเลย
serve as a promotion relegation event for
ใคร
the
ก็ได้
pro
แปลไทย
circuit
ที
that have expanded from a one-weekend 32-player
การจะ
event
ได้เข้าไป
to a
แข่งโว
two-weekend
นี่
featuring 68 players. After the gambit of intense
เยอะมากครับ
competition, the 32 players that make it to the second weekend qualify for the next set's pro circuit. Every player in the pro circuit automatically qualifies for the
ต้
regional
องแข่ง
finals,
เยอะจัดเลย
and a player's pro points will determine where in the regional finals they start. The top 12 point earners will begin on weekend 2, meaning they will guarantee their spot in the next
ผม
pro
อยากดูสปอยเซต
The bottom
15 ครับ
10
ไม่ใช่
pro
ไม่ใช่
circuit
ระบบครับ
will start on
ไม่ใช่ระบบ
weekend
การ
1
แข่งครับ
and will have to fight to keep their slot in the pro circuit. They'll be joined by 36 players that have qualified from the 2 Tacticians Cups and the top ladder players from throughout the set, who are all hungry to stamp their ticket into the pro circuit. Once the dust had settled from weekend 1, the remaining 20 players will join the weekend 2 players to compete for the remaining slots in the Tactician's crown and to become the regional champion. Whether you're tuning in to cheer for your fave players in a new high-stakes format or even looking to join the fray yourself, the TPC is the home of peak TFT competition and community where pros and pros-to-be can show the world what they're made of. To catch the first TPC event, follow @CompeteTFT and tune in August 29th through the 31st. Keep an eye on your favorite pros and streamers when they capture all the action. And who knows, we might even see you standing with the top 32 during Set 16's TPC.
Wow, I'm so hype about all of these changes to the pro competitive TFT scene, and it's just an amazing time to be a TFT player. But there's a lot to break down, so let's try to give some highlights from that video.
I mean, yeah, the landscape's about to change forever. The thing that stood out to me in particular is that players not only get their spot at the TPC, they get the chance to defend it. Top 12 in the TPC are guaranteed their spot back in the TPC for the next set. And this is great because it allows both the opportunity for new players and new talent to flourish, but the best of the best from each region are going to be rewarded with a consistent place in the TFT competitive landscape.
There is going to be that reward you're mentioning from set to set. That's the biggest thing. All the hard work you put in the set before this, it gets rewarded by putting you into that pro circuit the next set. And the biggest thing for me as well, CLE, is the narratives, the stories. We get to really build up specific players. It's not just this 1 week prior to TAC Crown where we get to really hero build. It's the entirety of the set now with the pro circuit.
And with the changes to the regional finals now, no longer the Golden Spatula, 2 weekends of competition, 68 players, so many more stories to tell.
That might be one of my favorite changes, is that it's regional finals now.
Yeah, it is very nice. It's a great name. And I think expanding it too, it provides like a very interesting platform for the new talent, right? Regional finals is always something that's been heralded as like the stage for your regional competition. Expanding it to 68, allowing more ladder slots, I think 16 was the number that we heard there. It means that the players who have not performed in tournament but have been dominating the ladder kind of get to sneak their way even if they haven't really been battle tested in tournament. I'm very curious to see what the dynamic is between the newcomers and the veterans.
That's always, I think, the thing that excites me the most about these layers of competition. And I think something we can also see in full effect at the Tactician's Crown is a lot of these players that are really trying to shoot their shot. They can take an inch and turn it into a mile in some of these cases.
I'm curious to see as well maybe the hunger for some of the veteran players who didn't have the
เดี๋ยว
best
จู
set 14 who have to fight for their spot in the next set and have the chance to go in through the cups, come back to regional finals, say I deserve to be here. I am not missing out in set 16.
It's like
ดิ
the
โซฟกลับมาแล้วครับวันนี้
his knuckles showing he still got it to keep up with the young kids, you know?
6
Hey,
ครับ
only you, Gangly.
That's me. I'm
Oh,
back,
bro,
I'm back.
let's not get too
Set
crazy.
15, Panda and I
Setsuko.
are back.
What do you mean back? Were you ever
ไม่
there?
1 ก็ 8 เหรอ 1
Well,
8
listen, I am so glad that we get a
8-1-1
chance to share this all with you, but we are
8-1
about to
8-1
unveil
What
the
the fuck?
players that will be competing in
ไม่
the
1 ก็
TFT
8 ของ
Pro
จริงว่ะ
Circuit. So let's take a look.
So many great players on this board. We don't have our CN representatives yet that will be coming later on, but we have all of our competitors across APAC, Americas, and EMEA.
Most of these players
Pro Circuit Qualify Player มี full time ด้วยครับ
in the regional finals that we had for this set, and we also had a couple of invited players to round out this.
ก็คือคะแนนของ
There's too many players to highlight them all, of course. You know, if I had to just talk
เอา
about
คะแนน
one
ของ
or
เซตนี้
two,
ไป
I
คิด
think
ได้ไหม
it's worth it, at least from the Americas. I want to talk about Prestivan. This is a player we saw on the global stage last set. Narrowly missed his shot at the Golden Spatula, but we'll see him in the TPC. It's really exciting to be able to see players of this caliber rewarded and seeing them once again on a great stage.
Yeah. Not just that, but the fact that you have just such prestige all throughout. Like you mentioned, it's hard to single out a player.
Can't, yeah.
The quality of play that we are used to on Attack Round Weekend, for example, we're going to get this across the entire sets, on the earlier patches, in the middle of the set, and the later competitive patches as well coming to Attack Round. I'm just so excited as a viewer, as a caster, as someone who just wants to absorb as much high-level TFT as possible. We're going to be blessed starting next set.
And someone like Bintum in APAC getting that invite slot as well, who's been to this Tactician's Crown 5 times, and now being able to represent themselves at the pro circuit makes a lot of sense. And I'm excited to see, again, the best TFT players in the world fight week in and week out.
Absolutely. All the hype is going to hit during those 2 weekends of the regional finals. So make sure that you stay tuned on August 29th and check out our socials at Compete TFT to keep up to date with all of the information leading up to those events. We are going to be continuing our action here at the Tactician's Crown for Cyber City after this break, so don't go anywhere.
Do it again. Watch me win. Then watch me do it again. Was built to move, not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
รอนะครับน่าจะกำลังเปลี่ยนล็อบบี้กันอยู่นะแสดงว่าตอนนี้คัดออกแล้วใช่ไหม8 คนนี่คือชมหน้าของคนที่ไม่ได้ไปต่อครับดร.โอครับรอยัลอันนี้อะไรนะยาซูฮาชิลี่เฉาครับโกบ็อบสเตอร์โกบอสเซอร์โครัมกับเดฮวา34 ผมเห็นมันจะมีโชว์แมตช์ของเซต15ด้วยนะแต่ไม่รู้ว่าเขาจะจัดตอนไหนอะ
Welcome back here at the Teamfight Tactics Cyber City Tacticians Crown, and we're back with a new set of casters for day 2 and more action for everyone else at home watching. With me, CLE, as well as Huberson and Clement. How are you guys feeling? How have you enjoyed game 1 and 2?
Well, I have to say, EMEA cannot keep getting away with it. They have 8 players now in the top 24. They have not been eliminated, carrying on strong. And after day 1, we thought a lot of the EMEA players were going to fall victim to that first cut, but they all hang on.
Yeah, and seeing Lecoco playing like this, of course, he had amazing artifacts to get the super field stick, but he played amazing tempo also. Not letting it go, playing amazing, playing with a poppy, playing flex, and then recognizing he could go to the field stick, making a win and making a great first place.
And this seems to be a regional thing. Region-wide, they're clutching up. They are moving themselves out of the bottom 8 every single time. And we're going to see some standings soon that might tell us a bit of the story.
Listen, I looked at the standings ahead of time already, and I took some notes, and I appreciate that you guys seem to have come to the same conclusion, but my notes only say EMEA stonks rising, so I would just like to show the standings and throw some more numbers at chat.
And if you didn't buy the dip, you already missed it. So if you're not on the train now, it's gone.
No, you're still welcome.
Yeah,
but we're looking from the top down.
And I do want to call out Xiaoju. Only 1 game in the bottom 4. A lot of CM players were really nervous because their previous first seed, Nandede, bombed out later on into the tournament, but he looks like the real deal. He has all the comps, played 6 different ones in day 1, and he might be the one to carry the region.
For America's
เหลืออเมริกาอยู่ประมาณ 4 คน
where it gets interesting.
Yeah, Hansing also taking a first, making good possibilities. CN
นี่
didn't
คือ
have
คน
the
ที่ตกรอบปะ
best chance yesterday with not good results at all. So he's one of the hopes to getting an advantage and maybe get to day 3.
And here's where our cut happened yesterday and the day before. We did see the players that just got cut as well between our 25th and 32nd position.
And it is going to keep coming. The tension is still there. These players are not safe. There's another elimination of the next bottom 8 waiting after the next 2 games. So they are not safe, especially the bracket that is currently sitting between 13th and 24th. Those players need to clutch up once more. Some of them, like Lecoco that we were talking about, that we saw in that previous game, able to do just that. But how many more times can they do that?
And we see here on this next slide, Dahua and Kermex both losing the tiebreaker and dropping out here with these 8 players, 3 Americas players and 3 APAC.
And importantly, of course, EMEA is in the rise, but if you see the standings in the first place, in the first standing, the top 8, 4 Americas, and in the top 16, 2 additional. So actually, America, one of the best performances.
What?
And we were a little concerned because normally day 2 is not the best day for us, and actually making it happen.
It's really a regional thing. Even in League of Legends, they kind of fall into the same curse, but America's players this time just been so strong. Day1, a 4.28 AVP, just blasting all the other regions.
ตอนนี้ของ
I hope APAC can
ผู้
kind
เล่น
of catch back
ผู้เล่น
up with what you guys have been
ตอน
doing.
นี้มีจีนกับ
Listen,
ยุ
you
โรป
say
อะเยอะ
it
มาก
is a
ที่ยังเหลือ
regional
อยู่
thing. Is it not just
APEC กับ
that Day2 historically
APEC
is
กับ
harder, more
อเมริกา
difficult,
เหลืออยู่
and enemies
สี่คน
therefore, you know?
You're saying that now,
Ted-
but there's 4 Americas in the
อ
top
เมริ
8.
กาเหลือ4
Right
คน
now, yeah.
How many
เอเปกเหลือกี่คน
EMEA?
ไม่รู้
Do you remember?
4
Oh,
คน
I know how
5 คน
many EMEA players are in the total tournament still, and I think those numbers are adding up nicely in our favor.
At the end of the day, though, top 8. That's all that matters. That's all that moves on to Championship Sunday.
Yeah, but there's a couple more games until we get there, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Of course, we have 2 more games for now until, like I just mentioned, that next cutoff is going to come in, but we'll keep going after that. Another 2 rounds, another elimination until we actually will find out who's in the running to play the top 8.
And I do want to give a shout out to the lone EMEA player in top 8, the hottest player on the field right now. That's going to be Klikornen from Turkey coming over here. He just had 2 first place placements right there, playing into the Exotech line. There weren't a lot of high hopes for him, but I know, Makes, you're a lot more familiar with him than I am. How did he do?
It's incredible because yesterday he started the day with 2 7th places. And that historically is not an easy thing to come back from, right? You have that kind of momentum going in the wrong direction. And so he was able to turn it around, to clutch up. At the end of yesterday, he was actually not in a really good spot. So able to just bring it back with those 2 first places goes to show how quick it can go well or it can go wrong for some of the players.
Yeah, I'm very close to him, Bomb and Death. He's in 9th in the bubble, so actually very close. And one of the surprises for EMEA, also doing amazing, starting yesterday with a first place, playing tempo, playing good comps. And this is one, again,
Lobby one
of EMEA. Maybe some of the best. Double is not here. We have some names. Bolt already, we lost him. And this possibility of EMEA making a good run is amazing. Remember, America is the one who has the additional spot right now, so we had more players. EMEA has a possibility, if they keep performing, to get maybe
ตั้งแต่เซต10ที่ผ่านมานะ
Yeah, if you look overall
ตอ
at
น
the
นี้
top standings, it is the America's great
ปีนี้อาจจะเป็น
top
ปี
8.
ของยุโรป
And
หรือ
then
ว่า
a lot
จีน
of
ก็
new
ได้นะ
faces coming in from the other regions. For
ว่า
CN,
10
Xiaoju and Zhenbai, these
10
two
เป็น
players
Dissolve
combined only have
อ
one
เมริกา
TFT regional run, and now they're trying to carry the biggest region.
ไม่ใช่เด็
the
10 เป็น
best
มิราล่า
region so far.
11 ดิสโลป
So, a lot of riding on
มิ
their
ราล่าก็อ
shoulders.
เมริกา
We've seen a lot
อเมริกา
happen
อเมริกา
right?
12 ไตเติ้ล
We've
ไต
had
เติ้
so
ลเอ
many
เปก
people cut from our competition, and there'll
13
be
Dipsop
more cut after 2 more
Mega.
games. So every game matters so much. Yesterday, obviously, the first 6 games mattered, but it felt like you had 6 games to really establish yourself. But now it's every 2 games.
14 อาจจะเป็นพี่จีนก็เป็น
That's
ได้
right. And we are seeing which our lobby is going to be next. So lobby 1 coming up for us. Xiaoju, who you were just talking about, Clement, is in that lobby. We're also going to see Setsuko again, which we just saw, unfortunately, take an 8th place, but hopefully he's going to be able to clutch back up from that.
He's just keeping the brand going, right? Out of all of our games so far, he's had 1 not first or 8th. So he's just keeping the brand going.
And we saw that with that Boombot roll down. He took Invested, one of the most coveted augments that you can take on 4-2. 90 gold roll down. It was really cool, but didn't find that Urgot too. And that's kind of the pros and cons of that type of style of gameplay. We love to watch it, but it does carry its inherent risks.
1 roll away from giving us a tactical breakdown. We wanted to do that one, of course. Not the best here for Setsuko, but once again, a good chance here to take a good first. And he's going to be also Summertime, who has been doing one of the Young Guns and the new faces, loving once again.
ลองดู
his
Setsuko
image
ต่อ
and
ครับ
to recognizes Lecoco.
ไม่หนึ่งก็แปลกครับ
Once
พี่
again,
คน
and
นี้
Summers also in the top 16 right now, making it work. The only representative from Latam, we lost the only representative from Brazil, Bapacasa. So real good lobby right here and good possibilities for all of them to ensure a good placement. As you said, CLE, very important so far. Points accumulate from yesterday to today, and now this lobby looks just amazing.
I do want to talk about the points because the important breakdowns are top 4 and top 12. If you're top 4 at the final game, at the end of game 12, you are guaranteed to move into the finals. And if you're top 12, then you're guaranteed to move into the final game on game 13. So those are the 2 breakpoints everyone are going to be fighting for.
And there's a crazy person at the top of our leaderboard. 9 points above the 2nd place person is Xiaoju, setting himself up excellently to possibly compete for that top 4 slot to even secure his spot in the grand finals even earlier.
That's right. He is going to be the points leader for the lobby that we just looked at. Our points follow-upper at the very bottom, I guess, is going to be Xiaoqi with 34 points. So a 20 points differential between our highest point player and our lowest point player in this lobby. That's natural. We are snake seeding, so there's always going to be a bit of a gap between our players, but just to kind of give you an idea of what players are playing for, because if you find yourself at the bottom of the standings right now, your playstyle might be a little bit more volatile than what players at the top can afford to do. So you might be led into a direction we're going for a 1st or 8th.
And honestly, the point differential isn't that big. We were talking about the importance is to be 5th to 12th right there. And if you look at the bottom with Xiaoqi, there's only a 5-point difference to kind of make it in that bubble. Remember, game 13, your points stop mattering. As long as you're top 4, you make it into the final day.
Yeah, you were talking, Makes, a little about the comps, maybe having that possibility of creativity and maybe having an angle to look forward to. Tech Summers is the player has played more TF reroll, so that 2-cost reroll that is actually not working throughout the field, he has made it work and still maintaining top 16. So maybe that we saw Lecoco with the Fiddlestick, he has his TF reroll, so it's good to see players going for the comfort zone and actually playing what they love to.
You know the problem with Tech Summers? In that triple run that he made to TAC round, he was wearing his Shaco cap.
Okay.
He was wearing the clown outfit. He needs to put that back on. I didn't see him wear that in Dallas.
He
that
brought
was
it.
a lucky charm. He brought it?
I know he brought it. He told me he has it. So I think he's just waiting for the right moment because it's aura. You cannot just spend aura. You need to keep it for the exact moment. So I think he knows. In case he gets away from the top 16, I think he will get there.
Listen, if there's anybody on this cast, I think it would be Hugh Hoope, who knows about aura. So I trust you on that one.
Yeah. No, for sure. It will happen.
And there's so much strategy for these last couple games, right? Whether it's wearing a hat or what composition you play, a lot of our players are just trying to avoid the extremes, right? If you go 8th place, only getting 1 point can absolutely move you all the way down the leaderboard. And as we look at it, we see how close the points are outside of one player.
I do kind of want to talk a little bit about Summertimer because that was a player that we had a lot of hope for going into day 1, into our tournament. And he found himself in a not so great position at the end of yesterday, was able to avoid elimination, and now finds himself kind of middle of the pack. So really talk about kind of recognizing what people are playing now that we have reached the global stage and able to clutch back up from it. But we are in game number 3 for today. Of course, round number 9 overall. There's no points reset. And we're going to take a look here.
A really good start for AQ1H, going on to one of his favorite lines, Tempo Dynamo here. We have seen some Nitro Dynamo wins, especially from Solo Gasong in the previous round, so we definitely know that this is a line that can work.
But Nitro
them early.
Yeah, we've seen it work and we've seen it not work. Actually, not in the best ABP, but in good condition, especially this, getting this Elise early, as you mentioned, I think it's a great spot. And obviously, you have already the angle. You already know exactly what you're doing. And of course, that's a good comfort zone. On the other hand, YGQF already having the Ox. Very difficult. Normally, you want to start with the Graves here just to make sure you have the angle, while finding Jarvan early plus the Alistar is pretty good.
But it's something we've seen a few times, though, is the Slayer reroll. If we're able to get Vayne online, if maybe we can do the Senna Jarvan reroll. Something we haven't seen too much yet, but something players in, specifically you, Clement, you're a little high on going into this tournament.
Yeah, I think it was special composition. I haven't checked the comps, but I know Summertimer is on a hot streak right now. He just finished with 12 points in the past 2 rounds, and I think he's the player we're most likely to see something from that. It did come from their study group.
He played it yesterday already. Unfortunately, it didn't work out because there was a little bit of a contest that Jarvan 3 not able to come online in the game that we saw it in because somebody else was also chasing those units. But we are going to be getting augments right now, and it is going to be gold ones across the board. So there's always a chance.
The meta has shifted a little, but still it's very solid. You get a good tempo out of it. He already had a Draven, so maybe he was looking for training goal. I think it makes a lot of sense, and then he can manage, or maybe
getting
the Cypher in
Yeah, Thornplated doesn't really save his board right here, so I would consider the 2 Econ augments on 2-1 a little bit more attractive. Talking about Xiaoju a little bit more, I think what gives us so much hope is that he actually played a lot of lines, unlike in the previous TAC round, who basically played
อยากเล่นรูสติก
Portable Forge has
เล่น
Blighting
ไซเฟอร์
Jewel.
เนาะ
So maybe learning from the success of Lakoko last game.
ทั้งที่จริงเมื่อกี้เล่น
that Fiddlesticks reroll. You
เมื่อ
can
กี้
also
เล่น
play
วิน
around
สติก
more
ได้นะ
direct
หยิบ
actions as well. Is quite good. Does refund a lot of mana.
We do have someone going
หยิบอักเมนแบมเบิลก็ยังได้นะหยิบแซมมิ่งก็ยังได้นะเมื่อกี้เพราะว่ามี
YGQF
วัว2
already
ดาว
picked
นะ
up Golden Fleece. So that is going to be something to look out for. Very nice augment to have if you're able to play around that composition. We know how strong Golden Ox has been, and able to just generate that gold early on will be helpful in making those breakpoints as well.
YGQF, in terms of his play style, we did see like CN play a lot of Graves, but the averages were actually pretty poor. It was in the 6s. So we'll see if Golden Fleece
จะจู่
is
ตรงนี้มา
enough
เป็น
on
ไซ
carry
เฟอร์ครับ
through. Usually if it's against a lot of very strong players and you can't find tempo in stage 3, the
YGQF
competition is a lot worse.
น่าจะเล่นเกมครับแสดงไว้ที่แบบนี้
now already finding the Graves, decide to slam Quicksilver here just to get a little
อักเมน
tempo.
กด
and
เล่น
he
ฟรี
has
ไป
the
ครับ
Ox
เกมแน่นอนครับ
So that will be the definition, totally going for that vertical. And we already seen that 4 Ox is pretty strong. And if he managed to hit the Graves very
วันนี้เรายังไม่ได้ดูดิ
he
โซ
will
เลย
have a
นะ
chance to pop up in the late game.
I'm actually very curious if he decides to reroll if he wins this round, which is not looking like he's going to hit that Golden Ox Sprocket.
Yeah.
Not having that extra gold will mean he probably won't unless he wants to break the gold. Getting that 8 breakpoint is quite easy though, so he'll just get that one later.
Yeah, always good. Are you a greeter there? Do you like to greet and always get it no matter what? I always try to do it. I don't care. I don't care if it doesn't make sense to roll a little. It's just too good. It's like I lose 4 gold
เกมแพ้
and I have to do it.
Ooh, but looks like there might be some contest on this side of the board coming in from Tech Summers as well. It has gold for dummies here into the back line.
Yeah, holding also the Bane, holding Dr. Mundos here. Not deciding to go for the Bruiser Techie line, so maybe a little bit. He knows it's contested, and the other guys committed.
เปิดมาเป็น
so
โกลเด้น
I don't think
โกลเด้น
Texas
คอลเลกเตอ
going
ร์
for
ครับโกคอลเลกเตอร์กับ
The good
คุ
thing
ณ
is
ซู
with Gold for Dummies, you are not as
อาจ
locked
จะ
in as
ไป
the
เล่น
Gold Fleece, so
แวน
it's
การ์ด
going
มาร์
to
ก
be
แมนหรือเปล่า
able to find yet another comp to just play around to. Of course, it's always a little bit bittersweet when you find the Golden Ox this early. You're able to just benefit of having it in this early on. But if you see someone as locked in as that Golden Fleece augment alludes to, I think, if you are Tex here, then probably stepping back should be the correct option here.
Yeah,
for him.
Lekoko with Rage Blade, also having the Collector trying to make a good tempo out of it, not getting a good decision.
There's a Graves.
2-star carousels. This is going to be incredibly game warping, especially if you can get the one you want on your board. Is anyone playing Twisted Fate? Is anyone playing
Get it,
Graves?
Dab.
Does get it. Zhao Ju does get it, and he is not playing Graves.
Yeah, he's gonna deny it from his region mate here, YGQF.
อันนี้
is
เป็น
the one
เป็น
with
ตัว
Golden
2 ดาว
Fleece.
ด้วยเนี่ยโอ้
Another key thing here to note is that there won't be any Cypher units here. We do have an open forder in Shaoqi trying to break the street of Xiaoju.
I was looking at Summertimer there because we did get a glimpse at his board very briefly, and there was a slammed Rage Blade already. Had a couple of options since that Pandora's was also picked up, and I was wondering if he'd go for the Jin or the Vayne if he had a chance to. In the end, both were taking from that carousel, so didn't actually get
ต้องเอามาใช้ให้เป็นประโยชน์ครับ
Interesting lobby because often we see a lot of our players playing weak boards in our stage 2. In this case, we only have 2 of them, and the rest of our players now have a lot of upgrades to work around. And so Summertimer playing around these early upgrades, but again, we see here we have a 2-star Jin as well. So a lot of good boards.
Setsuko on the other hand, right now still with the Morgana 1. With the blinding
พี่ AQ 1 Head น่าจะไปเล่น
Fiddlestick angle.
Dynamo นะ
Actually, not the perfect spot here. Archangel
Dynamo
also
Freak.
the Morgana, so committing a lot to the AP line. But only having 2 Morganas here is pretty tough. Let's see if he managed to stay. Trying to get a little chance here with the Bane, but no. AQ1H is just too strong.
And it's a very interesting pivot from AQ1H. He probably saw the stats of Nitro Dynamo yesterday and was like, I have a good start. I ain't playing this. I'm just going to go straight for misfortune.
Okay, Saochi just making sure that if he managed to get against an opponent who's also low, he has the possibility to sell here and ensure the
จีน 2 คนจะทำการ
It's
ตัด
gonna be critical
รู
to
สเต
see
กันอีก
if
แล้วครับตอน
Xiaoqi
นี้
can stop the Cypher from Xiaoju. I think that's our most impactful fight coming on.
Yeah, 2 players with very similar names, both loose streaking, just in case you're getting confused at home. But I promise you, we're going to keep an eye on for you guys checking out how that's going to go. For now, Summertimer, the only player in this lobby that still has a chance to preserve this win streak and would very much like to do so, goes up against AQ1H, who did pick up that Jin, a very powerful unit this early on if you're able to slam those items, and it might actually be not enough, is going to be breaking his win streak here as we move into Krugs.
And AQ1H takes that streak instead on that 4-win streak, and both of our players at the bottom of the lobby not meeting each other, both losing, continuing their riches.
Summerstein still in a good spot. Normally you want a little tempo there with the Rage Blade. Obviously he wanted the win streak, generate a little more gold. And now we see Xiaoju just trying to get, he got the Draven early, but no normally what happens here. And now level 5, almost going to level 6.
แม้จะได้ดาเว่นมาตั้งแต่แรกแต่ว่าไม่เจอเลบองครับ
ramp up a little more the Cypher. Remember in this patch Cypher is a little nerf, so it's much difficult to get some significant cash outs.
It's going to be critical to see if he's going to roll down a little bit on level 6 on 3-1. If he can hit the 4 Cypher or compared to the 3, that's actually a huge difference. To see if you can go for that 250 cash out with the 4 Nikos, or maybe you just have to stay with the 175 indicators.
One unique thing to mention in this lobby is no one has Cypher right now. We have some of our players rolling for it. Xiaoju is going very deep, finding the LeBlanc, getting 3 Cypher in, but you really want 4 Cypher in this spot.
Yeah, the sort of formula is 4 Cypher on 3-2 and 5 kills. That gives you 250 stacks.
Okay.
I'm just looking at this shop. It's 3-1, just in case anyone's wondering. Leona and Zix just casually hanging out in Xiaoju's chop. But he, of course, doesn't actually want them. He just wants to find the Cypher units and play around that instead.
Cypher 3-1 ครับ
I don't think that's going to be the case.
อาจจะจบประมาณ250ได้อยู่ครับถ้าเกิดไม่ได้ไฮโลเจอเซต
Moving into that next arc instead, a change has happened at the top of the leaderboard because Summertimer actually loses that win streak.
And in this game, we do have an extra augment at the end of stage 4, so we're stage 3 right now. Getting our 3-2 augment, another gold augment, nothing crazy unless you can get something like Trait Tracker or Forward Thinking that we see insta-picked for Tech Summers.
Oh, and he is in a great spot for it. It already has all of the Boombot items that he could want, a lot of physical items, going to go straight to stage 4. So for the rest of the lobby, that puts a lot of pressure on players that need points. You know that Boombot level 9 is coming.
And it contests those who are playing Cypher. Right now, his board is super weak. All of his gold is gone. He needs to econ back up. But Texas got a strong enough board that he should be able to keep winning at least a little bit.
Interestingly enough, it's not just Tex that picked up Forward Thinking, it's also Lakoko, and of course, it wouldn't be a round of gold offensive. We wouldn't be getting baited by Magic Bullet instead of Trait Tracker here. So just in case you're looking at this and thinking, hey, Trait Tracker did come alive, it is Magic
บอร์ดแข็งพอสมควรนะครับมีอีลิส2 ดาว
Vanguard player. Just committed right now and obviously making sure he has
แต่ว่า
there with the rage
ดูจากไอเทมแล้วเหมือนจะไปเล่นฟิดเดิลปะ
just trying to get a good fort here
ไม่มั่นใจครับแอบเก็บฟิดเดิลไว้อยู่ครับ
You really have to play around bronze for life. It's going to be a very interesting one. I'm not sure if you play around vertical Cypher at all anymore, but instead you'll pivot.
Okay, Setsuko has the field stick here. And he already saw Lekoko making it work. Obviously, only one of the premium artifacts here in the Blinding Duel, but with good possibilities already putting the Bruisers in. So it's coming together, but he will need a good time here to roll and actually hit in good tempo.
Now we're going to take a look at YGQF. We were talking about stage 3 tempo for this Graves composition. A big thing that makes the composition work while you're still rolling beneath 50 gold. And so far it looks like he hasn't been able to stabilize. I will say he has very good items at this stage for his composition though, so I do expect him to be able to turn it around, especially with that Gragas 2 and that Ross 2.
A lot is going to be writing on whether or not he's going to be able to get that Graves in time. With 2 players that picked up Forward Thinking in this lobby, you might find yourself in a position where you're able to bring that unit online, but then other players just peak so much harder, and the streak that you were looking for to stabilize you knocks you out.
Xiaoqi and Xiaoju not facing each other still. 8 losses for both of them, and they're both just kind of playing chicken. They're both playing weak boards, waiting to slam items, and taking huge losses.
Well, the scriptwriter is definitely from CN. I think we have that confirmed by now. As we take a look at this, there is a huge one for Xiao Qi right here, taking the 4 cost. It would have been a little bit better for Xiao Ju because he was playing into the bronze for life, which we see a lot with the EXO and kind of rapid fire line.
Stuff. AQ1H maintaining the win streak here, making sure he punishes a little and maintains the tempo. Now we're seeing once again the Nitro player just trying to play Dynamo as you predicted and maybe making the switch here. So it will be EXO having a Flux here.
8 รูทสติกมาครับไม่มีไซเฟอร์ก็ผมมองว่าไม่ค่อยคุ้มเท่าไหร่นะน่าจะต้องชนะสักนิดนึงนะตรงนี้
Right, he's got no cipher stacks, but
ได้
instead
เซอร์รี่มาแสดงไอเทมแล้ว
excellent items playing
ตร
around
ง
a
นี้
little
พี่
bit
เสี่ยว
of
จู
Metro, but
นะครับ
5
ยังไม่ได้
cipher
คอมมิต
now
ที่
for
จะ
Xiao
เล่นเป็น
Ju.
ไซเฟอร์รีโลนะเพราะว่ามีบอนส์ฟอร์ไลน์นะตรงนี้
She's going to be able to help you out. Your board is going to grow stronger. Still missing a
ไม่
lot of
รู้
those
ว่า
objectives,
จะ
like
ไปเล่นบอร์ดอะไรนะ
Exotech units like that Mordekaiser to really stabilize your front line. 44 HP with some of the players looking as healthy as AQ1H and Summertimer, as well as Setsuko actually just looking at the top there. I'm a little bit worried for both of our bottom 2
also
players.
Tech Summer with forward thinking, we know he will be strong, so he will have to hit. He will have to roll maybe at 4-1, at most at 4-2, and hit. Not only roll, get the 32, get the Sojourning 2, and get the 7XO online.
Unfortunately, I think this is a lobby where if you're playing the Vanguard Marksman, you feel really bad because the top lobby slots are all occupied already. You have the Cypher players online, you have the full win streakers online, and a forward thinking. So this is one of those lobbies where stage 3 can feel kind of fake.
It sure does. It almost feels like we're already in stage 5 looking at some of the HP totals, but nay, that is not true. But we're going to be taking a look at some of our win streakers at least meeting. AQ1H on 8 wins thus far. Is Setsuko going to be able to stop that? But I think Joel on the Elise and the backline is going to be helping out.
ที2ดาวจะได้ไหมในตรงนี้ อู้แต่ว่าซื้อ MF
The Lost Streakers did not face each other for 2 stages straight.
ได้อยู่
And now it's the techie cash out.
266 มาครับได้อะไรครับได้
That's the gold cash out normally. He has some chances here, getting the Jarvan 2 also as a possibility.
ได้ตัวบูสเตอร์มา
Making sure he has good units here.
อ่ะ
Now
รีโหลดไป
rolling, trying to find something very far
จะ
from
รอดไหม
the
ครับ
Raven, but the reroll will be the angle here. Finds a Galio again, but he's so far from anything. So we'll just manage to maintain tempo, and this is not
บอล
the
ฟอ
spot
ร์ไล
to
น์ครับตอนนี้
I'm
เปิดอยู่
wondering
แค่
about
3
what
เขต
you
เท่า
were
นั้นนะครับ
saying earlier, Celia,
ที่เป็น
because
4 บอล
usually with Bronze for Life, we don't see a lot of Cypher vertical or Cypher reroll. It's not necessarily where a lot of players are steering the comp if they pick up that augment, so it might have just been a case of being pinched for augments, really.
So you really want 7 active traits for this augment to make a lot of sense. You get 3.5 for every one of them on bronze, and obviously you're paying 5 Cypher. That one isn't going to count. So I agree with you, Megs. I expected him to go and try to fit in some exotechs or something, but he did get the spatula, which might help with that situation.
We do have a few other people that are angling towards that Exotech line as well.
ผมไม่เห็นคนท
One of those being Tech Summers, who's going to have incredible amount of gold on 4-2.
ำดูดเลือดให้ดาเวนเยอะอยู่นะ
Both those players and what their choices are
เท่ๆ
at 4-2 right after the augment choice.
AQ1H with that 9 win streak, breaking Setsuko twice has really changed the face of the game for me. If I'm looking at the lobby, you know, it's
เหมือน
Tech
จริง
Summer's
ๆก็ไม่ได้
biggest 4-2
โฟกัส
roll
ว่า
and
เลอบอง
just
ขนาดนั้น
AQ1H to see if he can continue
สุดท้ายแล้วก็เป็นดาเวนที่
as
แบ
he
ก
did find the 2 exact 4 costs that he wanted on level 7 without even rolling.
We also saw a Xiao Qi's board on the opposite end as we are looking upon our augments coming in, and he already had an Urgot on that
2 คน forward
engineer
thinking
as
มา
well.
ตรงนี้
So massive hit for a
โดน
player
แข่งกัน
talking about needs that unit upgrade, but here we go.
Tech Summer's taking duo Q and getting 2 of the 5 costs he would need for an Urgot board. He's sitting at 99 gold. He has enough HP.
There goes to level 9.
To go to level 9.
เดสโคโค่โลเวล 8 ไปก่อนนะครับตรงนี้
Find an Urgot.
Oh, we found
There's
one.
the bear, there's one.
ส่วนเท็กซ์ขึ้นเวล 9 มาครับ เจอเอาก่อน 1 ตัว
Kokoro rolling on level 8. Very
จะ
deep. Not
transition
finding-
บอร์ดได้หรือเปล่าตรงนี้
Finding his first Leona, second Leona now.
Yeah, no Aphelios still.
เหงาๆครับ
Big room.
There's one Aphelios, makes the change, makes the switch now.
Kind of
Still not enough. Yeah, still buy 2 as the tank. Not a great position, so he will need to stack 1 right here.
เลสโคโค่ดูเหมือนจะไปเล่นเป็นแวนการ์ดมาร์คแมนนะ
taking very win streak facing augments that thorn plated armor
แต่ก็สามารถขึ้นเวล9ไปเล่นใส่การเลนใส่กอดได้ครับ
but the Vanguard marksman is online reactive shell allowing these Vanguards to do a bit more damage. That misfortune cap is huge.
Actually, wow, that was a big win for AQ1H. Not only does he get to keep 11 win streak, but also the enemy looked pretty strong already.
แต่เลือดค่อนข้างน้อยไปหน่อยครับ
But that is insane.
Yeah, Texomers getting here the sack 2 with the Anima Visage that he will change promptly here from the Dr. Mundo to the sack.
ไม่เจอแม้แต่โชว์แกปตัวเดียวก็ไม่เจอ
Already the Viego having good legendaries. Just need a little more gore, obviously, to roll for blobs and get the additional units 2 stars.
We found our first Cho'Gath as well. We need to get 4 Boombot in. That is a lot of extra damage on top of this board. We don't have sticks either. So Garen in shop is excellent as well. Getting that on 4-5. We'll start a few of those rounds to get those extra.
แซกแบกก่อนนะครับ
extra.
Yes.
แต่แซกที่ไม่มีแซก2ดาวที่ไม่มีไวรัสเลยก็อาจจะแบกยากไปนิดนึงจะตายแล้วครับไม่มีแม้แต่แพ้ครับสภาพนี้เหงาเลยครับ
Very tough spot.
Yeah, and he's going to be facing a lot of strong competition. Can he find an extra Urgot here is going to be the key. The 5 cost does not look to be helping him. On the other side of the bottom of the table, we have Xiaoju already with double 3 stars looking down right now. Tech Summers, he needs some immediate hits. That Garen in his shop probably isn't even going to save him.
Also, Chao Chi getting the 32, getting also the Sejuani double protectors, plus the Horizon focus. So good combination there, good combo, looking good. And also with a good possibility to get a good placement. As we know, everyone will keep getting stronger, and the people that are playing marksman, vanguards will start falling off. So HQ1A is just trying to hold up the lead. And now we're seeing once again, yeah, Chao-Chi looks amazing, trying to find obviously a Sejuani 2 to finalize the stabilization. But looking good, at least for this round. He should be able to preserve a lot of HP.
To make it easy for everyone, Tech Summers needs to avoid all the Xiaos. Neither of the Xiaos can be defeated at this point. Zeri 2, and on the other hand, you have that Draven 3 staring down
เหมือนกับเล่นเป็นฟอนไลน์บูสเตอร์ไปก่อนนะครับส่วนบูมบอร์ดเปิดแค่2ครับ
Question is, who is on the other side? And it is going to be Lakoko, and it feels a little bit like been warned about between the 2 forward-thinking players.
Forward thinking โลเงินหมดเวล8แต่ไม่คิดว่าเฟลิออส
Only missing out on the Aphelios. The lift does come in on the front line, but is it enough? Zach, the only unit that's still holding strong on the side of Tax. Target coming in with the insane assist.
แซกยังแบกให้อยู่ครับ
An incredibly tough match here as the front line crumbles.
แต่ไม่ไหวครับตายไปแล้วครับ
Tax unfortunately taken out.
โลอยู่นะ
So tough here.
แต่ว่าขึ้น9มาโลเงิน30ก็น้อยนะครับว่า
Having good possibilities to take the lobby away, but not enough gold. He decides to go to the online maybe with 25 to 30 gold. He could have gotten there, getting the jacks, but getting the sack, but everything else didn't pop up. The Cho'Gath didn't get early, and the rest of the units just didn't merge at the end.
นี่ครับ
We
เจ้า
do have
จู
to say the Cho'Gath 2 is actually stronger
Bot for light.
now because the Zac was nerfed. You need a lot more blobs to
แต่ก็เล่นเป็นบอทไซเฟอร์ปกตินะ
Last augment choices from our encounter coming through here. Bakoko taking reinforcement to try and stabilize significantly here. And across the lobby, we're seeing a lot of combat augments, which makes a lot of sense for this point in the game.
ไม่ฮิตครับ
Which of these will be strongest?
Yeah, looking for the Draven here in the roll down, doesn't find any. So huge roll down here, maybe 20, 25 gold, not one Draven, not one Jarvan 4. So very, very tough here for YQF, QF. I always...
YGQF. It just means go fly bravely.
Go fly bravely.
Yeah.
Well, someone that's going to need to fly bravely is Xiaoju. He will take the win against YGQF. But
the bronze for life, Cypher Reroll making it work.
That's
so
pretty
amazing.
crazy.
Yeah.
That was not on my bingo sheet, at least.
I think he just needed some combat power, and he was like, okay, I'll take this. It's not great, but it gives me something.
You could think about a little win more, but no, he's level 8, 0 gold, so it's not like there's possibility to get additional synergy.
2
just making it work.
2 เกรฟ 1 จาวาน
Gapping the out. Just the 5 Cypher is just too, so strong, making sure he has the Galio 3, he has the Draven, and now
ตรงนี้ผมว่า
some
Let's Go
possibilities
น่าจะ
here.
อยาก
Trying to find the reinforcement still hasn't got a
น่าจะอยากซื้อ
yeah, the Aphelios, that's the one that he needs.
เฟนะ
Digging for that secondary carry. He's got fantastic items for them, but does not have the unit. Urgot is a great item holder in the meantime, but until he gets that, this board will not be completely online.
Well, let me give you an update on the Aphelios, is that the plural, that are already in play, because Summertimer has 1, and then YGQF has an Aphelios 2 already as well. It's not going to be easy to find that
นี่
unit.
คือพยายามจะทำโชว์แกส 3 นะครับ
Because this is a great comparison between the way Lakoko played forward thinking and Tech Summers. He actually had a midpoint transition going into the 4 cost first. Either the Zeri or the Marksman would have fit well for him, and now he's going to the Boombots.
Yeah, and decides to use the reinforcements for the Cho'Gath, so his angle will be trying to look for
แต่
Cho'Gath.
มันเวล 8 นะ
He
สิ
already has 6. Obviously, very difficult to spot, but Tech Summers already falls, so the Cho'Gath is open.
Listen, I am just impressed by the 1001 ways Lakoko finds a way to play Boombot in any capabilities. That's exactly what he did most of the scrims, and he did phenomenal there. If he can keep that up, who knows, man? We might be calling him.
ไม่ไหวครับ กดยากไปนะ
For sure he will. Trying to access here, the backline with the Draven falls.
forward thinking
And
ก็
this is the end for the Bronze for Life, Cypher.
ไม่ไหวครับ
Xiaoju falling out in 7th there is not what he was looking for. I do want to check in on Setsuko, who we haven't seen in a while, who's trying to copy our good friend Lakoko from last game.
แล้วเสี่ยวจูตายไปแล้วครับ
Reroll, and we are 1 off of our key unit here. We do have them holding Cho'Gaths. There's 2 of them on his board, so it will be not possible to hit that Cho'Gath 3 right now.
Setsy's trying to save the lobby by keeping those Chos away from Lakoko here. But not getting that 3-star, stuck on level 7. I have to say, against the competition, this is looking really rough.
Yeah, just trying to ramp out. A 5th is good. A 4th will be amazing in his spot. Now he faces off against Marksman. Summertime is strong. He has good front line, has the Saya online, has the Aphelios. I'm just trying to block. And now Fiddlestick walks into the front, and he will be the target once this Super Cho'Gath falls down. He's scaling.
One of the big problems with this composition is if you
ตายไป
don't
ก่อน
get
นะครับ
a billion
Fiddle
defensive items, the front line can fall very easily, and you see how many offensive items. He's got Giant Slayer, BT, Morello
Let's Go
on
ตายไปครับ
his frontline Gragas. So it's
เจ
not
สโกกำลังจะตามไป
really the spot you want to be in. Lakoko, though, does fall out of the competition there, so the Cho'Gaths are free.
Listen, I'm taking the blame on that one. That was a classical caster jinx, just to show you guys here on the cast what not to do, okay? I'm willing to sacrifice myself. No, unfortunate there for Lakoko, but
แต่ว่าฮิต Fiddle แล้วนะ อาจจะคัมแบ็กได้หรือเปล่า Fiddle
across
3
our lobby, across our players that are fighting to make it into the top 4 right now.
So far, the top 2 in the lobby are AQ1H with a lot of finished legendaries, and then YGQF, who's finally hit on that Jarvan 3 and Graves 3. So we're going to be taking a look at that cloning facility.
โอ้
He
มาเจอ
basically has
เลนาตัน
30
2
gold
โคโบ
worth
โก
of
2 ครับ
Kabutos on his board
เลือด
right now.
70 ครับ
Suko did
Will
hit
Gao.
that Fiddlesticks 3, which is an incredibly powerful spike. The damage will be significantly higher from this board, but the Koboko CC is massive. AQ1H will be sending Setsuko out.
โอ้โหดาเมจไม่ทันครับแล้วตายไปเลยครับเซซุโกะ
Seeing that Cho'Gath
Fiddle hit
being
on
that
tire,
wasn't
ครับ
found by Setsuko due to, of course, Lakoko holding some of those copies as well. Very unfortunate. A comp that had a great promise but wasn't able to cap out on it, as we are going to be going into our carousel. We do have 2 emblems available. You know, if you were playing Wayne reroll, that Slayer emblem would have been nice right about now.
Mitad Silicate ด้วยนะ
nobody
ใช้ได้นะ
went for it.
This is
แต่ไม่เอา
probably
เอา
the
แซกครับ
best for AQ1H if he can continue to level up later on. But he could also just play for tempo as well.
And if you're looking at the bottom of the screen, you think he has 6 Kobokos. You'll see here on your screen, that's just cloning facility. It baits me every time. Like,
โคโบโก2 ตัว
3 away from 3-star? No, he's 6. Having a chance there just to pop off. Finds the sack 2, so additional improvement here for here board on the top left. And now additional roll downs. No one with gold. Everyone spending all resources. They're just trying to scrap a result right now. Obviously damage increased so much. HQ1H on the left. and Graves player here on the right. Graves already 52 in the gold streak.
A lot of damage. For me, this lobby is going to come down to YGQF.
โดนมิดฟอร์จูนกับอิลิสโดนสตาร์นะครับสตาร์รอบ2ครับแล้วเผลอๆมีสตาร์รอบ3หรือเปล่าครับไหลเข้ามาตรงนี้เซจูนี่
Graves in the back, getting a good
ส
win.
ตาร์รอบ3ครับ โอ้
YGQA
โหไม่ไหวครับ
getting a good win there, but AQ1H taking the loss. So actually not performing here. We thought he was pretty strong, but still needs a little damage. Only having he's far away still from the Elise, and that will be the additional carry. Having also the pair of Aurora, so a good chance to improve his board, but he still haven't got to the full power spike.
And I mean, he is a level 9, so he, of course, has good chances to find stuff like that additional Aurora. He's also holding one more Koboko. That one is real, by the way, so he's still thinking about whether or not there might be another out here, or maybe just trying to bait the other players in the lobbies. But somebody that might have its time come up is Summertimer on the opposite board.
ตรงนี้ครับ
Finding that Aphelios 2 and Zaya 2
ออร่าโยนโคโบโกะลงไปครับมีโคโบโกะ3ตัวครับช่วยกันตัน
If that Misfortune can hit that backline one more time,
แล้วมีฟอร์จูนยิงทะลุไปแนวหลังตรงนี้
too little too late.
ซัมเมอร์ไทม์อาจจะไม่ไหวหรือเปล่าครับ สกิลมันกระเด้งไปครับอฟิลิออสตายไปก่อน เรียบร้อยครับ
And Summertimer is out, so he takes a fourth here. One of the marksman vanguard.
เกรฟยังรอดอยู่ครับ
Good tempo from the start, and
กับ
it's a
อ
good
ฟิลิออส
fourth
โช
once
ว์จริง
again,
ตรงนั้น
plus 5 points.
Yeah, good fourth. Marksman Vanguard so far in the tournament never won a game, even with 3-star Leona. So this is exactly what you were aiming for.
That's an insane thing to say, but yeah, unfortunately there was one that lost.
Looking at our boards now, we don't have too much gold to speak for apart for YGQF, who is at 40, going to be hitting that 56 break point on Golden Ox, which is incredibly strong. Considering his options here for last item, while the rest of our lobby rolls down, that is an Elise 3.
Oh.
Finally online for AQ1H, is able to get that going. A bunch more blobs also coming his way. Still looking for the Aurora 2. That would have been a nice upgrade to come with, but looking at the overall HP of the lobby, I'm not sure there's anybody that can take that cookie away from him.
Yeah, I really think it's YGQF in positioning. Other than that, I don't see much of a chance, but there's so much crowd control
ผิด
now
อี
on
ลิ
this
ส3
board
ครับ
on
ตรงนี้
AQ1H in both of those built-up legendaries.
ออโรรา2ก็น่าจะ แคปหมดแล้วนะบอร์ดเหลือแค่หาไอเทมไม่ครบครับ
to find his way into the backline to take out that Misfortune and the Elise, but he is just a chain to that front line, is not moving away, and they have an easy time finishing off.
So good, so much crowd control from the sack, being perfect, not making it work, even with the Quicksilver. After it was completely abolished,
พี่ AQ1S น่าจะ
and finally taking a win
ช
here.
นะหรือเปล่า
Great
เกม
win.
นี้
YGQF going up to level 9 though, spending that gold not on rerolls, but instead leveling up as much as possible. 14 HP though is not too much to work with.
And we're going to take a look at Xiaoqi's artifact here. It is the Horizon Focus with a lot of damage, 30% max HP. Let's see if he can get the Sejuani positioning. Of course, there is a QSS, but the damage can still matter.
Yeah, just trying to break the knees here of the opponent, moving in the last moment on the left. So this shouldn't be enough. There's a Sejuani, so great.
เกมมีการ CC ครับ
Remember, it has the Quicksilver, so it has the chance there to
แต่ยัง
avoid.
ติดแทงอยู่
Trying
ต
to
รง
avoid
นี้
the second ult of Sejuani ults.
เซอร์ลีมันยิงเรื่อยๆครับ
So Aphelios just hitting.
แต่จาวามันถึงเหลือเกินนะครับ
Access to a backline, Seri fully capping here the rage
เกีย
blade.
ร์ตายไปแล้ว
Good
โอ้โห
damage.
ตอนนี้
It's a
เรีย
win
บร้อย
here
ค
for
รับ
Xiaoqi.
Wow.
You have 3 QSSs, and it doesn't matter. Sejuani still does enough damage. Wait.
หลับไปแป๊บหนึ่งตอนนี้เรา
Three off. Don't
3 เก
worry.
ม 3 ครับ
We
ใช่
can
ครับ
put 3 Koboko 2s on the board, and I think that's cool.
That's true.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not taking out a trait.
ตอนนี้คือโยนโคโบโกะลงไป
because the Aurora will pull
เฮ้ยจริงๆไข่
the cloning facility.
Yeah, and it's a really cool thing in these
ก็
types
ขาย
of situations. Like,
ขายนะขาย
you
นะ
actually
ขาย
don't
ได้อยู่
want
นะ
to build the 2-star Kopko. You're just like,
Yeah, I need
fine
to.
with
I
pulling
want to.
2.
Yeah, 100%. Much more utility here. And now possibly final combat. Xiaoqi only 1 life, going up against 7EXO.
Sologasong position.
ตรงนี้ถูกฝั่งนะ AQ1S
All of the carries managed to dodge out of that Sejuani ultimate. That's going to be huge for AQ1H and his damage output.
What's also huge is that Seri dodging the first ult on that misfortune, but it is absolutely not enough as AQ
ตายไปเลยครับ
takes round number 9 here and defends the honored respect of APAC after quite a bunch of eliminations from that region. He is saying, no,
อุ๊ยกล้องส
you
ว่างสด
do
ใสเลยครับ
got
ตัวนี้เหมือนได้
I
ขึ้นสวรร
don't
ค์
mention the eliminations. We just mentioned that he's the front runner. So.
it. He definitely is.
I love the final fight because normally the Dynamos are the ones supposed to do the damage, but because Kobuko was on the side, he just went into the backline, started punching the rest of the units, getting a great win there at the end.
I mean, it was a great showing from the whole lobby, a lot of clutch performances. We did see Setsuko and so many of our other players not really cap out the way they wanted to in that lobby. Missing Tech Summers going 8th place in that position. It was just not in what his plan was, right? Leveling maybe a little bit early, not having enough gold to roll down. Unfortunate 8th.
Double forward thinking not working out, all going bottom 4. I think that was a very surprise for us. And I think the hero of this lobby, the person that changed it the most, has to be Xiaoqi. He started off with a 10 lose streak, didn't let the Cypher player get too comfortable, and because he was able to tempo the Zeri early, he put so much pressure on the rest of the boombots.
You say he was able to tempo the Zeri early. What you mean by that, just for anybody that wasn't watching, is he was able to pick her up on the carousel.
Yes, that helps. That helps.
I just want to put that in the correct light, but I do agree. It was really good how he came back from that. I also kind of love-hated how our forward-thinking players were not able to really play to their strengths because of how the rest of the lobby tempoed their game and kind of just accelerated in a way where they weren't really able to keep back up.
Yeah, especially double marksmen and Vanguard players that actually on 4-2, they're already pretty strong. Punishing the lobby and making sure those forward-thinking players didn't get to the cap-out, didn't get the Urgot 2, and as we said, Tech Summer taking an 8th there as a bad possibility.
And that's something that we heard a lot of the top players talk about boombots is that if you don't have a good front line, this Urgot unit, especially at 1-star, is not going to keep you afloat in the meta. Even when we saw the Zac 2 after the nerf, it's not really enough. You'd be super happy with the Zac 2 early on. He didn't have the HP to back it up.
And the way this lobby shaped up, we knew this was going to be the ending. The high cap boards
เกม
were
9
absolutely insane as we see AQ1Hs, all of these upgraded from this legendary Dynamo Flex that we've talked about so much. But we saw Lakoko take a really big risk in a late game pivot into the Boombot, not quite play out, didn't have the matchmaking he needed to bring it back. And so congratulations to our top 4 in this game and AQ1H taking the win.
It must feel a little bit bad for Lakoko.
คืนนี้ไลฟ์จนจบไหม
The cup is coming up, and
ไม่
there
รู้
is
เหมือนกัน
a
นะครับ
possibility to be stuck with the
เดี๋ยวดูก่อน
marksman.
นะ
He might have actually outplaced the remaining
อยากไลฟ์จนจบอยู่นะ
players like
แต่ว่ามันนาน
Cypher
มากเลย
in this lobby.
That's true, but sometimes you have to take a risk, and he knew that a lot of these affiliates were already out of play. He knew his chances of basically having a dead augment were really high. 10 gold to
ช่วงที่แบบว่า
there's really no chance.
ช่วงรอห้องอ่ะ
So
มันแบบ
seeing that show saying, I'm just
มันไม่รู้
gonna
จะทำอะไรอ่ะ
I'm gonna like try to figure out
ช่วงรอห้อง
whatever
มัน
I
นาน
got,
อ่ะ
I think
นานจัดเลย
does deserve some respect, even though if it didn't work out in the end.
There were also some teamwork happening. We saw Setsuko and Summertimer. They were all hiding a Cho'Gath. You didn't see it, but yeah, they knew what their mission was.
Of course.
Yeah, Lakoko getting there with the reinforcements. Yeah, it was actually one augment left for him. So he didn't get the possibility. It was one augment that wasn't working. And I want to recognize also great player, YGQF, being amazing. He recognized the spot in the beginning, getting EXO augments online, and then finding the grapes on time and getting good rolling scenarios and possibilities, getting a great second place right now and also popping off in the standings.
Yeah, and that's all it's about right now. We have one more game before another 8 players get cut. And YGQF was one of the
นานมากหลับไปช่วงนี้แหละ
and that's
ผมก็จะหลับแล้วเนี่ย
moves them up into a more safe position.
Well, we are actually going to be hopping to a lot
เดี๋ยวจะเปลี่ยนไปสตรีมนอนละ
so that gives us a whole set of new players to talk about, one of which we heard from in our pre-show. If you missed it, make sure you don't miss tomorrow's pre-show because Camberley was talking to us and telling us a little bit how it is to play from the hub in Dallas. You know, it's the first time we have that for the America players, and it was really, really interesting to see. But of course, a lot of these players are in this lobby also fighting to not get eliminated.
If you're from Americas, you know Cambulia, especially if you try hard on the ladder. If you go, he's been doing amazing on ladder, has been doing amazing on tournaments locally, but now getting a chance here on the world stage and making it work. Playing good, playing confidence. Great to see. I'm so
อีกกี่
happy
เก
for
ม
him.
เล่นโคตร
He's a player that I
เล่น
think
พ
a
อ
lot of people can resemble. It's like a little Asian.
อีก
It's
4
like
เกมครับ
very methodic, very good with the play, and very humble. And that's very relatable, and I'm really happy that he's making it work so far. Let's see if he makes it for until tomorrow.
Yeah, Nekra asked him how he feels about his scaling performance. That's kind of how it's been. It's been a rise, a slow rise, and now at the Tactician's Crown, currently sitting in 3rd place before last game. He's sitting in a very good position for top 8, but also there's other players that we talked about in our pre-show that are in this lobby as well. Grenade and Bomendeth both having great first-time performances, and they're looking to make their first-time final lobby appearance as well.
Well, we also have some people in this lobby that are the opposite of that. They know how it works here at the Tactician's Crown, and yet they find themselves in a position that is maybe a little bit uncomfortable. I'm talking about Volta and YBY1. Both of these players have been here before. They have gone far in this tournament. And yet, they will need to find those first places to maybe make it back. Great news for people who are fans of Volta. This is a player that has very often shown that he can get those first places worked out in the very capped boards, but we'll need to see how it is at the end. Here are our standings after the game that just concluded, game number 9.
Is Hanshin going to get the miracle run?
นี่คือคนที่ต้องได้คะแนนพลิกกลับมาไม่งั้นจะตกรอบนะ
Pretty crazy, even on an 8th place.
แต่คะแนนก็เบียดกันนะ
Summers also now the ones that are closer right now, Bomb and Death taking a not a great also position, but still with good possibilities. And the first place for YB
เบียดมากครับสูสีครับ
will be on the next lobby, making it work. The favorite, if you must, here for APAC.
Yeah, I do want to correct myself. My bad. The green ones are the ones that have made it in. So sorry, Hanshin. It's not the case.
Yeah, currently looking at our top 8 now. America's at the top with a lot of our favorites. Can't believe who we'll see now, but Setsuko, Weijin, and Dishsoap, the big 3 from North America, specifically that we all watch and learn from, sitting towards the
อเมริกาเหลือ 5 คนปะเกาะกลุ่มกันอยู่ครับ
Solo Hesan making it work. So happy for him once again. This is the first set that he's a content creator. Obviously, we know him so much, but he has tried hard so much this set, even taking time off from other things. This is a guy that is so wholesome in his preparation and discipline and making it work right now with a fix.
Yeah, just to give you a little bit of a context on Zulukazang as a player, he is somebody that doesn't skip his stream basically ever. He will stream sick, he will stream when he's on holiday, he will stream every single day. And this is the first time since I've known him, which is around about a decade now, that he has taken time off from streaming to focus on competitive, which I think is showing very, very well in their standings thus far.
And I want to highlight another EMEA player who's absolutely popping off here on day 2. First, second for Klikornen, moving himself into a spot to even take one of those top 4 spots to lock himself into that final lobby early.
And it's so interesting because in terms of how they play, Klikornen and Solo are rather similar. They find their lines early on, they kind of know their spots and then just
คนเข้ารอบแข่งกันเหนื่อยเลยวันนี้ใช่ครับ
too dizzy. Some players play more open, but
เหมือนคะแนนมันแน่นมากเลยครับทำให้ เหมือนกับ มันก็ยิ่งตึงอะครับถ้าพลาดก็คืออาจจะตกรอบได้เลยนะ
but in scrims he's been smurfing and the other players put respect on that in the draft as well, and now he's showing us why that is the case.
I definitely feel baited by Makes and Makes and Panda here that put Klikornen a little bit lower on the tier list for EMEA. For me, I also have to confess that I did not have Grenade very high up as well. He is currently still sitting in the top 16. First trial here in the TAC Crown. VN always does give us some new players. It was Asta in the previous set. It was Wenbu and then Grenade just popping off again and again as one of the regions that's even larger than EMEA. It's a good showing for them.
Honestly, I love that. It sounds a little bit ridiculous, maybe. I don't love being wrong, but I love that there's players that are surprising us, that are surpassing their expectations, that are overcoming the labels that maybe people put on them. And we're seeing a lot of that, I feel, especially this TAC Crown.
And one of those players is Xiaoju, who people didn't have high expectations from the JOC, the mobile version of TOC, the 4th seed coming out of that. So not great tournament results, not much known about him, but sitting at the top of our standings, did have a rough last game, which brought him back down, only a 5-point lead over 2nd place, which sounds ridiculous to say. That's still a lot. But a lot of these unsung heroes, a lot of these first-timers really showing up on the Tactician's Crown stage, and it's really fun to see.
Yeah, you were talking a little about line selection, and it's amazing to see the way it has been developed, because normally we have seen, obviously, the Winso Slam, the loose trick into Cypher, but now we're seeing Poppy more, the Morgana in the early game going into Dynamo, those AP lines with maybe a Veigar in the mid game just trying to pop off. So meta has been developing in a very smooth place. Normally what you didn't see in rank, so it's good to see because the tournament meta is actually transferring now to
ผม
rank.
อยากรู้ว่ามันจะมีสปอยใช้15มาอีกไหมในวันนี้
Performing ranks, if you're there very close to getting to master, just make sure you especially look at the early game. What are the line selections? What is that flow chart, if you will, to get to that place and maybe get a good placement and some ranks.
Do what EMEA does. I think this is something that was really well done by the
Can someone
region,
clip that?
Is that they actually you have tears in your eyes right now. Oh, come on.
I'm touched. Listen, what can
you
I
haven't
say?
won a TAC round yet, okay? So just chill out there, okay? It's been drought. But going back to my point, I just want to say that I felt like they were the region that played the most one-cost reroll, especially from someone like Volman Death. We saw the Silas Wolf Unchained. We saw Lakoko playing a lot of the Fiddlesticks. And it really is an unexplored type of line that I think more players can try to go for.
We were impressed also with Bane. You mentioned it. We expected to see some Slayer, especially maybe Senna plus the Jarvan, but we've seen Bane. Working sometimes, not working very much. Also, Gorilla has been also up there, at least in the pick rate. Not with the best result because you need so many resources, and obviously that's not happening. And once again, encounter, or if there's a good prismatic in the beginning, that's the moment you want to see maybe economy into the Urgot. But we have seen. One example was here, Tech Summers not getting additional economy, so that wasn't enough for the Urgot to perform. So you really need to recognize the spot you are and what you actually can achieve with it.
Yeah, and I want to talk about a little bit more about some of the favorites from the Americas specifically that are sitting in our top 8. The big 3 that we've defined for a really long time, Setsuko, Wasian Iverson, and Dissoap. Dissoap obviously having 2 Tactician's Crown, being one of only 2 people to have that, kind of the GOAT status. But the other 2 in that group are without a crown. Wasian has been here 5 out of the last 7 times, and Setsuko is someone that we always expected to have a chance to win. And now both of them are also setting themselves up alongside Dissoap to possibly have a chance at the crown.
Yeah, I love that. I was talking a lot to the Americas players. Every single time Wasian was here and just kind of hear how he feels about the tournament. He has his mom and Della supporting him from the friends and family room, which is just so amazing, so wholesome to know. And I just think this is such a deserving player, really. If I think of who would people the most happy for if they won, I think Wasian for sure makes that category. So it would be really great if this is finally the time, the 5th time, where he's able to reach the crown.
Honestly, he would be the least surprising winner of this TAC round for sure. I subscribe to his channel just for his VODs, and I looked through it. There's a lot of different positionings that he pulls off. He's very meticulous. He's very calm. I think he gives a Zen-like aura to exactly be what a TFT player in our imagination should be like. And talking about positioning, we heard earlier in the day from CLE about that Graves positioning where he was able to pull everything into the back line, kind of shift the enemy tank to the front and get them out of the way of the Graves as well. I think that is one of his strong spots. And the interesting thing is Solo also identified that as one of his strong spots, is just in the moment positioning.
You were talking about how Wasian is very meticulous, calm, collected. Bringing it back to our America players in the top 8, there's somebody that I think people don't usually describe at that, and even more so, a lot of people, I feel like, don't give Setsuko the credit he really deserves. He's a player that very consistently has been at the top, but of course, as a content creator, he is every now and then a bit memey here and there, does some stuff, but hands down, he is a player that has been doing incredibly well. But let's number 3. This is the lobby that we are going to be hopping on board with for the next round. Round number 10. After that, elimination station is waiting. We're going to be getting a pot of gold as we dance around with Alistair.
And it's a very interesting lobby. The 4th member of that top 4 for Americas Sitting at the top here, Kambuli, someone we want to keep our eye on to see if they continue this great run at their first time at the Tactician's Crown. Going to be a very, very important matchup for all of our players.
Okay, so we have orbs to start. 3 costs here. So Brown and Jarvan, obviously we're trying to find here Gallios. We're trying to find
มาแล้วจังหวะอีกรอบ
Cypher angle in the start. Here with Kambuli.
ยาวๆครับวันนี้
Start also with the Vanguards.
ดอกมาเป็นคู่หูแวนการ์ด
Good possibilities here.
And one thing we need to call out with this lobby is
Jawan
there's
กับ
cut after
Bram
this
ครับ
game. Bottom 8 players will get cut, and so we're playing with high stakes in this lobby, and our players know where they're at. Lires, specifically, I want to call out, being at 4 points below the cutoff, needs to play for a first. So this will change his game plan completely in this lobby.
Has to hope for some great augments. That's usually the case in this meta. If you're not seeing the trade tracker, not seeing the forward thinking, then you probably have to hit the Cypher. And a lot of players will be willing to just stay
อุ้ยเราบองสองเลยเหรอ
if they have points. It's going to be a little bit harder with this start from
เราบอง
Volta.
สองแบบนี้ต้องวินสตีกนะ
Did you guys see the Yaoi tweet about Volta? It was in French, so maybe not, but they have like this like a group of players that are there just
อาจ
to
จะไม่ได้
support
เป็น
the French players.
ไซเฟอร์
Obviously,
รูส
there's
ตี
a
เท่าไหร่
lot
นะ
of,
ถ้าเป็นเลอบองสองดาวมาตั้งแต่แรก
within
แบบ
the
นี้
Pan region, and
ถ้าเกิดเขาคิดจะเล่น
Yaoi took a picture where Volta was just standing
LeBlanc Lilo
next to the group of French players that are all just kind of prep partners. Volta preps alone, and he titled the entire picture saying like, "Oh, the boar in its natural habitat, but we are going to be getting prismatics." And you know who excels at playing to strong caps? It is
มาเป็น
Volta.
อักเมน
So
ลุง
I'm
ครับ
very
อักเมนแรก
curious what we're going to be going for in the bottom there for him.
Upward mobility and hedge fund here for Experian. Good possibilities here. We know that's the angle to play the Urgot line. So maybe some people playing tempo. Wandering trainer there for Lires. Also great.
Going long for Vomandeth is the choice as well, so getting a lot of gold here, but gonna change the way that he
ล็อบ
levels
บี้นี้
up.
เห็น
Yeah, prismatic
Zenbai.
ticket for Lires.
มียุโรป4 คนเลยนะ
Zenbai waiting a long time to make his augment choice.
I always like players that take their time, want to check out the lobby template before you commit early.
And he did hard commit.
Ooh,
ใครมันจัดล็อบบี้วะเนี่ย
nice one, nice one.
Prediction.
ยุโรปอยู่ด้วยกันหมดเลย
Good teamwork, good teamwork.
It has to be Morgana reroll because he gets obviously here the bench item, Pandora's items, and now he will try to force simply reroll Bastion into Morgana.
This is going to be so cool from Lyris. He's going to go Prismatic Ticket. Usually means a Cypher reroll angle, but it also could be something even crazier if he goes level 8 and tries to hit a 3-star 4 cost in one turn. If you're going for that first or nothing type of game style, you have to keep that in mind.
อู้ก็ยิงลองค
One
รับ
person to keep our eye out on is Kambuli, playing around level up. So we'll be
มีเวกโผล่
shooting
เข้า
for
มาใน
that
ช็อป
level 9 as quick as possible, playing around that Urgot, I would assume, has an AD item slammed. But for Vomandeth, Blink going long, knowing that this interest isn't going to work the same way it usually does, leveling to 5 already.
Yeah, full tempo for him, getting already the IE on the vein. So just trying to preserve as much SP and just trying to pressure
ตร
the
งนี้
lobby
ครับ
as
แคม
much
บู
as
เล่
possible.
เล่น
Have a
เลเวล
Shaco
อัพครับ
With the level up, obviously, he will try
เล่น
to
เลเวล
just
อัพ
force
แบบ
this Shaco into a
เท
tempo
มโป
line
ครับ
and just
มี
trying to
ชา
get
โค
some access
ใส่
to the
เอ
back
ดอฟ
line
ไน
here.
ท์
Shouldn't be enough. Trying to wrap here the Shaco, going out some against Volta.
สปอตนี้ผมว่า
Cypher angle here. Getting a LeBlanc too early.
เล่น
Also some
เซตได้อยู่นะ
possibilities of
เซต
re-rolling there. Kambuli also holding the LeBlanc with some
แต่ใน
chances
ทัวร์นี้
there
ยังไม่เห็น
for
ใครเล่นเลย
re-roll
ครับ
also, or trying just to play a little Cypher.
Yeah, and we do have to talk about the point situation. For someone like Kambuli, who's at 50 points, he's not really in any danger. Marksman Vanguard is open to him, and that's actually been the most common item that Edge of Night ends up into, is that Marksman line for the back.
Something I want to
อักเมน
point
อย่าง
out
เลเวลอัพ
as,
นี่
that
ผม
round
ว่ามัน
started is that we saw
ดูด
two players immediately
อีคอนอยู่
jump
นะแบบ
up
ว่า
in their streaks. That
เงิน
tells
มัน
me that someone
มันใช้เงิน
is open
อยู่นะ
forwarding right now, and it is going to be Lires who is trying to guarantee
ต้องทำเงิน
that
ดีๆหน่อย
loss
ครับ
streak. So something to keep in mind. Right now is still 1 point in the HP totals above Volta, but Volta could potentially opt into selling. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case for what he wants to do, but we'll check out how the fight is going to go between Experian and YBY1. Both players that are trying to maybe get a streak going. Experian is on 2 wins thus far. If he can keep it going, that'd be really nice.
Experian did take expected unexpectedness, so this Zaya didn't just come from the shop. because there's 0% odds for that, but instead was able to get those 2 forecasts.
YBY. Yes.
YBY, yes.
Getting the Saya, but in a difficult spot, right? Because he's playing around bastions, having the Saya in the back, just trying to tempo it out a little, and then just trying to find maybe an additional angle just to keep the tempo up. Maybe maintaining the Saya into marksman bangers, but let's see how he performs in the rest.
No Cypher units on this carousel, a very uncomfortable spot for Volta. He's not going to be able to get away from that lose streak if he runs into Lyris, especially with that LeBlanc too.
That's right. We'll see if that comes together. In the previous round, we did see some crazy loss streaks happening for some of our players. Very rare that happens, so I'm also curious whether or not Volta decides to go any stronger, but here is our pot of gold, and it is going to be cashed out.
Never have I seen that they decide to delay in professional esport of TFT. We, once again, don't see it.
I always hold my breath for it.
คุณสู้กับตาเดียวไปในขอบหาคอมเมนต์
Everybody wants to be in control of their own destiny, so taking the gold now. Senbai, though, did take hard commit, which is a very interesting augment because it gives you the emblem early, but also provides units as the game goes on. And I'm very curious with this one because when you level up, it gives it relative to your stage, but there's no forecast. It's in Divinicore.
There is Vex that's in Divinicore, and I think the important thing for it is that Renekton, you don't have to go searching for that. That's the most important piece of the Divinicore vertical comp. If you don't find the Renekton, it can often fall flat on its face.
Listen, Scaly, I don't blame you. For the longest time, Vex was absolutely negligent, and since usually in the Divinicore we see Zed as the main character.
Yeah, because I was thinking, I was like, oh, you don't get Zed. That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But I forgot that Zed's even, you
บู
know.
บัฟครับ
It's fair, it's fair. She's
ฝั่ง
not the
level
main
up ทำ
character
บูม
of
บัฟ
that comp.
Definitely
กับ
not. But Renekton can be, so that's what
เอ็ดออฟ
that's
ไน
why
ท์
it's going to be good.
มีสิทธิ์เป็น
Getting that on
บอร์ด
stage
เซตสูงมากเลยนะ
Renekton can be, but who
เซตที่ไม่ได้ขอ
can
แบบ
is Cambuli taking the loss
ที่
here.
Fast 9 ไปเล่นนะครับ
Bad result right now, and now Bomendeth, the only one with the possibility of maintaining win streak and obviously pressing the lobby both in tempo and in gold coming up into the next round. Still maintaining the Bane. Good front line here.
ฝนเวล 6 เลยครับ
the
going
Vex,
long
the unnameable Vex right here.
แต่สังเกตดูนะ
I mean, this is
แส
not
ด
the
ง IE
best board
ชิ้นเดียวครับ
I've
ตอน
seen
นี้
in the world, but he's already level 6, trying to just for using the augment in his favor. So let's see if it's enough. Ooh, very strong on the other side, Volta, getting good front line, and finally getting good items also onto the
Vex
LeBlanc.
pair ครับ
Not sure if it's enough.
I do like this from Volta. He was also kind of looking towards that loss streak, looking to contest less on it. Says, okay, I have buried treasures and might as well try to start to win streak. Slams those items and says, okay, I'm just going to hold on to my unit. Unfortunately, is going to be caught between the win and the loss streakers, so his econ definitely not in the greatest position, but I do like that he didn't pressure down onto the loss streak there because he needs a win to really not get eliminated. It's going to be important for him to play this one smart.
It's really cool that he preserves the chance for a very, very quick Cypher cash out. We've seen people like Summertimer get a 1-round cash out and then immediately roll down fast, but he is contesting Lyres, who does have this prismatic ticket. This is the thing that is going to be the most dangerous, and I wonder if Volta wants to pivot away. He still has options.
Oh, for sure.
But the thing is, with those items, it's really hard to pivot into marksman because that's not going to get you
โอ้
out
ได้
of
กันเลย โอ้
elimination. So really
เขา
interesting
อยาก
to
เปิด
see
ไซเฟอร์
how
นะ
Volta pivots.
Leader S finally finding Cypher, able to get that Galio from that orb drop there. We'll start stacking that. YBY1, just a bunch of gold.
YBY1 ถอยเต่ามาได้เงิน
Okay. That was expected there, a little gold. And now Lyris just getting the Cypher in, trying to find also the Draven to get the 4. Clement, you were giving some stats. We won 4. Let me see if I get it. We got 4 Cypher until 3-2, so we have a possibility to get the 250.
Yeah, you get 250 if you
Got
get
it, man.
a couple more. if you
Prismatic
get 5
นะ
more.
Prismatic
That's the,
Ticket นะ
I'll write it down.
I stole that for Juan Mian because he was casting earlier.
I'm looking at Lyris's cam and seeing the land in Warsaw and just seeing people chilling behind him is kind of funny. They're just laying down there, relaxing, having a good time.
Can you imagine playing the most important tournament of your life and you turn around and there's just a bunch of people chilling? Honestly, I feel like that might be nice for your mental because it's just like there's aura of chill
Yeah,
around
makes
you.
you feel at home.
Yeah.
Just hanging out.
Hopefully, yeah.
ชิวจัด
38 here on Intel. Kambuli making still a good run. Not with win streak,
Ooh,
but second
dummy.
in HP. Still using the Chaiko.
แต่เล่นรีโหลด
You
สิ
know he's trying to go level 9 and just trying to play an additional cap board here.
Volta took rolling for days and is rolling right now and now has 6 copies of LeBlanc. He's trying to hit it before his
the rest
opposition.
can, yeah. Both of these players
คอนเทกันนะครับ
kinda
เลอบองตอนนี้
looking for the out here. We of course know that Res is the player that has prismatic tickets, so I am very surprised by this. You were talking about how with those items it's going to be tough for Volta to Clement, but he is notably a player that hates playing contested lines. So I am seeing a whole new Volta.
It feels like the French players are trying to pull the chair out from each other again and again. Open fort from Lyra and a very fast roll down from Volta. Let's see how much he actually hits on this board right here. So he does look like he's going to be focused on the LeBlanc items. I really like that because if you're playing for Draven, you're not going to hit 3-star. So focusing on the 2 costs with the ability to 3-star and trying to find a win out from there is the correct play.
He used all of his rolls.
เลอบองอีก3ตัว
Found a few more LeBlancs. He's got 6 of them, but didn't find Draven 2, didn't find Galio 2, and instead has his tank items on a Shyvana 2 in the front line.
Yeah.
And losing fights.
Terrible. Didn't even find a pair, as you mentioned. Not even pair of Galio and Draven. And yeah, very far right here. And now with the HP he has, he will need to keep rolling. So he will have to donkey roll, maybe spend a few rounds, but
Get
he's
outเลยตรงนี้
in a very bad position right now. RNG not in his favor.
He just sold that second Jarvan 2, gets one from the orb that would have been at least a Jarvan 2, which would have stabilized your front line, even if it's not the unit you are necessarily looking for.
ยังวินสตีกเลือดร้อยอยู่ครับ
Volta
โกยิ่งลอง
looking like he's in a great spot here. However,
เก็บตัวเอ็กโซเทคไว้ครับกับตัวแบงการ์ดครับ
all throughout this tournament thus far, we're checking in with Lamendeth here, is still on 100 HP. Do not let Grenade and Experian fool you. Both of these took Titanic Titan, so those are fake placements at the top there.
While playing going long, though, this win streak is your way of getting income. Being on this 7 streak and having a strong spot is incredibly important if you want to play this augment correctly.
Yes.
Being item grab bag, though, does add an extra item and some extra power to this board.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do, as you just mentioned, because then you will not have the power to upgrade your units as quickly as you must. So this is the moment where he needs to keep the pressure on. Just make sure lower the HP of the rest. Maybe anyone with Cypher, anyone trying to pop off like Volta, just trying to pressure right now. And then slowly you will get the upgrades you need.
There's a Zed.
Huge 4 costs. All 3 4 costs are viable.
มีเซตอยู่บน
Volmendeth could take
Carousel
that,
up.
Leona and keep the option for
Volta.
Marksman open. On the other end, we do have the Zed for Lares, giving him 5 Cypher as well.
It does go to Volta. Volta will have 5
Experience.
Cypher. Yeah.
Experience is just racing there, trying to get the Elise. In the end, he managed to get it. So pretty slow Jhin right now.
Listen, he may be slow, but in the end, he's going to find his target, hopefully.
I would love to check in with Grenade at the top of our lobby. Looks like he's playing around TF reroll, getting that Syndicate +1 with Tactician's Kitchen.
ฮอดให้กับเซตเลยนะครับ
TF on his board at all.
ส่วนพี่กระเนตตรงนี้
Yep. That's exactly what's happening.
ทำไอเทมมา
That's TF. That's right items.
TF pink.
มีตรามีตราเหมือนจะเล่น TF นะครับ
Doing Bane cosplay right now. Having a chance here just to perform Grenade. Very bad results. And this is terrible because you don't have a secondary carry normally until you make the Elise. And in this position, you just cannot think about a TF reroll. So you just have to maybe tempo out of this, find one, and then just try to pop up with Misfortune.
I think with Tactician's Kitchen, where he's already has an emblem, he kind of has to commit to TF. He just hasn't rolled quite yet. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can actually find them. He's definitely very far behind Tempo.
And he's got good items, right? This is a pretty good spot to be in.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 very core items on Twisted Fate, but we have 0 copies. It is very, very concerning at 3-5. But we have HP to work with. I imagine that's why he
TF
took Augment.
Natural.
Goodbye, Vayne.
Natural.
Twisted Fate is my new best friend. And I was going to say, it's really strange that he wasn't able to find one before. Another one showing up here right now because we have Lires and Volta both looking for those 2 costs, taking them out of the pool. So Twisted Fate really making himself
เห็นคนเล่น TF เยอะอยู่นะ
on the side of Grenade. But maybe that 3rd one will show up soon as well, and that should be helping in stabilizing destabilizing the board.
That's a great thing about Tempo. He still has 94 HP, and he knows that the Cypher players are taking all the 2 costs, so he can actually afford to wait and not roll on 3-2.
Bomb and Death going against Volta here, trying to have a chance. Volta still hasn't
โบต้าครับขึ้นเวล8มาสายะ2ดาวแล้วฮะ
strong finding the Saya too. Saya with good burst damage with the feathers. Access to
เลือด
the
ลอย
backline.
ครับมิสเตอร์
And
ล
once
อย
again,
ครับ
win, maintaining the win streak. He just goes up, goes down again, and he knows he's in a good spot. Bomb and Death doing it once again. Remember, he's like in the bubble, 9th, 10th now in standings, and he knows. He's just scrapping his hands, and he knows he's in a good spot.
And it's very interesting because having a Xayah 2 on 3-6 is not normal. And going long really opens up these options. He's level 8 already. And so we'll see seeing some big roll downs here. Lires contesting fully Volta.
Yeah,
It's such a bad situation for both. If we
Yeah.
saw Zunbai's board, he knows there's 2 Cypher players.
ต่าง
He's
คน
actually
ต่าง
just
ตัวไม่
holding
มาเลย
all the
ฮะ
units. He's like, oh, I'll take 2 LeBlancs here. I'll pick up 2 Dravens and watch the French players duke it out.
And both of the French players are kind of preying on each other's downfall because if one gets eliminated, that frees up the units once more. You get a chance to maybe make that comp come alive if the other person just dies quickly enough.
And they're both in the same room,
Yes.
which makes it even more awkward. It's a whole new layer.
You have to
of
look them
สอง
in the
คน
eye
มัน
right after the game.
just on the other side of
สอง
this
คือ
thing,
คือ
they're contesting
นั่ง
one
เล่นอยู่ด้วยกัน
another.
เนี่ยคอนเทนต์ก็อยู่
No
เนี่ย
one has stood up yet, but
Wow. Full roll down on both sides. Not many units being hit.
Cheers.
3 finally here for
เพื่อนรักครับ
Volta.
เพื่อนรักครับอย่างโหด
And now Lires knows it will be
Oh.
very difficult to find. Finds the set too.
เล่นคู่ชิวาน่านะ
Volta gets the LeBlanc 3, yes, huge, but Lires gets a Renekton and that Z2. So big upgrades being found on both sides, not necessarily all of them that players were looking for, but it might just be enough to stabilize to make other players a little bit uncomfortable, like Grenade, who also seems to have rolled looking at the gold here.
Yeah, Lires already with 6 Gallios and 3 items from Gallios. That's the priority. Obviously, he wants to find the Draven also with that.
เหลือบล็อก3แล้วไหวไหมครับ
Than the LeBlanc because he's already committed. So Draven will be most important, and obviously the Gallio, and that
ไหวอยู่ครับตรงนี้
enough for both of them to stabilize. But obviously, a little concern here for both.
The biggest killer here is definitely going to be Cambule's board because he picked level up and is heading straight for Boombots. If he is able to hit on level 9, he's already there right now.
Rolling.
Then the 2 Cypher players could be facing very tough elimination.
Finds a sack, finds the Urgot. There's another Urgot. Good spot for him. But
สายบนครับแคมบูรี่ครับ ขึ้นเวล9มาโลหะก่อนครับก่อนแพ้ครับตอนนี้
And no goal.
เงินหมดแล้วครับ
Oh, I mean legendary units.
Okay.
there's a lot of gold units in this shop, but not a lot of gold left on this bench. We have all 1 stars across the board, but we do have the core of this composition.
Yep.
This might just be the poorest lobby I've ever seen on 4-2. If you're looking at the gold totals of these players,
เหมือนจะจนไปหน่อยนะ
one player in YBY1 who was able to maintain 50 and 2 who are right around that 20 marker in terms of gold. Everyone has invested everything, and if you haven't peaked now, oh, you're gonna be in trouble.
Also, I like the way Kambuli itemizes. Normally, when you see the Urgot here, he has Kraken, he has Wind, so those are not the best items here for the Urgot. Deathblade, you want to burst. You want burst damage and just get additional damage so that the Boom Bot with the additional rockets gets you some damage. So Blue Bot, just to make him still be in the ability mode as much as that, and then full burst.
Not enough to beat our Wind Streaker, but did look pretty promising in that fight. But he has to turn it around.
ผมว่า going long น่าจะเป็นอาร์กเมนที่ดีเลยนะ ของแพทเนี่ย
If you look at this board,
เพราะว่า
obviously the
แพทนี้จริงๆแล้ววินสติแบบดีอยู่นะ เล่นคอมที่แบบคอมอย่างเซอร์ลีหรือว่าคอมอย่างมาร์คแมนแวนการ์ดเนี่ย
Get it early, the mods help a ton.
Okay, playing around Cyber Boss 2 to give that 2-star upgrade he now has a little bit more power, moving the items over to really make him a pretty big danger in this fight. Not only to be a good tank, but do some damage.
Normally we
ตรง
see
นี้ถ้าได้กอด2มาน่าจะรอดได้อยู่ครับ
he
เคมบูรี่
didn't find it, but finding this Sokobuko is just as amazing. And now you have some good stabilization. Only Urgot
มันเจอกับ Xperia นะครับ มี
if he loses, it would be
มิส
for
ฟอร์จูน 2 ดาว แต่ไม่มีไอเทมตรงนี้แต่แอบถือก่อนไว้อยู่ 1 ตัวโยนลงมาจากออโรราครับ
plain Dynamo.
แต่ว่า
Not in the best
โคบุโกะมันแทงเข้าไปแบบอย่างเดือด แต่ก่อนตายโดนสกิลไหลมาด้านหลัง
Oh, he went to the wrong direction.
โอ้โหก่อนมันชอบเดินไปด้านหน้าครับมันชอบเดินมารับ
Got a little bit loss.
กระสุน
Maybe he was
นิด
looking
ๆหน่อย
for
ๆครับ
another T spot.
It was just an econ loss, okay? He just needs more gold. He knows he needs to continue his loss streak. There's a Zach 2
Right.
on carousel for him right now.
Right. Can Boombot players actually stabilize? That seems to be the name of the game so
เชม
far.
บุรี
in
หยิบเป็น
the past previous few
แตก
rounds.
ครับ
With the front line, I hope so. We're gonna find out soon.
The one big problem for Camberley right now is he's contested. YBY1 has also pivoted onto that Boobot Urgot line, has that Garen, but no major upgrades as well.
Yeah, so we were expecting something different from YBY, but he has expected the unexpected, so puts Boombots into us. We didn't saw that coming, and now Camberley will
Stack two
have a
up.
spot. Both of them rolling to zero here, finds an additional stack. He already has a 2-star.
โชว์แกครับ
Frontline assemble, just trying to find that Urgot.
YBY1 is going as well, and we're going to be hopping over right now to see
YBY1 ขึ้น
where
ก้าวมาเหมือนกันนะครับ
with his Boombot
แต่ฮิตกาเลนนะ ผมว่าฮิตกาเลนนี่
for the upgrades does
ถือ
have
ว่า
to-
สไปได้อยู่นะ
He doesn't have Urgot 2, so
แต่บอร์ดยังเหมือนยังประกอบร่างกันไม่สมบูรณ์เท่าไหร่ครับ
Frontline is not going to be doing all too much
If
in
those
terms of
mods
damage.
are Boombot, he could one-shot the back line. Just watch as that sword goes flying out. Can he hit it in the right direction? It goes in the direction of the target, and did you see that damage?
I saw it. I'm just not convinced it's going to be enough.
นี่ครับ
Some of
พลัง
these
ของ
combos
กาเลนนะครับ
It will definitely hold through for now, but he is going to need to find that upgrade.
ทำให้รอดมาได้ครับ
How low some of his units are.
That Aurora nearly clutched out that fight.
Yep.
It was so incredibly close. The Urgot execution does come through, though. Camberley, did he just lose again? It's
Yep.
econ loss. It's fine. It's fine. An econ loss. Went out angle.
Is that just what you tell yourself
This
when
is
you
copium
play
for
as well,
sure.
Jack?
Copium, yeah.
ถ้า
yeah,
เคมบุรีตายนี่ YBY1 อาจจะฮิตได้แบบสปอร์ต
Oh, man.
เวอร์อยู่นะ
7 HP. Mires just barely above them.
โอ้โหแล้วขาดตรงนี้นะครับ
Cho'Gath in a chop. Can you actually sell something off here?
No.
I guess Zix
Yeah, then you're playing
for Veigar
8 out of 9.
is not enough. He doesn't have enough money.
It's a tough spot. Just going to need a good matchup here.
Yeah, no more econ losses, okay?
Yeah, we can't anymore.
That's
So,
right.
That's all we got.
Especially because we don't have any
ชีวิต
econ
สุดท้ายครับ
either. Nothing that's econing. But he goes up against the Senpai.
อู้กดมาเจอบอร์ดเดเวเนคอบครับแต่ว่าเป็นการเลนนะครับไม่ใช่เซตนะเป็นการเลนอยู่ครับตอนนี้
Hard commit, not needing to deal with too much of what players have been doing thus far. Urgot elimination 1 comes in the front line, finds Senbai's backline here as well, and it is going to be enough for Camberley for now. He does
รอดอยู่ครับ
He does got that Cho'Gath as well, and able to shop
การเลนการแรงครับ
another chance
ถูกต้องครับ
to find that last
แต่ว่าพี่คนนี้เนี่ยเล่นเดเวเนคอบการเลนผมว่าไม่น่าถูกต้องเท่าไหร่ครับเพราะว่า ทางล็อบบี้ตอนนี้เล่นการเลนหมดเลยครับ
My bias is showing though, but
ถ้าเขาไม่ยอมเปลี่ยนนี่อาจจะตายได้นะบอร์ดพี่เมื่อกี้
He was a little bit nervous coming into today, but he's playing highly risk composition and playing it
อันนี้
well.
คือจะประกอบเอ็กโซเดียได้อยู่แล้วนะขาดแค่กอด2นะครับตอนนี้
I think his
กับการเลน
strategy is to aim for that top 4. He wants to go straight to finals after game 12, and that's why he's taking this rather high risk line.
แต่เลือดน้อยอย่างงี้ก็มี
And
สิท
also
ธิ์ตายได้อยู่
interesting
เหมือนกัน
that
นะ
he found the Kobuko, he
Uy!
realized that
Oh.
Fiber Boss is more important
goodness.
here.
Oh
Now-
my.
Artifacts.
ต้องภาวนาให้ได้อาร์ติแฟกต์ดีๆครับเพราะว่าตัวละครฮิตแล้วถ้าเกิดได้ไอเทมมาเสริมก็ถือว่า
No
Has
popping.
สไปได้เหมือนกันครับ
Wasn't close enough already. Upgrades for Camberley could play
ผม
into
ว่า
Six two. Hasn't
โอ้
touched
ซิก
the
ทู
anvils yet. Still needs to do that.
ตอนนี้เขายังเล่นกอด
Rolling
2อยู่ครับตอนนี้
order of actions intact, but you'll
ไอเทมตอนนี้ผมว่าอันเอนดิ้งอ่ะอันเอนดิ้งได้อยู่ครับ
You'll need to look into these anvils to try
เปิดมาไม่เจอครับตอนนี้
as we go.
One off Draven
เป็น
lyrics
Animation
does not
Rocket
find
ครับ
the
หรือว่า
villain.
Talisman ก็ได้นะ
That
ของ
might be
แพงครับ
life on the line, facing
โอ้แต่เก็บเป็นของดาเมจให้กับโคบุ
Good
โกะครับ
matchup for Camberley as well.
Full utility now on the 6.
Camberley on the left.
หยิบเป็นของดาเมจหมดเลยครับเป็น
I think this fight should be well decided. That Twisted Fate has
เป็นถุงมือไฟครับใช้ซิกแบกไปก่อนนะตอนนี้ไอเทมซิก3ชิ้นนะครับผม
Fighting for
ถือว่าเป็น
survival as
การตัดสินใจที่ดีนะผมว่า
well. That ally is strong.
เอาซิกแบกไปก่อนนะครับ
If not, he's gonna need to clutch it out alone, and I don't know how the chances look for that. He's healing insanely well, but he doesn't have any damage to back it up, really.
Oh, there he goes. Galio sees the back.
Light Shield Crest Galio
Can
for the win.
he?
โอ้โหแล้วการเลนโอ้โหคาริโอครับคาริโอไล่ตบหมดทั้งบอร์ดครับ
Never mind.
I mean, you could see the frustration in his face because he rolled down, couldn't find the Draven 3, and now the fight just looked totally lost, but the Galio making it work in the end, access to the backline, getting the win.
He was just stretching.
ไม่
Nothing
เฮีย
else
ครับ
worked out, and then he hits Draven.
Calculated.
Okay, Kambuli still hasn't found the Urgot. Double Urgot, also a good possibility here. And now we know he has been rolling for additional blobs, so this sack should be around 20, even 30 even, and having good possibilities also to ramp up. Let's see if it's enough.
Double
Enough
Death
again,
Fire.
lightest. So
โอ้แล้ววนมาเจอบอดไซเฟอร์ที่การเล่นไม่ที่ดาวเว่นยังไม่
The double
3 ครับ
Death Fire grasp is exactly
ถือว่าสวยนะ มี
absolutely
พิสมาติก
annihilated.
ทิกเก็ตแต่ว่าไม่ฮิต เนี่ย
Down as soon as possible, and that will be the hope.
สวยนะ
But
พิสมา
can
ติก
it
ทิก
hold
เก็ต
true? Because he is still healing like crazy. We saw it in the previous fight, but he is
โอ้
taken
แต่เซต
down
เข้ามาล้วงครับ
on
เซต
the
เฟกเกอร์หรือเปล่า
fight.
ตัวนี้
Yes, and even though the previous
โอ้โห
fight
ยังได้อยู่ครับ ยังรอดอยู่นะ
this one, he's going to be hanging in there by a threat.
This Koboko is just walking around the board instead of going to the back line and actually helping with the fight, man.
Listen,
Give me a
let's
แล้ว
heart.
การเล่น2 มาจากไหนครับ มาได้ยังไงครับ
Surely we can
คนเล่นกันทั้งห้อง ฮัลโหล
I think it's Lore accurate.
แล้วโหดเลยดิอย่างงี้ การเล่น2 ครับ
They explain it was like he's a Yordle that just goes around the field and spreads joy, and he's like a nomad.
การเล่น
So
ดิ
I
วิ
think
นี
it's
ขอบครับผม
exactly Lore. There
มอง
could be
ภาพ
some
ไปที่
interesting
ไฮแคป
dynamic there
He
in
was
the
spreading
logic.
death and decay. I'm
Yeah, maybe.
Volta's adaptation of this board is fascinating. Playing around a Shyvana 3 in the front line is an excellent way, and I'm so surprised now facing up against his rival in this game.
โอ้เซตล้วง
Well, the
เรือบอง
true story is Volta could take another loss
แต่
here,
เซต
but the
เหมือนจะไม่มี
best
ดาเมจเท่าไหร่ครับ
exactly what we see from Volta playing to these outs, finding
ตรง
those
นี้ครับ
niche
โวต้า
ranges
มี
even when he is
เรียกได้ว่า
You know what? I actually don't
ไอเทม
even
ซัพพอร์ตที่ดีที่สุด
want Galio to be my
ใครปิงอะไรครับ
3-star tank. Instead, I like the Dragon better anyway, but this time around, it's not going to be enough. The headset does come off on the
ไม่
side
ไหว
of the
ครับ
field.
ดา
It
เม
is
จ
going
ไม่
to be
มีครับทางฝั่งของ
elimination
ที่
coming in here. Volta
ลี
between
ลิล
these
ลี่
two
อ่ะ
players
ลีเลส
is gonna win the matchup and the contention.
Oh, and double components here to help cap out the rest of our board's
โอ้ย
loss of resources and
ไอเทมเยอะๆแบบนี้นี่บอร์ดพี่แคมบูรี่นี่ยิ้มอยู่นะ เพราะว่าตอนนี้เหลือไอเทม
and Lires both needing that win out spot. Really
จ
needed
ริงๆอ่ะแจกไอเทมแบบเนี้ยพวกบอร์ดลิเจน
I
รี่แบบ
respect Lires for
ยิ้มเลย
the
นะ
attempt there playing around that cipher.
I think this is a huge boost for YBY1. He has multiple legendaries with open item slots so far. Can he find something good for them? Does have that unitemized Zac, so there are some tank items for him to pick up. Yep, and he's going to go for the utility in Sunfire.
Will be interesting to see what the rest of the units here are able to assemble. Set 2 here for Volta, finding additional defensive items here. Already have everything full, so the Nico will be the one. Normally, as you said, Silly, very creative here. Nico, normally we don't see her in any other comp. Now just making it work. 2 strategies.
He's not even playing.
This is such a meme.
So there's 4 players holding Urgot, and he doesn't even have an Urgot on his
อันนี้เขา
board.
พยายามจะ
He's
ทำ
just
4 บาท
gonna-
3 ดาว
He
นะ
was just holding them to slow
เพ
down
ราะว่า
the
ถือ
rest
ได้
of the
ครับ ไม่ต้อง
lobby, but then
ไม่ต้อง
he gets
ซี
the
เรียส
chance
เรื่อง
to actually make Urgot too.
I actually wonder if he's
Crazy.
going to lock this shop and just keep it in there for a long time because he has no rush. He wants to econ up and go for a 3-star 4 cost if he can.
Yeah, I think he's not going to lock because the only way he can win the lobby, which I think Bowman Death is also going to be aiming high, is for that 3-star that you were talking about. So, are you going to pick it up? I would pick it up. I honestly would pick it up.
Just for the
โอ้ย
BM,
สตรองนะ
I would, but these players are well, contained. They know how to play to their
แคมบูรี่
strengths. Unfortunately,
ระเบิดไปแล้วครับ
not gonna be enough
ส่วน
for
บาย
Grenade
BY1
and
ยังไม่ฮิตกอด
Boom
แต่ว่า
eliminated
เรียกได้ว่าการเล่นตัวนี้นี่ภาษีนี่
Finds Kobuko 2, finds Sack 2 here. YBY, we were talking about legendaries here.
ทุกคน
Decides not to
ทุก
do
คน
the
ถือ
Kobuko, he's just
ตัว
trying
4 บาท
to
ไว้ครับ ถือ
maintain
อเฟนิออนไว้
a little of the rest, and again, doesn't find the Urgot. Both of them trying to look like Kambuli, freeing 2 Urgots away. So a better chance here to hit.
We have to watch YBY's Garen. It is the most disgusting unit in this lobby right now. That's an Urgot mod with
ของทะเล
items
แพง
that
ภูขาดตลาด
off the prismatic orb.
แย่งกันหมดครับ
It's gonna destroy backlines.
Listen, we are going to get there. I'm sure we'll see it, but first we need
ทีม
to
ไฟเออร์
check
ก่อนครับ
the
ตอนนี้
combination between Volta and Experian. You can see the head shake already on Experian side, almost a forfeit in the emotional sense. That ult from the Misfortune is not going to be doing enough.
ตอนนี้ทุกคนไม่อยากให้ YBY1 ฮิตกอด2ครับ
Actually, no.
He's still alive.
He's
2 HP
alive.
left.
Headset comes back on.
Yep, back into the game, zoned back in.
Both Ness and him.
Currently, he's only 1 point above the cutoff, and so he really needs to not go 5th here, because that really puts him in the danger zone.
He gets another chance. PvE round, a breath of relief, maybe to calm the nerves. Any upgrades?
And this is just the power of mods. We had 2 Urgot players, but for YBY1, his first 2-star was the Garen. He's already sitting on 3 mods. The max you can have is 4. So it's just incredibly powerful to spread that Boombot around.
Yeah, on the contrast, Kambuli didn't find that Garen, just find the sack. It has some opportunities, but couldn't find also burst damage on the Urgot. So not enough scaling for him.
กด2ครับ YBY1
He took the loss in the end. Final rolldowns. Also the ambush here, additional supporting.
เรียกได้ว่าเป็นการปิดเกมนี้แล้วหรือเปล่าครับ เพราะว่าเลือดก็เยอะนะ YBY1 ตอนนี้ไอเทมก็แน่นๆครับแถมเถออัฟฟิลิออตไว้1ตัวอีกต่างหากครับเรียกได้ว่าทางฝั่งของพี่แวนการ์ดมาร์คแมนเนี่ยเลียวหน้า3ก็อาจจะไม่ไหวนะจะต้องมีมันต้องเป็นตัวดาเมจครับเลียวหน้า3มันไม่ไหวครับ
Oh, huge one here. Both these players at 1 life. Whoever wins this will have that top 4 placement.
So this is going to be done by, okay, we just swapped into the correct one
ครับ
versus
การเล่นเดวินเนคอบครับบวกกับมี
Experience kind of giving us a spoiler
เรนาตันนะครับเรนาตันฟรีมาจากฮาร์ดคอมมิตครับถึงกับยืนขึ้นเลยครับ
might also have been his chance
พี่ experience ถึงกับยืนขึ้นเลยครับผมจังหวะนี้
at the end of the game the bottom 4 do get eliminated and it does matter how the other lobbies play as well but he wasn't too high in the standings you mentioned it already CLE the same is true for Volta he's looking for the high finish for the cap out has eliminated the players
ขาดอัฟฟิลิออตตัวนึงครับ
testing him as well but YBY1 you know he's just cruising by his stack is already over 26
ยังเหลือ1ตัวครับอัฟฟิลิออตในช็อป
incredibly beefy
แต่จะตายแล้วหรือเปล่าครับ
Find the Aphelios 3-star doesn't get it one off and that was his chance to top pop off obviously he's still close but now everyone knows and they will start holding the Aphelios
มาเจอกับบอร์ดการเล่นที่ไม่ได้ขอครับ
YBY1's board with the Urgot 2 now on the other side every one of these legendaries is upgraded and the Garen walk
แล้วจระเข้ไหลมาตรงนี้จากด้านหลัง
Volta is in a bad spot here to possibly drop out we look at the left side to see who win that fight looks like our 1 HP player Zen
เรียกได้ว่าเถื่อนนะ
able to pull out a win as well
อุ้ยแต่เซตตรงนี้เก็บหมดบอร์ดครับเซตตรงนี้เก็บหมดบอร์ดครับอันนี้คือเฟกเกอร์ของจริงครับเซตตัวนี้
That's a Boombot mod I believe
อุ้ยแต่โดนตันแต่เซตหลุดเลือดกลับขึ้นมา
Oh my goodness
ผมบอกเลยบอร์ดผมบอกเลยเซตเนี่ย
Not a single muscle moved on Volta
เซตนั่นแหละตัวฆ่าก่อนเลยนะ
Okay
There's no way. That was the most insane fight. The 1v1, that was Faker. I'm pretty sure on both board. I thought he was at MSI. I'm confused.
yes
เจอบอร์ดก่อนนี่บอร์ดก่อนเจอบอร์ดไซเฟอร์นี่ต้องโพซิชันดีๆครับเพราะบอร์ดไซเฟอร์นี่ล้วงหลังได้ถึง3ตัวนะทั้งดาวเว่นทั้งเซตทั้งเลอบองยืนดีๆสกิลมาถึงแนวหลังได้อยู่นะให้อยู่ฝั่งเดียวกันนะครับตรงนี้YBY1ขออนุญาตก่อนยืนกลางเลยแล้วกันนะครับเพื่อไม่ให้โดนไหล
Divinicore versus Boombot and it looks like Divinicore is gonna win out there more focused
แต่ว่าจระเข้ก็ถึกเหลือเกินเข้ามาแล้วโดนการเล่นปาทีเดียวหายเลยครับผม
YBY and Shenbai should take the win here
นี่ครับพลังของดิวินีคอร์ครับแคปสูงกว่าครับดับเบิลคิวเลยครับนี่ครับพลังของการเล่นดิวินีคอร์2ดาวเวล8ครับเอาให้จะจัดเล่นกันทั้งห้อง
Number 10.
Listen, when I was invited
Master
to
class
commentate for the Tactician's crown, I knew it was going to be stressful. But like, I'm really stressed right now. It's so incredibly close. These tiebreakers are going to be incredibly important.
This game was crazy, I will say. There were so many baits and pranks and super close turnarounds and clutches. I don't think we had that many in a single game ever.
It was the 3 Fast 9 players going into this with a Divinicore and double Boombot players. In the end, Zumbai coming out on top. Again, I think Garen 2 hit very early on was kind of the key right there, and duo queuing
ไม่ต้องขึ้นเลเวล9แล้ว
Yeah, also I
ผมไม่ชัวร์ว่าเขาขึ้นเลเวล9ไหมแต่ว่าเขาอ่ะเขาเป็น hard commit ก็ไม่ป่ะเขาได้เลเวล8ใช่ไหมถ้าผมจำไม่ผิด
being contested getting rolling for days in the second augment just trying to pop off roll for value
ผมจำสับสนกับอีกคนหนึ่งที่เขาเล่นบอลเลเวลอัพแต่บอลเลเวลอัพคือเออกอดใช่ไหมที่ตายไป
And going into the weekend, we knew that prismatic starts were going to lead the games like this, where there's crazy econ, crazy playstyles, like going long and some of these other things. But this game came down to the battle of the Garens. Both of our top 2 played super strong Garen 2s. It was insane.
มันโหดขึ้นมาเยอะครับ
I love it. Can every game of TFT be like that? That was so fun.
I was really surprised that the Divinity Core legendaries actually won out because typically we rate the Boobot a little bit higher. And for Divinity Core legendaries, they usually try to use the Urgot as well. There was no Urgot in his pool. He was just using the Garen and did find the correct artifact to make it work out.
Yeah, also access to backline, making sure he was trying to go for weak side and
มันจะใช่ที่การเรียน2มา
the tank completely and making it work. So
การเรียนมันเป็นตัวละครที่ใส่ไอเทมอะไรก็เก่งนะ
Renekton too, that obviously with Divinity Core and all the buff was actually making a lot of work. So both making a chance to access the backline and great win now for Shendue.
Well, guys, there is a lot of excitement, and I get it. That was a crazy game. I love every second of it. However,
ออฟลุงดรอปมาได้ซิลเวอร์แมร์ก็ลั่นนะครับแต่จริงๆก็ใส่ได้หมดนะครับไอเทม
but that number is not going to persist. We're going to be going down to 16 players in any moment now.
ตอนนี้ถูกคัดออกไปแล้วครับ
The players that were not able
นี่ครับ
to make it.
Not enough for Bolt.
8 คนนี้ตกรอบครับเป็นแซกสเตปปี้หันชิงลิเลสเฉาอะไรเนี่ยเฉาฉีอ่ะเลสโคโค่เลสโคโค่ตกเหรอวอลทาเรียสโอ้พี่คนนี้ถ้าเขาแบบอันดับดีขึ้นแค่1สกอร์เขาก็รอดเลยนะ4-6 เกมเมื่อกี้น่าเสียดายเลยบ้าไงห้องฟาส9แบบบ้าเกิน
But also Steppy, who was in a good position coming into today, had a very rough day. Only bought 4s for him and going out in this bottom 8 here in the cut to 16.
The GOAT of Singapore will have to say goodbye to the stage, but I am happy for at least one record breaking. They finally were able to win a game at TAC Round. It's been a kind of a curse for the region.
ตรงนี้ครับดิสโซฟตกประมาณอันดับ14ครับโรบินครับอันดับ11ครับแกเนตอันดับ12ครับไบเบียวันอันดับ9ครับเขาพุ่งขึ้นมาครับเกมเมื่อกี้
Summer making it work, good second place here and managed to get an additional possibility. And remember, now we will have 2 additional games and they will have to transfer 4 going directly and 4 will have to just have an additional chance. And once again here, Solo Hesan making it work. The 3 big of America.
AQ1H ครับได้ที่1 2ตาติดครับขึ้นมาอันดับ1นะตรงนี้ส่วนพี่คิวคอนเนนนี่จัดไป1-1-2-1 4 เกมวันนี้ครับ8878ครับเวอร์นะ
games to go all the way up to 56 into the top 4 has a chance to just
บ้าเลยทีนี้
Listen, I think we need to find out what happened between round 3 and 4 yesterday because since then he hasn't taken a single bottom 4 placement. It's only been top 4 from there out and today, I mean, you see it. It's only been
เริ่มเห็นคนที่คะแนนขาดนะครับมีเนี่ยครับ AQ1S แล้วก็เฉียวจู่เมื่อกี้ครับแล้วก็มีพี่คิวคะแนนเมื่อกี้3 คนคะแนนเยอะมากครับ
At the top of the leaderboard now.
ได้ว่าขาครึ่งก้าวไปครึ่งหนึ่งนะครับสำหรับ Final Lobby
journey for AQ1H. You know, he was the top of the CN ladder for a while. That's how he kind of got noticed. Took a long hiatus before coming back into this one. And I just really like his style. He's been changing.
คำถามคือจะมีไหมเซต15เนี่ย
Normally he would go straight into it.
จะมีไหมครับวันนี้เซต15จะมีไหมครับ
Sells all of his nitros and goes for legendary cap instead. So I think he's a player that's coming back, but also learning so much. So it's going to be exciting to have him representing us.
It is going to be exciting, and there's more games on the horizon as well, so it will stay exciting here today. We're going to be going into a quick break, get some snacks, and then we'll be right back with the next couple of games. You're watching the
อ่านดีๆเชื่อนะแค่ละ2
Boom
เดี๋ยวมันจะเป็นเดี๋ยวมันจะแปลก
Oh my goodness. I mean, I can't even believe what I just saw. That was just electric.
ๆอุ้ยอะไรอ่ะ
Oh, hey, Sloan.
Hey, how's it going? You seem really excited by that.
Oh my goodness. I mean, just like the energy. That's the kind of stuff I want to play in my games.
Then I have just the thing for you.
What?
The chair. That's for you. Enjoy.
Thank you.
มายังครับ
I think he's gonna quite like this. Take it away, Milo.
Hey Tacticians, Milo here, reporting live from the KO Coliseum to give you the inside scoop on the next set. One of our new champions, Bram, is a 5-cost.
5 บาท
The LT Grey Tornado has him pick up an enemy and
ก็
spin
คือ
them
ปั่น
around,
แล้วก็โยน
punching enemies in the
โยน
process.
แล้วสตันด้วย
After 2 seconds, he flings them into a clump of enemies. Or, if they're low enough health, he'll fling them straight off the board.
อุ้ยโยนออกนอกบอร์ดเลยเหรอ
But that's not even the best part about his kit, actually. Well, appears I've shared too much. Back to our regular programming.
เอ้ากากเว้ยกากเว้ยดูทรงเหมือนไม่มาแล้วเลยเนี่ยมาแล้วตัวหนึ่ง มาแล้วตัวหนึ่งอุ้ยแต่โหดนะตัวเมื่อกี้บัมอ่ะโยนออกนอกแมปเลยนะครับนึกว่าซาวิก้า ระหว่างนี้ผมขอพักแป๊บหนึ่งนะครับขออนุญาตพักแป๊บหนึ่งปวดหลังครับปวดคอครับเดี๋ยวมาเด้อ
Welcome back, everybody, to day 2 of the Tactician's Crown for Cyber City. We have completed 4 games, have cut 16 of our competitors, and now we enter into our second to final phase of our competition for day number 2. My name is Nekra, and I'm your host this weekend, joined on this desk by Clement, Hupesan, and Panda, and 3 more games to go today after we've already made so many cuts.
I do have some bad news. We actually cut more than 16. We cut 24 right now, so there's only going to be 2 lobbies left of players to continue in the final 2.
I think you really nailed it with the last cutoff. Destiny caught up with EMEA in particular. 4 EMEA players were cut off in that last cut. And now the superiority goes to America. 6 players still left alive in this tournament, only 2 from CN, and then even parity between APAC and EMEA with 4 players each. And ideally, of course, we always wish to have some parity in the final lobby with each region represented.
Yeah, also Experion, Tech Summers are the one in the bottom, and they were ones that for these next 2 games will try to push it as much as possible. Play Cypher, also go for the economy augments or whatever they can find to have a possibility, because as we know, you need to be in that top 8, and people, especially in the top, are really above the rest and having a lot of points that to be able to catch on into it.
Yeah, I think the top of the standings is actually pretty far apart from the cutoff point. Remember, the cutoffs are a little bit different. You want to be in that top 4 territory or top 12 territory. However, the cutoff at the bottom is super contested. We have multiple people sitting on 47 points into this lobby here, so I think that's where the most attention is going to be.
Typically, when we get to our final day of competition, players need around 63 to 64 points to actually qualify to compete on
รอบตอน
competition.
เป็นชูริมาต้องตีไปริมก่อน
And also the fact that we're going to do another round of cuts and promotion after 2 games. And I think that's where things start to get very interesting.
เซต
today after game 6
เซต16เขาว่ามันจะเป็นแบบ เป็นเซตที่ใหญ่ที่สุดที่ TFT เคยทำมา
from game 6 to game 7.
เซต16อ่ะ
so we'll see how that pans out. Obviously a lot
แล้วในนั้นอ่ะ
still left. There's not a cutoff happening now.
เห็นเขาว่ามันจะเป็นแบบ
already with this first
นี่แหละ
result
เป็น
we'll have a
เป็น
clear
ลูเทล่า
idea
เนี่ย
of what players are going to need basically for that final game. If it will be the coin flip style we saw in this last
แต่
game,
กว่าจะถึงตอนนั้น
Liquidus and Volta both forced to play into Cypher
ขอเล่น
and
เซต
test each other to try and find a
ก่อนนั้น
lifeline and stay alive in this tournament.
All right, so the big story
เอาจริงแอบตื่นเต้นอยู่นะเซต15แต่ว่ามันยังไม่เห็นเทรดไงมันก็อาจจะเป็นเทรดเดิมๆซ้ำๆเนี่ยบุยซงบุยเซอร์นะ
comes down to maybe some of these other compositions players can look at
แต่ภาพมันสวยอ่ะผมว่ามันกราฟิกมันแบบว่ากราฟิกมันเหมือนแบบเราเล่นเกมอื่นเลย
He made it work, and it was amazing. So good to see Lightning Duel Sniper Focus making it happen, and of course it's very niche. But those niche come when you actually get the good capabilities to make it. I love to see them.
I think it really tests players' ability to read what each other is going for, especially in context of the points right here. If you're looking at AQ1H, that is 58 points. All he needs is to make sure that nobody can get within 5 points in the next 2 games. So he can play very, very safe. And if you know he's playing safe, then you can kind of exploit that. You can go for something that is perhaps can make use of that tempo that he might be playing for.
But on the other side of things, you've got
ลูเทลล่าที่ใช้ทาขนมปังนั้น
sitting at 46,
อันนั้นนูเทลล่าป่ะครับ
respectively, and that's just going
นูเท
to
ลล่า
require a really good
หิว
number
เลย
of games strung back to back.
2 players from
เกม11แล้วโอ้โหยัง3เกมครับเร็วกว่านี้หน่อยได้ไหม
into experience
พี่ชาย
one of these last 2 games. Maybe that'll be the way he's able to come
เฮ้ย
back
โดนเข้าไป
into this tournament. Experience finished 12th on the last tag crown. He wants to finish higher. He wants to make final.
ล็อบบี้ใครครับเนี่ย YB Y1 แกเนตโซโลกิเวเชียน
Prismatic augment. We will have that
ไม่ค่อยได้ดูเวเชียนเลยปะ
of having Econ. And obviously a good chance of getting these additional lines that you were commenting, Nekra, lines that really pop off, that really give possibility for them to get a win-out spot, even if it's risky.
ดอบเลอบอง ไม่มีทางขาย
The player to mention is YBY1 that's having a massive comeback currently. He's all the way into 9th place at 13 points in the last 2 games and has been going for that fast 9 strategy with the Boombot. So an early Prismatic might be exactly up his alley.
อุ้ยบอดอะไรครับเนี่ย
That YBY1 is doing something
มี
different.
แค่สิง
I
โต
think
ละ
just the first 2 games of the day, he was low-rolled. He was forced to play a worth away Kindred into Boombot, which is not the ideal game plan, obviously, not the ideal path to make it to Fast 9. And I think he had more fortunate games near the tail end of this tournament.
Solo right now in a more easy spot, not in the bottom, but he still needs to maintain, looking for a top 4, just looking to maintain in the tournament. And of course, if he can pop up, it could be a good chance. Starting with a bow here, armor, good possibilities. Obviously getting the Twisted Fate, that could be a good chance. And holding on onto Morgana Poppy, that is one of the most predictable line, especially if you want to go into Dynamo.
And Solo, I think he bought himself, he earned himself that breathing room. Back to back top 4s, 3 games in a row now, 2 wins as well, very similar to Klikornin. They were kind of the rising stars from EMEA, and they're the 2 not French players. So interesting to see having a Turkish and a German representative come back in a big way in day 2.
Maybe last augment as Prismatic, by the way.
We've seen how impactful that can be with Invested, getting the massive gold influx for Boombot boards.
Okay, well, Aurora promised Prismatic last, but we're also going to get one for the first one, too.
That's totally nice, and it's random
level
output,
up.
so we'll have randomness here. So actually not under our control.
Flexibleก็น่าสนใจนะ
can be very, very interesting. And
เราเรียกมาเลยครับ
so Bomb and Death going for full.
2 players we talked about in top of show. AQ18 all about adaptability.
ในส่วนของ AQ18 ครับกด
random output. Let's
บิ
see
ว
how
บัตร
you
มา
will be
ได้
able to make this Jax work.
แจ็ค3 ดาวมา
And for
แสดงคุณ
very
ซู
first
เลยครับ
game
น่า
of
จะ
this
ไปทางฝั่ง
tournament,
ของ Exotech นะ
He played EXO, which he usually does not do, and he played it because he got flexible as his first augment on 2-1. The same is happening here. Is this the lifeline Vomandes needs to catapult himself up in the standings?
Taking a look across the board.
แล้วตาแวนการ์ดมาแบบนี้ส่วนมากเห็นตาแวนการ์ดเอาไปเล่นกับมอดไฟเซอร์นะ
And I do think that these players are the ones that have more points.
Slam
They're further
claim
away from
มา
the cut. They know they can play tempo and not for cap.
YBY1, maybe he's bringing out the secret hidden tech. Not so secret or
แต่
hidden anymore.
แต่สปอตนี้ผมว่า
Vanguard emblem onto a
น่า
Mordekaiser.
ไปเล่น
If
ไอ้
you
นั่นกว่า
have Corrupt Chassis as your first or second EXO item, could be absolutely insane with the scaling max
น่าไป
that
เล่น
you get on the
MF
Mordekaiser. He is already very tanky. He becomes
MF
almost unkillable in stage 4 and 5.
เล่นกับ
Also
แวนการ์ด
slamming a E early here just for tempo, just trying to maintain a little possibilities here, maintaining win streak so far, obviously 4. Now Banks, for Moment Death, this is the comp that has been working out for him, not today, but yesterday. He got a good games
โอ้ย
here
ทำไม
with
กล้องมัน
background,
สั่น
marksman,
พี่ชาย
and now just trying to get this Kog'Maw to
พี่
make
เล่น
it
แรง
work
เกิน
in
นะ
the
ครับ
beginning, and just trying to
หน้า
commit
จอ
to
มัน
a
สั่น
line
นะ
early
พี่
and letting the rest of the field know.
Yeah, I think for Vomandes, he actually needs to score a little bit more points. We talked about the cutoff being about 56. He's currently on 47. So I think for him, I would like the EXO line a lot with Marksman. Feels so nice.
Okay.
Slightly
That's
higher
great.
cap a
Yeah.
little bit. You know, after watching Robin Song lose with 3-star Leon, I was like, my faith in that comp is shattered. In the meantime, we have Solo going with the Gwinsus early as well. Again, this is a player that can just play for top 4, so a 2-cost reroll is potentially in the books.
This is where Solo feels most comfortable. He usually likes playing low risk. He usually likes playing for stable. You know, big roll down level on stage 4, on level 8, usually around Marksman Vanguard, especially the entire sets, but also around EXO if he's forced to.
Grenade looking more of a AP line right now, going for 3 anima just on the beginning.
ตัวละครอัพเยอะมากครับ
holding some units there just to have a chance. Little weird here, Nidali 2 also here on bench.
แต่ถ้าถือไว้ไม่เล่นเลยก็
Maybe also
ตั้ง
planning
อยู่นะ
maybe to go Gorilla, but not
ผม
buying
ว่าน่า
the
จะต้อง
rest of the
ขาย
units.
นิดา
I
ลี
think
นะ
he will buy the Mundo. Gorilla makes more sense here, still level 4. And just trying to win and maybe, yeah, 10
30
gold
บาท
here.
นะ
And will probably be a Gorilla line.
โอ้แต่มาเจอของแข็งเหมือนกันนะครับ
It's time.
I don't
Russia
know.
นะครับ
I feel like you could also just go Street Demon.
แมงป่อง
I don't
2 ดาว
think
กับไซรัสครับผม
we've seen a lot of Street Demon vertical games on the broadcast, but I like the spot with Buried Treasures to know that you're going to be able to actually itemize like Ziggs, plus the brand, and even just have enough tank items on the Nico and Mundo.
Tragic not to win here. Can't hold the extra Mundo. Hasta, we saw there, I think, yeah, probably not going to be playing for Mundo techies.
Okay,
Nobody committed to Cypher just yet, so this is always interesting to see if someone spots it's like, hey, no Cypher, and instantly pivots into that line. Still one of the best rerolls.
We have confirmation that YBY does not have Corrupted Chassis as its exit item, so we will not be seeing the Vanguard emblem into the Mordekaiser line. We're seeing for now just a very YBY-esque board with just playing for tempo with a Vanguard front line into potentially Dynamos coming to stage 4.
Do you know what his favorite line is in APAC? Want to venture a guess?
Dynamo Flex?
Nah, it's Vanguard Urgot, baby. You gotta go 3 in a row.
Maybe it's his favorite, but is it his best performing? I don't think so. From what I remember.
Close enough.
I think Vanguard Urgot is a desperation line.
Shenbai also going for additional items here. Just making
บู
sure
ลลี่
he
เท
has
เชอร์3 คนเลยปะ
until the late game. And Wei Shen just slamming IE, full crit, IE plus the new
Guardbreaker.
flicker,
Striker's flail.
striker's flail. I will say Guardbreaker for at least one more set, and then I will make the
It's
switch.
still
You gotta
Guardbreaker
pass
to
for
me.
2 more days, Lupe, and then the pass fires.
This is Weijin.
Yeah, Experience trying to go tempo here. CC rods, trying to press the lobby as much as possible. Didn't manage to maintain the win streak here, so not in the best spot. And this is an element that even though it gives you additional CC rod, it starts falling off a little on the late game.
It's really not going to spikes you a lot in stage 2 because you have the extra body, obviously. You're usually trying to win streak all of stage 2. Then you fall off a little bit, and then you re-spike later in stage 5 when you get that next Voidling Swarm. And all the Voidling Swarms are scaling as well with the extra attack speed and HP. Works really well into comps that buff your entire board. Things like, Divinicore are going to help a lot in terms of getting some more value from it.
The only full win streaker in the lobby left, AQ1H, with that 3-star build-a-bud, is looking to just continue this. Also hit the 2-star in the vein right here, so he's looking very comfortable. I don't see a board that can contest his right now.
Where do you
Bastion,
go from
vein
here,
reroll.
though?
If you have good EXO items, you can stay on EXO, already keeping the Jax. There's also possibility of selling these Jax in the late game, but probably if EXO is decent enough, I think that's the line we should stay on. Obviously, not enough units there to be contemplated. The size also very interesting, holding also the Skarner and the Fiddle here. Maybe a chance to Urgot if something else happens later, especially since Necra, you told us Aurora was prismatic in the end, so maybe some economy, something additional in the end can give you an opportunity to scale a little more.
Also, what's the likelihood that we actually get a triple prismatic game with the first and last one being guaranteed prismatic?
I think Aurora overrides, so it's hard to predict. It's not the usual augment tree setup because of the Aurora overriding.
I'm gonna wish for a triple prismatic.
Yeah.
Not surprised, Necro.
Just for the viewers.
I know you like to bring the chaos like Make does.
I do think it kind of tones the excitement down a little bit. If you get your first prismatic, the second one has a better chance of getting a silver slightly higher.
Okay. We'll see promptly. So right now, HQ1H just trying to maintain tempo. Bomb and Death. Also same decides to play Cypher in. So good possibilities, 54 already. So a good chance here. Popping it off, just trying to get a little more. And then pivot either to that line that you were saying with EXO, or maybe depending on the cash out, could have some other possibilities.
EXO is just so good with flexible because as a vertical trait, you have so many other hanging traits. Marksman, Rapid Fire, Bastion, Bruisers, it goes on and on. So usually we typically see flexible just going to EXO.
And there's a bias as well, right? First game of the tournament, if you play this exact line and you got a first and you have that mental boost, you have the bias of saying, hey, last time I tried this,
Flexible มันก็เหมือนกับ
try and do it again.
Flexible มันก็เหมือนกับ
Weijin, wow, with a 2-star
Tactician แหละ
Jinx
เอา
and
จริ
Buried
งๆ
Treasure is going to be able to tempo through this lobby like nothing else.
แต่ได้เทมโป
He
เร็ว
has to
กว่า
do, right?
อะไรเงี้ย
55 points, only needs to play it safe these next 2 games to lock in a spot. Maybe I guess once they start thinking about trying to get into the top 4 especially.
And go direct, yeah.
To try and avoid the mental pressure of playing a game 7 with everything on the line.
Fun. So prismatic gold, prismatic guaranteed for this game.
Well,
Both looking good, especially if you're going to that EXO line that you have a lot of items already and flexible is giving you this. There it is. So more defense and also giving possibility of scaling even more with the Kraken. Good chance here for Bomb and Death.
Whenever we get golds on 3-2s, I start to shake a little inside.
Where's the trackers?
Forward thinking locked in for Grenade. Forward thinking locked in for Weijin as well. We'll have to do a mirrored roll down screen over on forward 2 to see what kind of setups these players try and go for with all of the extra economic resources.
Yep. I do want to point out, as for items, the cardinal sin is to build Guinsu's and IE on Urgot at the same time. So whenever you crit, you're locked at 0-point attack speed. Don't build these two. Take the IE and give it to someone like the Garen in the front line. So just a little tip for you out there.
Don't have any trade trackers, but we got two players, YBY1 and AP1H, that took Magic role. So we'll wait to find out what they've got from those roles.
Big win here for Wajan. If he can get it, Zyra just barely alive, but the cast does not come through in time. He preserves a win streak, staying healthy, and generating a little bit of extra gold throughout their stage 3 as well.
Oh, Hacks coming in?
10 gold? No? Wait.
How many people you think split this?
It's 30. Shouldn't be most. Normally 2.
Wajan really going to be thankful for this amount of gold because he's going to be able to go 6 where he wasn't 6 already because of the forward thinking. So both forward thinking players very happy that hacks exist in this set.
Experience getting an Elise 2 here, very good for the Vini Corp. So also a good angle just to preserve HP a little. He will need to manage to get maybe a little more frontline and then try to see what it will be the angle. Probably Vex could be a good possibility here. He finds an additional tier. Doesn't have the healing still, or he could just stay here on the angle with the Elise.
And I do want to point out he actually used both of his duplicators, which is actually okay in the Dynamo comp. You actually spike with Elise 2, and then you can play into the legendaries, or if you hit more Elises, go into the reroll version as well. Another one of the forward-thinking players is going to be Grenade. He started off looking like somewhat of a guerrilla composition, but you know, he could be playing into more of an open, like the Brand Ziggs comp is possible if he has the right augments.
Yeah, Necracaller in the beginning, that possibility of Street Demon, that is good. It's very difficult to pop off and get additional damage, but it is actually the chance right now.
And found that early Nico.
Yeah.
So it's pretty open.
Great use for Volmandeth. Picks up a Zeri. I think this starts to make his game plan a little bit more clear. Grenade as well picks up a Sejuani, either to deny or just to keep that option open for his forward-thinking roll down Sejuani. Can fit on so many boards, let's be honest, not just the vertical Exo, but Vexotech as well, and even just as a strong utility tank in stage 4.
Solo looks like he's going back to his old ways, just a marksman vanguard, the good old trusty composition.
กระเนตเล่นได้ forward thinking
And I think Experion is a more interesting player in this lobby because his,
กดเวล7มาเลยครับ
from what we've seen from
ด้วยความ
Dynamo,
ที่
can go
มี
very good or very
เดียริส
poorly
2 ดาว
into
นะ
it.
น่าจะ
And
ไม่
there's
แพ้
also
ใครง่ายๆครับ
a lot of high cap boards coming in.
One thing we might be seeing from Experience
ตรงนี้ตั้ง
is a
บอร์ด เป็น
throwback
ดิวิ
to
นิ
cup
ขอบ
number
มา
2
เนี่ย
from Double
อาจจะไปเล่น
61.
เวกได้อยู่
He
นะ
played when Elise was a little bit stronger, Elise 3 into a vertical Divini comp. And this would make some amount of sense with a Zero picked up with a Voidling Swarm picked up at 2-1. It's a very oddball comp to build towards, but Experience might keep that door open.
I'm getting heavenly flashbacks.
It's a very similar concept.
Forteki on the top for H21H, finding the brand already and getting a good comp, just using tempo here on that Jax. And maybe will be sold, especially in the late game. Right now, access to the backline, also the Saya turns down the brand. And good win one right now for YBY, who's in a good spot here. Good items, obviously holding on the Saya some possibilities, and then he will make the switch once he finds the Aphelios.
And we talked about it, no chassis for the Mordekaiser, which is why we're seeing instead the vertical Vanguard option, not the Exo line being explored by YBY1. The effect can still come through with things like Crown Guard, for example. It's just not as high roll as you would have it with Corrupted Chassis.
On the other hand, Shenbai has the exact setup where you do want to play this Exo line, Corrupted Chassis on the Mordekaiser. You have the Pulse that for now is on the Jin, but obviously will go on the Seri. Has some crit also to ramp it up a little more, and also already has the Kraken for the Seri later.
And the third item he'll get is Hyper Fangs.
Okay.
Ooh, I like that one. That's the highest cap option because you can give it to a Garen 2 later into the game. AP1H, just trying to full tempo the lobby. I've actually seen him play vertical techies a couple of times. And I'm almost ashamed to say, but I didn't realize that you could hit 8 techies naturally because you almost never build into that comp.
But now that you have the Giga frontline of Jax 3 from Build-A-Bud, maybe it's correct.
แบนใส่กุนซูได้นะเอาจริงๆแล้ว
It's one of the weird
Side
flex
hand
lines
Chojin.
that a lot of Flash Wolves players like to go for. Of course, he's practicing a lot with Iron Bog as well.
แต่ไม่มีดาเมจเลยครับตรงนี้
Yeah, I mean, you use the power of the Almen, gave you a little tempo in the early game, preserve HP, and then you need to go for the pop-up. So for now, it's working.
Cat out ที่300 ครับ
A little bit of extra gold. Level 7 gonna have a decent amount of gold to roll down here. Has to hit most of this exo board and has to hit a good emblem as well on stage 4 to try and stabilize. Sitting now at a 10 loss streak and 25 HP.
I wonder when he decides to roll all the way because he is contested by Zunbai. Already with the crown guarded and chases, Zunbai is not going to move away from his spot. So every turn he rolls earlier, it's I would honestly
เลื่อนเหลือ25นะ
He decides just to level now and prepare, and we will see a deep roll down right now for Mom and Dad, trying to get the full board online and just trying to use the resources later.
Zenbai has no econ. I think he can't really be rolling on 4-1.
โอเคครับการเลนครับ
Have prio on this round. A great
เซอร์ลี
start.
มาอย่างไวครับตรงนี้ มี
Maybe
คนสู้
already
พร้อม
as
นะ
well.
Oh my
Day2
goodness.
already
Oh, no.
โอเค
found.
ครับ
There's a Sedge. Wants to try and slot in 7 EXO ideally before he's done rolling, but maybe he thinks this is enough for now.
อืม
It's so good. Finding the Garen also with the possibilities.
Ooh,
Needs the Jin and the Varus still. How many legendaries on
Legendary
eight?
hits, right?
Pair of Sejuani now.
They're Renekton.
หาเอ็กโซไปก่อนนะครับ
he naturally is going high in shopping. Wow.
Bowman Death has very good items as well. I like the Cyber Coil up front. You've got the Flux Capacitor as well as the Pulse Stabilizer. So as soon as you get that 7th Exotech unit in, you've got 2 very good backline items.
I do want to point out he got a good reforge as well. Was doing the
มา
Slayer
เจอกับ
emblem
บอร์ด
and also the artifact, so gets the
เอ็ก
mana.
โซเทคเหมือนกันนะครับ ที่มีแจ็ค3 ดาวครับ
Very comfortable.
Yeah. Also spreading components, making full value of the bolt. Looking
แต่
strong.
เซอร์ลี
Very
2ครับผม
strong
เซอร์ลี
from
2 แล้ว
and
ล่า
obviously
สุด
the Seri with the ramping, having that Seri 2 is so important because you already have the defense online, and now he's just dominating.
I was a little bit scared as well. We saw the matchup there against AQ1H. He did pivot into EXO as well with the Jack 3 from Build-A-Bud, which means that Zenbai is rolling now.
Forward
Might be in
thinking
trouble.
มาครับ
Double forward thinking
เงิน
roll down
เด้งๆ
from
ครับ
2 of our players. Weijin quickly picks his augment, bulky bodies, and now is ready to roll down for the Vanguard Marksman board. 99 gold, or maybe with the HP he has, he's trying to go 9 instead and play for the win out, try and play for that top 4 spot and skip that game 7 altogether.
There it is. Didn't even blink, and now he's just opening
พยายาม
levels
จะ
here,
ขึ้น9ครับ
making sure
บอร์ด
maybe
ที่กระเนต
next round he will pop off onto double 9 and then trying to find
ถือว่ายังแซกได้อยู่นะเลือดเยอะอยู่ครับ
and that possibility of changing his full board. The problem is if he goes for Urgot here, he hasn't find the low cost. So he needs to find Fiddle, he needs to find either the Kog'Maw or the Skarner, and sometimes they're timid on level 9, so that would be also an option to check.
It could also be Vanguard Marksman with like a Garen 2 high
Yeah.
roll. That's one way to cap
Makes
out
more
the
sense,
comp
yeah.
and not have to full pivot everything. But we'll see what Weijin has in store for us at 4-5.
1v1 เลเวล 8 นะครับ แต่ว่าตัว Legendary เยอะอยู่นะ
Going to the 2 forward thinking compositions to see where they eventually land up. We have Grenade on the left side.
Weijin versus
Sorry,
White
Markman
on the
up.
right.
You know, it looks like Weijin is still holding on to his
สบายๆครับ
we do have
คิด
some
แล้วครับ
interesting
ถือไว้สัก
development
4 ตัวครับเซอร์ลีตอนนี้
YBY actually picking up the Urgot and potentially signaling and going into that line as well. So we'll see how long Weijin will wait until he goes to 9.
Oh, that was a very close fight for him as well. Actually looked like he might have been able to win that, but now you are able to push those levels and see what you get.
ทุกคนถือเอาก่อน
And now Zenbai is rolling and thinking, hold up.
Hmm.
Where does the Zeres go exactly? Anyone? Some help here, please?
No.
He has rolled a little bit too late with Bowman Death rolling to 0 every round after the PV came through. Every
เงาๆกัน
time
ไป
we
ครับ
entered stage 4.
อ่ะมาลอตเตอรี่ก่อนเหมือนกันนะครับ
48, trying to roll here, finding additional possibilities, finds the Viego, so a little better here, has the boom bop setup, and Clement, he didn't hear you. There's a Rage Blade on the Urgot.
If you don't have the IE, it's acceptable. It's acceptable.
And Grenade leveled off tempo, trying to get ahead of Weijin potentially right before the carousel, rolls it down now. The forward thinking kind of 1 turn later. Maybe understand that YBY is also playing for the Boombot board, and there's going to be a lot of legendaries out of the pool if he waits till 4-5.
Full burst damage there for Experience, taking the win with Dynamo. And Grenade now in a difficult spot, low in HP, 20. Only
Zach
2
would be
life.
huge here. No Zach, only Viego and Kabuko. No Sejuani either for Bowman Death to find that upgrade.
There's some pings. Grenade, thinking about it. Maybe Viego could be an option, but obviously he will
Viego
need a little
pair.
more. Weijin finds Kobuko here.
The good news for the Boombot players is YBY was just transitioning with the Urgot. He actually sells it and goes for the classic Dynamo board that he was more set up for.
I wonder if his first Garen mod pulled him more towards its direction, was maybe gambling for the Boombot mod, didn't hit it, and then pivoted.
มาได้เวลา ขึ้นก้าวมาครับ บอร์ดอะไรครับ
70 gold. It's time, Wazen. Show us why you're considered one of the best players in the Americas region, maybe even in the
บูม
world.
บอร์ดครับ4บูมครับ
There's some components. We already have front.
อย่าลืมบักกี้บัดดี้
Boombots.
Go choose the star.
The Garen, so
ooh,
important to get the Garen here and have the possibility of getting a Boombot.
ขาดแซกขาดแซกไม่เป็นไรครับ
Not looking ideal. Does remember to position 4 bulky buddies. Oh, not quite. A bit of a
เรื่องบักกี้บัดดี้
three-way
พอ
buddies
ชัวร์
there
ครั
on
บ
the left with the Urgot, Fiddle, Renekton, and Kabuki. Actually, no, he got no value from it whatsoever. Next round, early Wazen. We got it.
Actually, does the golem that the Diego copies give you bulky buddies?
I think it gives it, but doesn't deny it, basically, as well. No? I believe is the title. Similar to the summons in last set.
Even if your buddy is just a mirage, you can still get benefit from it.
Nice.
Okay, so Wazen, even
ไม่
though
มีใครฮิตเลยครับ
Boombot,
ก่อน
we know it's so expensive to pivot into that Boombot line.
แบ่งกันเล่นครับคนละตัว
That is so important, at least to stabilize, but now he would just need to donkey roll.
Does he remember his
Bulky buddies check.
Does he remember
this
it?
is what separates the best players in the world versus the S tier players, the elite, but not quite.
We have seen so many players forget about their bulky buddy, but it looks like we're good. Maybe?
I don't think so.
There's 2 buddies only out of 8. I would say we need a little bit more friendship, and the friendship is not quite there. Wazen probably gonna get another loss here. Hopefully he
Wazen, wake
will
up, Wazen.
realize
Lương
after
mà-
this next
lương
fight,
Bucky
he
à.
has to get value from his prismatic augment he picked up before too.
เพราะว่ากำลังคิดอยู่ว่ากูจะต้องโรยยังไงให้ฮิต
The Seraphim already with a Garen pair here and a good chance. 3 items on the back. Good damage. Doesn't seem like it's enough. Kobuko holding up the front line in a good pace. The Crown Guard
Ascension
holding
comes
up.
in.
Wazen taking the loss once again.
That's a bulky buddies diff, unfortunately. Grenade, can he stay alive with his earlier roll down for the Boombot board?
No. Oh,
The
he's out.
Zeri is still alive. Grenade is down 48 points. He'll need a monumental game 6 to make it into that final lobby. A Boombot mod comes through for Wazen that could be
ลืมไปแล้วอ่ะเขาลืมบักกี้บัดดี้
decided
ไป
for
แล้ว
this
อ่ะ
game, but he has to remember to position, and we're not seeing it happen just yet.
Wazen Iverson, please.
Oh, this is so painful to watch. At the end of the day, 13 games total, it's very common to see players actually forget about this. It's not unheard of at all.
Also, in terms of points, he's good. I mean, two games, he needs like maybe 3 points in these 2 games just to advance to tomorrow. But yeah.
But you'd like to be in the top 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bowmandes trying to slowly make it to level 9. Found the Radiant Refractor. Has that Zeri fully itemized and locked in. We're seeing just some great setups already with the Garen mod coming through for the Garen with the Marksman emblem.
Oh, there's the Urgot too, a massive find for Iverson.
Okay. Takes out the Rage Blade now with the Kraken. Looking for some good possibilities here. Ideally will be a Giant Slayer right now. Let's see what options he has.
Looks
Here,
like Bowman
there it
is
is,
trying to
Giant
remind
Slayer.
him.
An additional damage here.
Checking out on experience board, did lock in the Dynamo Flex, didn't go a little bit crazy with any kind of Divinicore Elite lines that we talked about. Has the blue buff, has the MF almost fully itemized as well. It's going to be a big test for Bowmandes, who is pretty low on HP, needs to win pretty much every single fight here. And should be winning this one as well with Zeri taking over.
Huge hit once again here for Wazen. Very low, now 1 HP away, 1 life, and Bowmandes.
Oh, he noticed. He noticed.
Oh,
just
there
in
it is.
time. Cross your fingers for Wazen, and let's hope this will now be a bulky buddies diff. Does finally position, does finally get prismatic augment value onto his board.
Wow.
กว่าจะลดตัวก็ใส่กันไป
He will. These are the mistakes that you're going to regret initially, but
But he's
hopefully he has the
tired,
mental
innit?
fortitude to not let it bring him down. There's still obviously a lot of TFT to be played for the rest of this day.
Definitely have to cut yourself some slack. It's been a long day.
Yeah. He's only 2 points ahead of 5th place, so if this is the critical thing that
เรา
makes
เห็น
him
หลาย
miss
ๆ คน
day
หยิบ
3, oh, it's
เว
gonna
ลา
be so
ฮิต
rough.
โคโบโกะมาเนี่ย
Hopefully
There
not.
he's trying to shake it, yeah. He
ด
laughs
รอป
about it.
เห็น
but
เขาดรอป
it's
แซกแล้วก็
hard,
เล่น
right?
เสก
You
นะ
need to show yourself in the maximum potential, and he's just
บอล
shaking
เนี่ย
it out, just knowing that he now does the possibility and now try to take the win against Solo Hesan, who plays this marksman, trying to ramp up there with the Aphelios. Access to the backline there for the
Triple
Urgot.
combat.
The Garen ult does not hit the Aphelios and the Zaya, but it's still going to be enough. Bulky buddies, diff.
100%.
So much more value onto this board when it comes to the HP, the EHP on that front line to buy time for Urgot to scale.
Finally, Sejuani 2. Good possibilities here.
The Hyperfang's Garen we talked about is now online with the Extra Tech mod onto the Garen.
Huge.
And it gives him a ton of healing as it goes out and
Hit
lets
more
him
up.
multicast over and over again.
YBY1 very quietly sitting at 83 HP, a 50-point gap to second place. A beautiful game of flex TFT from the VN player sitting on this Dynamo board as well.
Garen apparently a very good Vanguard emblem holder as well with that massive shield giving him 150 health, sorry, not percent, every time he casts.
My goodness,
That would
could
be
you
a little
imagine?
Many players in possibility, especially Weishan, in possibility of elimination, but we know he's strong. And now we're seeing solo against experienced
มี
Ghost.
ฟอร์จูนยิงเรียวหน้าไม่ตายอย่างนี้ ไหลเข้ามาแล้วครับ
The backline for the misfortune, but no, solo takes a
ล่าง
win
เปล่า
here.
นี่หว่า
And now, seeing the rest, loses YBY just after Panda says he's slowly and quietly being
มาแล้วเวเชียน
in a
คัมแบ็กหรือเปล่าครับ
taking the loss, and now with opening the fourth for the rest, opening good possibilities.
เวเชียนได้การเรียน2ด้วยนะ
The 5 cost out there. That's pretty much only going to YBY1. So great find for him. Also can switch out that Guinsoo's.
Weishan getting additional defense here with the Anima Visage.
Some defense on the Aurora. YBY1 not able to pick it up. Choice between 3 generically good damage items for his comp right now. Can fully itemize the Aurora. Maybe swap some items off of the Elise onto the Misfortune. Second mod coming through for Weishan. Not a Boombot mod, but can still equip one onto the Kabuko. His main tank, at least for now, with Cho'Gath still being a Cho'Gath 1.
It doesn't look like there's a lot of backline killers, which is typically what the Boombot Urgot line is the most afraid of. We have a lot of Zeris, which I think is fine for the matchup. You're typically very afraid of the Graves and the Cyphers, but Weishan should be fine. Oh, doesn't get the last minute swap. Is going to lose out on a lot of backline value there.
The tankiness of Viego as well could be impactful here, facing off against one of the EXO boards.
But at least his backline doesn't get stunned. Like the Urgot isn't going to be Sejuani stunned here.
Yeah.
โหดแล้วบอร์ดตอนนี้
But access now to the backline for the Urgot should be enough against
อุ้ย
him
เกือบ
taking the win Weishan. An experience,
เกือบบักกี้ดิฟอีกแล้วครับ
knowing this is a great win for him, keeping himself alive, and with the possibility of keep summing points and getting to tomorrow.
Roman Death, a 5 win streak.
Look at the HP.
It's very close. I mean, five people
players
below
with 1 digit.
10?
Everything can happen here still. The
Turn your
biggest,
time on.
traditionally, the biggest results were Experian, Vomandeath, and Grenade, I believe. Grenade obviously with an 8th place. Not the best result.
ใครจะเป็นผู้อยู่รอด
Woman Death is still good faith though. 5 win streak.
Yeah. A good spot. Positioning very important. Sejuani, anti-Sejuani, whatever you can accomplish here. Sejuani decides to stay just full left. And now let's see the safe. We'll have access now.
โอ้แต่ว่า
to the
ไหลเข้ามาแล้ว
Urgot.
โอ้โห
No.
ไม่ใช่ครับ
Position wraps
ไม่โดนตันนะ
around.
หลบได้นะ
Urgot should be safe here. And Weishan just trying to ramp up the Kraken's Fury as much as possible, doing good damage. Seri ramping up.
สบายๆครับแบบนี้
Triple scaling for her. Front to back for both.
เวเชียนครับคัมแบ็กครับ
Just too strong. AQNH takes the hit. And who else falls down here?
Should be more coming. This was probably the worst matchup for him. Definitely, I would say Weishan Iverson right now has the strongest board.
Then by also taken down. Experian, Weishan, Solo Bomaneth, and YBY1 left alive. All the Americans and the EMEA players on
แมงกะจัวเยอะ
essentially
จั
their
ด
last life. Bomaneth coming to stage 6 could still be on 2 lives.
แมงกะจัวบักกี้บัดดี้ครับผม
And what a setup for this final lobby. A very meta complexion when it comes to this lobby. Exotech, Vanguard Marksman, and Dynamo really all that's left alive.
God, the bulky buddies value though with the 3rd Voidling on the board is crazy.
Yeah, it really took Weishan quite a while. There's actually 3 players with bulky buddies in this
Yeah.
lobby. So it's
Should have realized before, no?
Yeah.
Not like the constant reminders, pretty much a 1 in 3 chance to realize, depending on who you're fighting.
It's like, why are they positioned this way?
Okay, final roll downs. Everyone very low in HP except for YBY. who's still holding strong. So only by HP, he's already ensured a second place in this lobby.
And this is a situation where we're kind of happy to see a player like Wei Iverson, where he can take care of players that you might not be able to take care of and give you extra placements instead. So YBY1 looking to make a good leap here into the top 8.
Oh, that's a big board though. I mean, Wei Iverson has to go up against like twice the number of units on his board with all the Void Wings.
This is the Ghost board from Experian on the right, I believe. Experian on this left side facing off against Solo. So the Mia players facing each other. So much extra value from the Voidling Swarm is going to make it so much harder for the Aphelios and Zaya to come through. It's only Aphelios left alive. Experience clapping. Aphelios is down.
Experian รอดนะครับผม
Leona, a big win for Experian, and he needed it, right? He was low on points, needs 2 big games to cap this off.
The lowest right now at 46. So he needed this win, as you just mentioned. Just getting a second would
พลัง
be
แมงกะจัว
amazing,
ครับ
and then it will be easier, right? A breather and maybe just a fifth in the next game or something a little better could be enough.
It's wild to me that Wei Iverson just hit the Cho'Gath too when no one else is playing that unit. He'd been sitting on a pair for a whole stage and a half.
Well, sometimes Cho'Gath just doesn't like to nom-nom, so he's like, I'm
Humble.
dieting right now. I'm going back home.
All 3 bulky buddy players in the top 4. Good augment confirmed, in case you were still wondering.
Write it down. Okay, once again, Wei Shen.
Going up against YBY1. His Urgot is very safe in this.
Garen's also bursted down. And Urgot's down to half health. One more MF cast with this perfect angle could decide it. Does she cast in time? She does, but misses the key tank and Viego. Is he the clutch master? Is he the
แล้ว
biggest
ตาย
fan?
ไปเลยครับ
He is
กอด
not. Unfortunate fight outcome in the end there.
Experience falls down Soso. So Bomendez taking the win against YBY, and Bomendez seems like he's stronger. So we should have a few more rounds. But Bomendez looking amazing here. Still hasn't found the guy to do, but he's just too strong.
flexible into
Equation dropping out, there should be a much
Exo
better
Tech ครับ
chance of hitting that one. His setup is amazing, flexible.
ขาแคน
all of
Slayer
his
แสง
items are
เว
usable.
ล9
Outside of Anima, we kind of skipped that one, and also a Radiant item coming in for that Zeri. So one of the best caps you could going for Exotech, and why he's the only Exotech out of the 3 alive now.
Technically, Vomendeth could get value if he made it to level 10 and teched in an Anima Squad unit, but I don't think
ส
he's
ตัน
gonna
ผิด
get
ฝั่งนะอันนี้
Silas, it's time.
Right, could be the last fight for Vomendeth. He's been win streaking for a long time here, going up against YBY1. The MF positioning has been huge, but he doesn't get the buffer, gets shut down by
Ooh.
C20.
Not
Sterling มันแดนหลบ
enough. The Zeri
Ooh-wee.
scaling. That's one fight. We saw Bomendeth be in the opposite position yesterday, where he had a lot of HP to iterate on the positioning and try and find a way to win. Now YBY1
มีตะหลิวครับ
has 2 more lives to try and find a way to catch out the Zeri, potentially kill her off early, and find a win for the MF board.
This is really such a difficult position to match up to play against. The Zeri is highly mobile. You're almost never going to attack her with the Misfortune. So as long as the Zeri has enough position to slide to the right and to the left, she can usually stay pretty
Hear me
safe.
out. Second row Misfortune. It's time.
What would be the point of that?
She snipes a Zeri.
Oh, okay.
Zeri dash is close enough.
Okay. YBY, don't listen to the
planet's
Avia player.
aligned.
Don't listen to him.
Double Bramble right now, that was the item, so YBY just wants to delay a little the damage. Full AD coming up from Bomedel. Let's see if it's enough.
And way to find out. Gonna be 2 more fights for Voman Deathfield and knock out YBY1 and take that first place, but it is starting to look pretty
Garen's
good.
down. Trying to pop off. Seri ramping up. Misfortune huge. All is not enough. Bomedel stays. He's happy. That's a huge win because it was very close.
แคป
He's
จัด
happy
แล้วครับ
but once
เอ็กโซ
again
เทค
now it's same parity in HP, and this will be the last round.
Ooh, we
Mod,
got Garen mods,
both
though.
players. Which is more impactful is the big question.
Should just be the Dynamo here. No?
ทุกคนจบเกมนี้ผมน่าจะไปแล้วนะ
Bruiser Viego, I believe it was, or was it Dynamo? Might have been
I think it
Bruiser.
was Bruiser.
3-item Viego. Does make some amount of sense. He's able to drain tank with the
เดี๋ยวผมต้องไปทำงานต่อนะ
from
คุณ
the
นึกขึ้น
Bruiser
ได้
and the Warmog as well.
Okay, changing
พรุ่ง
position
นี้
in
เจอ
Bomb
กัน
Death
นะ
in
ค
the
รับ
last
เวลา
round,
เดิม
trying to avoid the
พรุ่ง
misfortune
นี้ดูจน
ult.
จบแน่ครับดูว่าใครจะแชมป์นะ
Aurora on the left, and Misfortune should be safe from the Sejuani ult, but not the Elise. Good CC right now, good Misfortune ult, fully on the front line. Seri still scaling. Jhin trying to ramp up, getting alive. That's very important, doing some additional damage. Urgot comes out from the Aurora. Huge hit here, and in the final fight, Bombendas gets it. Gets it in the end. 1 HP is not
ยัง
over
ไม่
yet.
ตาย
Someone that stands up, celebrates, and then sits back down and says, wait up. I still have a little bit more work to do. Zeri, keep it up.
One
That was
more.
a challenger's area player right there. Actually dodges out of auto attack range from the Misfortune and then jukes the Aurora again, back to back.
อันนี้คือยังแคปได้อีกนะยังการเล่นยังไม่สอง
One
นะ
item slot open.
การเล่น
onto this
Viegoยังไม่
Aurora
สอง
for
นะครับ
Bowman Death. There's a slightly impactful with the second item slot available for Aurora on YBY's side as well, but this should be a more important item, especially with EXO being played here from Bowman Death.
Yeah, for YBY, it's just the Aurora items. Let's see what he can find right here.
Shojin would be big for Bowman Death here.
Rolling first. Got into for YBY.
ไม่
It's a
ฮิต
big
ครับ
upgrade
Huge.
ไม่ฮิตครับ
for
ไม่ฮิต
YBY.
ครับ
Yeah, Shojin looks amazing.
เทิร์นสุด
Maybe,
ท้ายครับ
maybe Morello could be an option too.
Oh, there's also the
He
Emerald,
already
right?
has one?
The
Okay.
rapid fire onto the Aurora in the end, and the TG, I believe, on the Jax here for Bowman Death. So pretty much every single unit here itemized for Bowman Death. Max exo value and max bulk value as well. Pretty insane setup here, actually.
But that Garen too is massive as well. Could swing the fight here. Let's see where the Aurora dodges out of it.
Viego still alive, trying to drain tank a little bit longer. We are in stage 7. A loss here is an elimination, even at 16 HP. Zeri above half health. Can she survive?
อุ้ยแต่ว่าเหมือนจะถึกๆหน่อยนะอุ้ยแต่ว่าเซอร์รี่หลบครับเซอร์รี่หลบ
She's now being targeted.
โอ้โห
It's a
ไม่ไหว
big
อยู่ดี
win
ครับ
for Bowman Death.
YBY1
He absolutely needed it at 47 points. Climbed
ลั่น
all
ๆนะครับ
the way back up to
แคทเอาท์ออกมา
55 and now in a prime position to depend
ยิ้ม
on
เลยครับ
himself to maybe make it to that game 7.
And we see the joy. We see seeing the camera, seeing him not only celebrating, dropping his mouth, seeing the laughter, and actually knowing that he has a good possibility to advance. This is amazing.
Really great stuff coming out here for our sixth
โอเคทุกคน
game of
ผ
the
มไป
day.
ละ
I'm getting ahead of myself here because I'm saying,
เจอกันนะครับ
wow,
ทุ
I'm
กคน
so
พ
excited
รุ่งนี้
because this just sets the tone for that sixth game that's coming up
ตัว
soon.
ฟูลครับเนี่ย
A lot of very important placements here, not just for
ไปครับ
Bowman,
ทุกคนเจอกันนะครับ บ๊ายบายครับ
being able to see a huge catapult there for YBY1, who is already sitting at that 50-point benchmark.